This is Q Talk America.
The following broadcast contains adult humor, language, and topics, along with partial nudity. Actual knowledge is used sparingly. The show is a result of a lost bet and a bad game of rock, paper, scissors. It's the show with Clayton McKee. And now, a man with a face for radio, Clayton McKee.
I still am enjoying that Kat Carlson earlier today posted that you can tune into the show and be amazed. And I questioned, why would you be amazed? And she says, well, I'm amazed every week that we get the show on the air. And I said, Kat Carlson.
If I feel that sort of wonder, why should we?
Right, exactly. And I'm assuming everybody else does too. So welcome, amazed listeners and viewers.
Maybe I'm amazed that this show got off the ground.
We are here. We're queer. Get over it. We are waiting, anxiously awaiting. Well, first of all, we have to. Al came in with a handicap tonight. He doesn't have an iPad.
I'm gonna let that go.
You don't have.
Martin, can you
I
help
didn't say
Besides the obvious.
Get him
I
some
didn't say-
geniuses.
Do you need my card?
I didn't use the R word for him, but for crying out
Thank you, I
loud.
appreciate
I
that.
think you need some
He
respite care.
forgot his iPad and he forgot his eyeglasses, which are not made by Apple. Oddly, the eyeglasses are
Right,
not.
well, I don't bring them because I can read everything on the iPad.
Do you want
This
these?
bullshit.
Well, isn't this large
Font
enough for you to read
75.
though?
Yeah. I just
Oh.
can't respond
Oh,
back
fuck it,
on
we
this.
don't
You
care
want to
about
try
that.
them?
Oh, well, I mean, probably.
Let's see what happens here. Can Marnie Ryer's glasses suffice for Al Perkins' vision?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're just cheaters, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I have those also in my toolbox. 20 times the
I
magnification.
can read my phone. I'm just not going to try and type on that
Oh,
bullshit
I
phone
gotcha.
stuff.
Well, I can loan you an iPad if you'd like. It's all right. Anyway, hi everybody. Welcome, Joe D, Jenny, Aaron. Who else is in the chat room? Is that it so far? I guess it's all right. It's good.
Yeah.
It's,
So Aaron, Joe, Jenny.
Kat Carlson, Marnie Ryer,
hi.
Al Perkins, and me, all here at Show 252. This is, at least from where we are sitting in Arizona, it's the 8th of March, 2016. Welcome to it.
true story.
Oh, it is. Now, in some places, it's the 9th, I understand.
Absolutely.
Because it goes up one day, every year, every day, every
I
24.
think I've got it down pat that it's like roughly 8:30 in the morning in Nairobi.
Something like that, yeah.
8:30.
I think that's.
I feel good about that.
I'm trying to work that out.
You're talking about an aunt or Amina?
For Amina.
Amina.
Yeah.
Amina and I were going back and forth about internet speeds earlier this week, and which is part of my
I
story.
noticed that.
And I saw the internet
Amazing.
speeds, and I'm like, holy crap!
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I saw that too,
These
and I'm
white
like-
privileged Americans that we are. I mean, I'm bitching because I'm like, okay, why am I at 50 when I should be at 175 down?
Son of a bitch.
And he's like, I'm at 2.8. I'm like, oh, my bad.
well, but at least you got here.
I feel bad.
I don't care how you
Clayton.
get there.
Right. Oh, thank you.
get there if you
God.
get there if you
Alita
can.
Adams, ladies and gentlemen. Our
We're amazed.
That's our R&B segment of the night right there.
That's nice. We like that song.
I missed her like crazy. My God.
Please, no. I don't
Yeah.
think Amina's cat can take it.
No.
Oh, there's Mom. Hi, Mom. She got a little
Hi,
smiley
Mom.
face there. Hello. Heaven's sakes alive. Well, for those of you in the continental United States, well, even the states that aren't in the continental, this is they don't call it Super Tuesday. It's what
Super Tuesday 2. Now, it's
Oh.
not really
Electric
Super
Boogaloo.
Tuesday.
Electric Boogaloo is what Al called it, right?
Thursday.
There's like 4 states voting. One of them's Idaho.
Yeah.
No, you
And
don't.
The other one's Hawaii. So
Can't not.
there's not a lot going. They
Whenever
just need
that
a
happens.
reason to like
And
hype it up.
Hey,
even
man.
more.
Was it
Get excited
Michigan?
about it.
You're ready to call? You said Michigan?
Yeah.
Got it. So there's a lot of people, and I've got the MSNBC on in the front room. So if anytime anybody needs to take a break and step out and watch them repeat something they've already said 14 times, go out there.
Sounds like a lot of
Check it
fun.
out.
It is.
I feel really good about that.
I opted not to do a TV in here because Al gets distracted, and we know that he will only watch the television and not do anything
Oh,
else.
that's a true story.
So no,
Yeah.
I mean I'm not digging on him. He's said that himself.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
That is
Children of the 70s and 80s raised by television.
Fascinating telly.
Yeah, and on purpose too. That's the best part.
Yeah. Kids, go watch some TV. You're bugging me.
Yeah,
Go away, you
kept me in the
bobbin.
basement.
Happened to us too.
It's International Women's Day. It's International Pancake
International
Oh,
Pancake
yes.
Day.
I was very
know.
sad that I did not make it to a pancake establishment to enjoy said holiday.
I even thought that we
neither.
should have. Well, later in the day, I thought that maybe we should have done a pancake here in the studio, but then I decided no.
You know, and
Yeah.
I didn't realize that the National Pancake Day is actually a gigantic fundraiser
For
that
something I
IHOP
don't.
puts on. I don't remember either.
Is it IHOP that does it? Or
IHOP does it,
does
yeah.
it.
The International House of Pancakes.
Yes.
And it's a fundraiser
And,
for...
and also, for those of you trying to put it to the two together, don't do it, because just because it's Women's Day and Pancake Day doesn't mean they need to be making them.
That's true.
Anybody can make them.
However,
Get
if
out of the
any women
kitchen.
wanted to make their pancakes...
Yeah, I would happily eat them.
Oh no, I
and
would too.
donate to whatever the
I just
charity
wasn't
would-
trying
would
to
have
put
been.
women in the kitchen
Yeah,
making
with
pancakes.
the
I see.
pancakes.
John
You
Kasich
were
has done that
trying to
already.
avoid the natural
The
misogyny
confu-
that comes
right.
with the two
So
being
you were
put
playing
together.
Miss Scarlet in the kitchen with the pancake
No,
kind of clue.
oh god, with a lead pipe, as if we were in Flint.
I know, but the free
Children's Miracle Network is what
that's
they're
right.
raising
And
money for.
the free pancakes ended at like 7 p.m. or something.
Something like that.
Sure, that's fine.
Yeah,
that
7 to
sounds right.
7.
But by the way, whenever
It was
you're
in the
listening,
back of my mind all day, like, I could bike to IHOP.
you sure as shit can. And biking back would help you burn off some of what you ingested there.
That would allow
But
you
we're
to
trying,
eat more
we're
pancakes.
trying to reverse the tide on that. So
That's a good call.
going out for pancakes may not be the way we want the water to go.
I'm trying to decide if I could still say that I gained a little weight over the winter if it was winter 2014.
Yeah,
I don't
And
think
it's
you have
still
to
here.
specify
it's not
the
holiday weight if you were
Like, oh
fat in
my
August.
right. Yes. Yeah.
4th of July, it could
Yeah.
be holiday weight.
Speaking of that, there was a picture of a cat, really fat cat sitting on a couch, and the
sitting right
caption
here.
said, "Mom said when I was younger that it was just baby fat, but here I am looking at her at 30."
Yeah.
Yep, it's not baby fat.
Not anymore.
Not at all.
That's just regular people.
Well, how old's your baby? 18.
Yeah,
47.
Yes, exactly. Right here.
I'm still big boned. Thank you.
Large boned.
Husky.
No, that was the worst.
Oh, husky?
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
And then they named a fucking line of jeans
Yeah,
after it at Sears. You weren't going to wear those. You got home with a razor blade and cut that shit off. I'm not wearing husky jeans, Mom.
Just being in that section was a shame spiral.
Oh, that was enough, yes. Actually, for me, it was a little bit of just buying clothes at Sears was a little bit of a...
Well, that was kind of the place. Like Tim's
Sears and
family was
JCPenney,
fancy.
man.
They went to Penny's. But
Oh.
we were a Sears family.
I was more into the pennies. I like the pennies line better than
yeah.
that. Because I was always concerned, though back in the day you could still do that at Penny's, but in my hometown it was like Sears was like tires, lawnmowers, electronics, and then I guess clothes were there too. But there was a section of lawnmowers for a while at Penny's in my hometown.
Yeah. Like I said, we just weren't fancy enough to shop at Penny's. I only had a brief, the briefest of knowledge of the Penny's.
Got it.
But we were definitely...
In the chat room, if you would, let
Sears
us know
all the way.
when you grew up, when you would buy clothes like for school or when you were younger. What was the store that your family
Where did
frequented?
you buy your corduroys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you'd walk zip, 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 zip. I mean, don't be
And they
ashamed.
really were just an electronic nightmare because she would like... Between like fuzzy socks and corduroys, you were electrocuting yourself in the whole fucking house.
Reach down to
Worse-
pet the dog.
Yeah.
The
Worse
dog.
yet, I grew up in a
was
really
the
dry
Green Mile.
climate.
Oh yeah, that doesn't help
the dry
either.
air doesn't help. So I grew up in Salt Lake with the corduroys and the shag carpeting and
Sure.
the fluffy socks.
Oh yeah, just the heat being on.
Seriously.
You had the...
Oh. I was like a character from Mortal Kombat, whoever the guy with the can't remember his name. With the
Constantly losing on
electricity.
Operation.
Mr. Butterfinger. That's true, Joe. They had vacuums.
Well,
at
they had
Sears,
every
I'm sure.
major
In
appliance
fa-
because
Yes.
of Kenmar.
Yeah,
They
they
had
did.
everything
In
for
fact,
you,
that's
really.
where my love of appliances and repairing them came from, because I had neighbors. I've told this story before when I was younger. And
You
mom
lived in a radio.
And mom will remember this when I took apart for the first time to fix one of our washing machines, because in my head I could get home from school at 3:15. Figure out what part I needed, call them. They could have it home by 5. Mom didn't get home by 6. I had it all master planned. The part wasn't available. Mom gets home, sees the washer spread all over Hill's half acre, and she's literally said to me, "If it doesn't go back together, I will kill you." And it did. Everything was
And you're not
perfect.
dead. Look,
It
No,
worked out
everything
well.
worked out perfectly, and then
good.
nobody else ever called a repairman but me for the rest of their lives.
She's going to have one less bell to answer there, huh?
Yes, indeed.
That's fantastic.
Oh, well, that'll be cool. So Penny's, they carried school uniforms. Jenny's what? What school did you go to? We probably already discussed this, and I don't recall.
No, I don't think so.
I would then probably assume that Jenny is a little bit younger than we. and was part of that 90s fad of public schools like requiring school
Oh,
uniforms.
right. To get away from.
Well, or that, I mean, there were folks
She
that
could have gone
went
to a Catholic school, sure.
Oh,
Sure.
locally here in Phoenix,
Yeah.
Broadway. I completely forgot about Broadway, Joe. I agree.
Yeah.
Broadway faded out right as I moved here in the early.
Broadway one day only sale. All week.
I thought Fred Meyer.
That was always my.
Fred Meyer's is that up
In some
there?
parts of
thought,
the country,
yeah, Fred
Fred Meyer
Meyer.
was much like Target
Oh,
or
okay.
Kmart. Yeah, in some
Okay.
parts of the country.
Oh,
Got it.
Got it.
I am not familiar.
I am not.
Some people know it as a hardware store. Some people know it as a Kmart-like department store.
Oh.
Very good. I didn't. I was not one of them. Very nice with the knowledge.
I remember there was a store one of my grandmothers used to take me to, and she would buy all of our, like, she'd take us for, the school clothing stuff, and when polos were all the rage back in the 80s, that big huge phase of that. Well, these weren't polos; they were called saddlebred, and they had a slightly different horse on them. But so we were sent to school with those, and I had every color. And that was my thing. If I'm going to buy, and I was that way as a kid. Does this fit? Do I like it? Yes. I want every fucking color so I can wear it at anything at any time. But now I just don't do the
Black,
colors.
yeah.
I will buy 10 of the same color, but we don't do alternate colors anymore.
when I was growing up, Izod was the big thing.
Izod, yeah.
Izod, right?
I was just saying, Izod was
Huge
Izod
thing.
and then Polo.
Ralph
Yeah.
Lauren.
That
Polo,
fucking alligator,
right?
and I hated that fucking alligator.
I know.
I didn't mind the
I know.
polo pony because I thought it was tasteful,
But
but
if
now
you
they're
went to
like the
Target-
size of your head.
Oh, you're right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's stupid. But if you went to Target, they had another pony, but it was a totally different pony, so everyone knew that you did not have Loren.
Right.
Also, with the alligator, with Izod, my grandparents, because we didn't have a ton of money. Like the folks that I grew up with, everyone had Izod. So, of course, what do you ridiculously want? You're like, oh, I want to fit in. I wish I had that, whatever. So when they said, make your Christmas list, I did. And I put Izod on there. And my grandma said, what is this Izod that you speak of? So I explained it to her. And so at Christmas, everybody was waiting. And I opened my gift. And I pull out this polo shirt that had a rubber alligator about this, like it was
attached
about
to
that,
it.
but yeah, she had taken it and sewn it on.
Oh Jesus!
And she
nice
said,
of
"Isn't
her."
that- you said it had an alligator on it, and to this day, I thought that one of the better Christmas presents that I have ever received, because I thought very smart.
Because she probably went and looked at the
appreciate
price of the shirt and was like, "Oh
To
fuck
the hell
no."
with that.
Yeah.
Right.
For the cost of one shirt, I get one good practical joke about it. I'll buy the alligator
Absolutely.
and the
everybody
shirt.
And we can get a real alligator at that time.
Yeah, no shit. But yeah, so I walked around with that. That was it was a little
Dittos
heavy,
in the 70s. What were dittos?
Ooh, I don't know that I've heard of
Jenny
that.
said she had dittos in the 70s. Were those jeans? Shoes? I don't know
Culottes.
what those were. I don't know what those were, Jenny.
I have
Oh,
no
God.
idea.
I'm gonna say it's either
The culottes are coming
hand-me-downs
back.
or knockoffs.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna go
right.
with either hand-me-downs or knockoffs.
That's a good one. It could be dittos. Could be I'll have what she's having.
Oh.
Kind of.
It's one of those things where it's pinging somewhere in the back of my brain.
They also used to call like photocopies dittos.
Right.
Yeah.
Ditto machine. Yeah, that's true.
Oh, there you go.
So I'm going with knockoffs. Final answer.
There you go.
But no, I think dittos.
Accept
I feel like dittos was a thing in the 70s. I think it's like black gas shoes and like they're
And
It
macrame.
was like a thing.
yeah. Somebody's got to Google that because I don't remember. But
I feel like the pajamas that Annette's talking about are like silky.
I hope so.
It feels very
I think
exciting.
so. Like
You don't
I
think
would
they're made out
believe-
of corduroy?
I don't think corduroy. I do not think corduroy. But I wonder if they're like a silky
I
kind
think
of.
I could wear anything.
Somehow I feel like
silky.
India and corduroy are not a match made in heaven.
No.
I
I feel like
that
that would be amazing.
that would end in some swamp end that no one would really ever want to talk about.
Yeah, like the big deal a long time ago was like silk sheets or like satiny sheets. I can't.
No, I can't either.
I cannot.
I was thinking the same thing. As soon as someone says silk, I always think of those sheets and just
awful.
sliding around the bed.
Yeah,
I
a
tried
lot
silk
of
sheets on a
static.
bed once, and I'm like, nope, we're done with
Yeah.
this.
That feels
I
like
can't.
Silk
No.
pajamas that just ended up
Yeah.
up around my neck.
There was no point.
They were around my ankles and my neck. It looked like some kind of a hostage situation because they would just ride up or down.
Yeah, I
I
was.
gave up on silk anything when silk shirts went out of style. Like once those were nope, I was like,
Yeah.
and I'm
Oh, and what was
settle
the what was
down.
it? It was
Rayon?
the
There was rayon.
no. There was that washable silk. Remember the
Yes.
washable silk
I do
era?
not.
Oh my god, yes.
Washable silk went the way of like things that do not breathe in humidity.
It's not okay.
And I made the horrible mistake of going to my niece's christening
Oh no.
in the summer in New York, and it was just miserable hot in the church in this beautiful washable silk print that was just a gorgeous shirt.
Sure.
But oh my God,
cotton.
I lost like 20 pounds wearing that thing. So it's just a sweat box.
And it was a different color by the time you were done? Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And I remember
that's
when linen was big in Arizona. You guys might not have moved here yet. When
early 90s?
late 80s, it
Oh,
had this
okay.
whole like this linen phase that wasn't linen like the big thing for this our hot weather.
Right.
No, because you look like a fucking table napkin by the end of the day.
Well, no, that's
Because that shit would just wrinkle up, and it would just. It did stay cooler about 10 minutes longer than other fabrics, but then when you sweat, it would just stick to you.
Sure.
right. But that's the story that I told before of Mom and I forgetting when we flew back to Missouri in December that we both left with linen shirts on, boarded the plane. It was 80 degrees in Phoenix. It was beautiful. We get there and the doors open at Tulsa Airport and we hit that wall of freezing air. We're like, fuck.
Oh, it's awful. It's absolutely awful.
Abort mission! Abort mission!
We ran to that rental car, hoping it had seat heaters. Jeezy Pete's. It was chilly.
And don't breathe in.
And when I first moved here, I didn't like they don't have. Or they may have them now, but there was no such thing as like water sprinklers because it's Niagara Falls. It rains all the fucking
Oh,
time.
right.
There's absolutely no reason to turn on a sprinkler system. Especially, like, if there was a sprinkler, you got the sprinkler that sat on your lawn,
Attached it to
attached
the
to a
hose,
hose that sat in the
put
middle
it
of the
out
lawn, and you
there.
moved it 3 times over the course of the couple
a
hours.
rain bird.
You knew that thing was coming. And I used to wear these little cloth espadrilles, these ladies
Of
that...
course she
Oh.
did.
They were so cute, and I had on
I'm sure she
a linen outfit by Guess.
Right? Of course.
That was just so lovely with my little espadrilles, and I'm walking across this this lawn to this party in Mesa, and the sprinklers came on at like full speed. My shoes unraveled and dissolved into the ground. My short and shirt linen ensemble. I turned into a human tampon. A shoeless human tampon. I seriously absorbed a lawn full of water.
Oh, God.
I got to this party weighing like 70 pounds more than when I started the journey because I was packing 2 humps worth of water.
Oh, talk about your camelback.
Oh my God. It was one of the funniest
that's
things. And I was
great.
just like, what the fuck kind of, well, we didn't call them terrorists then, but what the fuck kind of shit was that?
Oh, that's a funny thing.
Oh, that's terrifying.
And Renee just made fun of me for days. The day
Oh.
I showed up as a tampon.
Aaron put in the chat room a link to the Ditto Jeans commercial I just
Oh,
saw.
I'm very excited to watch that.
Oh, we may have to.
That's what I said. It's kind of like there.
Kind of.
Kind
So-
Like I feel they were just prior to designer jeans. Like
Gloria
it was like right
Vanderbilts.
before the Gloria Vanderbilts and the Jordache jeans. I feel like
Jordache.
Yes.
Oh, what is this commercial you're watching? She's
very
a Brett.
excited
She's a
about it. Look,
Brett
she's-
girl.
Yeah, she is.
Oh.
This is the Ditto jeans?
This is the Ditto
Yeah, it
jeans
would've been like-
commercial.
oh,
just-
there they are.
Oh.
yeah,
There's the jeans.
Ditto. It was a
Yeah.
You
Ditto
see them?
brand.
Here we could go.
Oh, that was in large
That's better.
format.
Yeah.
And then
She's-
she'll tell
she's
two
very
friends.
excited about
and then
it.
she'll tell 2 friends. And ditto. And ditto.
Oh, dittos.
Ditto.
wrote
the
We
book
wrote
on-
the book on fit. We wrote
Well.
the book on fit.
Nice.
And then, and where are they now?
Well, those jeans did fit beautifully.
They
If you
looked
saw
like
that,
it. Yeah, they looked
really
very
did.
nice.
You probably wore those too, didn't you?
No, I was in Huskies then.
Oh.
I didn't get skinny till high school.
Felt like there was more of a story coming for that one,
yeah,
sure.
that's it too. But
No, and by,
I
the,
didn't
by the
get fat
time
till
like all
30, I
the
don't
brands
know.
and stuff came, Tim and I were like shopping in like the stuff that other people did that they were ashamed of. We were going to like
Sure.
secondhand stores and army surplus stores
absolutely,
and like
yeah, that was the
wearing
thing.
the
Yep.
torn sweatshirts in the sweatshirts inside out. Like as soon as you bought a sweatshirt, you just flipped it inside out and got rid of the things.
cut the neck, yeah.
And you didn't
Like
cut
flash
it
dance?
You didn't flash dance it. We were gentlemen, but you did like cut the so it wasn't. You didn't want a tight collar.
Oh, sure.
So you would give it the little V.
I still do that to hoodies, actually. Like
Yeah.
hooded sweatshirts, a lot of times I'll still
I have
cut the
to.
front.
You'd give it the
It
V.
drives
We
me
wore
nuts
them
anymore.
inside out. Like Tim would taper jeans, and then we got a little bit of money, and then I started wearing ladies' clothes almost immediately.
Well, sure, because
Because
why wouldn't
by that
you?
time I was so skinny that it was either boys' clothes or girls' clothes.
Yeah.
I would have to shop in the boys' department because I was so skinny.
Don't you wish you had a time machine so that you could go back just to hang around Al for a weekend in that era, just to really experience it? I mean, we get a lot of stories, but to really be able to be the fly on the wall.
Just to see it all going on.
Yes,
and
exactly.
All the tragic hairstyles on its way to working.
Honestly.
In that basement while he's yelling, hot stuff, baby. Oh, those are nice pants.
Yeah.
I feel like that was an accurate reenactment, though. I don't know that I'm missing anything, right?
And I used to dance around with
I'm sure you did.
No, I used to still. That's how I lost the weight was I would dance around in the basement to the Pointer Sisters "Jump for My Love" and like "Sex Crime" by Eurythmics.
Did you have the Velcroed on, like
No, I would dance around with the
wrist weights?
Little weights.
No, we had no
Dumbbells.
weights.
Oh, gallons of water.
Gallons of laundry detergent.
Oh, that's it.
Very
Because
That's
my mom
you
bought
told
in
me.
bulk, she was always ready for the washing machine apocalypse. So I would like lift weights with the laundry detergent bottles, and I lost like 60 pounds my like sophomore to junior year of high school, and like I would just dance around all that dance music I had was like went to good use, and I would do it every single night with the laundry detergent bottles, and
Good on you.
yeah.
I remember the laundry bottles. Now that you've reminded us
Yeah.
all about it. Kat Carlson, what have you done this week?
Well, I think you'll be very, very, very proud. I repaired a lawnmower this week.
Wow.
I wish
she
you'd
has
have told.
Clayton's
I'd like to have
attention.
had some musical stinger for that.
Dun, dun, dun.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was, and it may be on its way to you at some point. It's a very, very old lawnmower that's just poorly treated, and you know.
So this is like a shelter dog.
It's a
This is
shelter dog, right? This is a
shelter
shelter
mower.
dog of the mowers. And we've had it for a really long time. Like, we've had the thing for like 15 years, and we just had it. We had it all tuned up last year,
Okay.
or the year before, whatever. And spring is coming and things are growing again. So I'm like, oh fuck, we have to mow the grass again. Ugh, because I let it die over. Well, because I let it die over the winter, because I was like, I'm not fucking with winter grass this year. I'm just not doing it.
Sure, I get
It
it.
failed miserably last year. I don't have time. I'm very busy.
Very busy.
Very, very busy. Yeah. So Sharon's all like gung ho for yard work and everything, and she goes out and she like starts up the mower, and it's just sputtering. Like, this poor thing can hardly stay going. I'm like, oh crap, we're gonna have to like call a guy, and like completely escaping the fact that I could bring it to the Clayton McKee lawnmower repair shop.
Emporium.
Right?
I love-
Emporium.
So we called a guy.
Did so you're calling a 15-year-old mower old, right?
Yes.
Okay. I mowed my yard today with a 42-year-old lawnmower.
Well, I understand that, and you enjoy the classics, but here's what I know. I know that this mower.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's true.
I know that we bought this mower. It was about the cheapest gas-powered mower
About
at
100
Home Depot.
About $100 then.
15 years ago, right? Yeah,
okay.
about $100.
About $100.
And it replaced the eco-friendly but not so good working electric one that I
Oh.
insisted that we buy
At the time, right.
Yeah.
Right,
That you
which
run
was,
Much
over
better
which was
now.
no good. Yeah,
before.
I understand.
I have an electric one too.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we bought one years ago, and it didn't work
I'm
out,
not a
and I ended
fan.
up giving it to the neighbor who had like this much grass in her front yard.
Okay.
She was very excited
Oh,
about
okay, got it.
But yeah, so it was the cheapest mower on the lot, and it's been doing just fine, and it sat in storage for like 8
Thank-
years at some point.
Thank you, Annette. Yes, I'm glad you're paying attention to my face during this. Yes.
But now it was just all sputtering,
As it
and
lights up with delight.
Yeah.
and I was rolling my eyes because I'm like, oh fuck, we're gonna have to like pay a guy to fix it. We're gonna have to drop it off. What a pain in the ass. So I got to look at it one day because I had a little bit of time, and all it needed was to clean the air filter, and the choke lever was like bent and stuck. So I just unstuck it and fixed.
Magic.
Sold.
Healed.
Good.
This lawnmower is
Healed.
healed.
Lawnmower
Amen.
healed ourselves.
Now,
That's
just,
amazing.
And then I
just-
mowed my grass, and everything's happening.
Just a
and
side
everything's
note,
great.
if you should need to, you're welcome to take the blade off of it and bring it with you on a Tuesday, and I can sharpen the blade for you and take it back home.
so very nice
you don't
of
have to seek out a sharpening service. We have that right
fantastic.
here in the Clayton McKee Memorial Workshop
Mower.
and Lawnmower Emporium.
Oh, I wish I could start checking in there.
Well, I just have to. I can't. It won't let me sign in here
Okay.
to play on the chat room.
Yes.
You could just talk to them; they can hear us.
Right. So they were saying about doing a movie related to my life, and it's called Edge of 17. If you ever get a chance to see it, like Tim, I, and our friend Mario have long arguments over who that movie is more about. Like, it just...
So your conspiracy theory that people have been watching you your entire life because this Edge of 17's about you, and then you decided that Will and Grace was about you, or that
Oh,
you
they
were
would
the
just
character.
take jokes that we had said the week before, and they'd be on Will and Grace
okay.
next week. And I'm like, listen, people.
Because you've said this story a couple times that they've just taken things from your life and made them into movies or books or whatever the hell
Edge
it
of
was.
17 is freaky because, and it's like a Ramana clef, because is it about me or Tim or Mario? Like, we are when the three of us have had a serious conversation. Like, it's the right year, it's the right time frame. They have the goofy summer job, like just everything. The music's like spot on. It's just a delightful gay coming of age story that I've always been a fan of.
What's the name of the movie again?
Edge of 17.
I'll write that down.
No relation to the Eurythmics song.
Stevie Nicks song.
Stevie Nicks, my bad. I'm sorry.
Tomato.
No, one sounds like a goat, and Annie Lennox does not.
But Stevie can't help it, right? Stevie can't help it.
And if you're of the right age and you came out around 83 to 84, like you'll just know all that, and they get the music right. Like there's no bad 80s represented. Like
Oh, thank
you know
God.
what I mean? There's none of
the
that
worst.
awful shit that was going on at the same time on American radio. Like they go a little BBC Tops of the Pops to get their hits.
Oh, okay.
So they knew the gays were a little ahead of the curve there.
Well, all right.
Yeah, fun.
Lovely.
Ryer?
But the only thing that I think I did this week, only because it happened today, so I remember,
Fair.
was that I went for Indian food, and I thought of an aunt because I went
that's
to
very nice.
I went and had Indian food, and some of it was real delicious, and then there were other things that just were not at all,
pretty
and
terrible.
it was the texture. I realized it's a texture thing. Do you guys have that? Like
I do.
certain foods where you're like, no, I just can't because of the texture of it.
It's all about how it
I
tastes
call it
for me.
cauliflower.
Yeah. Okay, so cauliflower not an
No,
okay
I
thing.
don't have a problem with that. I'm trying to think of something that I have a texture issue with.
Yeah. This was like there were some things that were just really good, but then tasty wise, but then it just went away.
Like
because
what
of-
is the texture that grosses you out?
Oh, I have
like
I
to
have
know.
a number
Oh,
of
yeah.
different things because I have way too many issues.
I don't know if I
But-
would classify liver as a texture. It's just
No,
because I
liver's
know
just-
what. Right? No, but no.
No, that's just no.
because I know what it is, and I have no desire to ever
That's
eat
horrible.
it.
Right?
No,
I remember
no one
eating
should
it as
ever.
a youngster. My mom would make it. My grandfather loved it, and I was like,
Liver and onions?
Yes, and I'm like, no, we're done. We're done.
There's not enough ketchup in the
used
world.
to beg for that when I was like 3 and 4, and I would like scream like in the.
Wow.
I would just go nuts, and people would be staring at.
The fuck's
Mom,
wrong
like,
with your
What
kid?"
the fuck is wrong with her? And why are you being so mean to her?
Yeah.
And,
Feed her!
Yeah, she likes that. No. And it was only because my grandfather loved it, and so I had that reaction. And he would have like liver sandwiches, makes me want to vomit.
Oh, me too.
Now.
Oh, liver worst.
And
Whatever
I love
that-
liver
Is the
whatever
worst.
that
Is the worst, right.
Is the worst.
No.
that's
That I
like the
enjoy.
BBC doesn't even know it's in liverwurst.
And he made a sandwich, and I was like, Grandpa, can I have half of that? Can I have a bite or something? So he gave me like a quarter of it. And I went, and then I did not like it at all
Anymore,
Super
right?
And my mom was like,
Because then
I'm
you were
gonna
eating
kill
cold
you.
liver,
right?
if I'm
my
not
mom's like, I'm
mistaken.
gonna kill
Cold
you.
processed.
So God bless my mother
like
and my
food
aunt
processed
Ellen.
gross.
They ate it for me, and they're like, if you ever do that again,
No.
we're gonna kill
No.
you.
That was the
Yeah.
only thing that was ever presented at our dinner table that was like optional. Everything else was, and I was one of those kids that was
You're
at
so
the table
lucky.
at like 8:30 at night, still trying to finish
Oh.
Yeah,
something because I hated all foods that weren't
right.
spaghetti.
Which
Didn't come
legitimately
with the
spaghetti's
marinara
delicious.
sauce on
Right?
it. Yeah.
I love spaghetti a lot.
Me too. I'm on board.
And I don't know how long I honestly don't know how long that I could have been like 17 years old and still sitting at the table at 10
Oh.
o'clock because I was like, when does this fight end? Because I'm not giving in.
I don't-
But the one thing that they served was liver and onions, and I remember like my mom and dad both saying like, you may not like this, so it's okay if you want to turn it. I mean, my sisters were like, we can't even get past the smell. How's that going in the mouth?
It was not optional in my house, and my parents also subscribed to the "you will sit there until
Right,
you eat
right.
it" philosophy. And every time
I
liver
watched a
came
lot
up-
of TV from the dinner table.
Yeah, no. Well, unfortunately, our dining room was far, far away from our television, so I would like literally like sit there and just fall asleep.
Right.
Just head down on the table, liver right next to me, smothered and smeared in all the
Oh.
ketchup in the world. Like there's not enough ketchup in the world.
Yeah.
As I recall, my mom was not so much the you'll clean your plate. Like it was an option again, I think. But Mom was more like if you put it on your plate. Like if you decide that you want a mountain of mashed potatoes, be prepared to eat the mountain
Eat
of
those
mashed,
fucking
pot-
mashed
right.
potatoes, sure.
She was more of that way because we can always save
Oh,
it
and
for
mashed
later.
potatoes was always like the smallest teaspoon pot. Like how I got fat, I'll
God.
never know because I didn't eat any. I didn't
I
like
could eat
anything.
this much mashed potatoes right
Oh,
now.
I could too.
Oh.
And now
Yeah.
I like them more. That's why it was funny. Like at Christmas time or
Eat
whenever
gads.
whenever we did the
It's fantastic.
whenever we did the fake Thanksgiving, and I made mashed potatoes. And Harrison was like, "Well, I just want." She was talking about yogurt. I'm like, "I eat this shit one time a year. I'm gonna eat it like whole milk, sour cream. Like we're going whole hog on this.
Yeah.
This is a once a year
Absolutely.
food for me. Like." This is not the time
Hence
to
my
cut.
winter weight from 2014.
But I never liked them when I was. It was one of those foods that
Fair.
there was something about. There's a texture food that I couldn't put it in my mouth. So when it would come around, I'd be like, "How much is even accepted as a?"
As a
I don't think
taste.
I ate mashed potatoes with any kind of pleasure until I was in my 20s.
One of
'Cause I
my
was
kids is like that. If you try and force him to eat the mashed potatoes, he'll just throw them back up.
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fake mashed potatoes, like the like powdered whatever,
Yeah,
add milk
yeah.
or water. He's all about it. But
Oh,
regular
yeah.
mashed potatoes, he'll just throw them back up on the table.
I shouldn't say yuck. Yes, I mean yuck. Compared to just
Right
a
on the
regular,
table. Yeah, you're
Okay.
really missing out.
There's
and
that.
in answer to Annette, because I had to look up it was, and I believe Annette had sent me a thing about making this or put something in the chat room a long time ago, and I'm going to screw up the pronunciation. Biryani.
Chicken biryani.
Biryani.
It's
or
biryani.
something? Yeah.
It's one
Oh
of
my
the
God.
it's one of the most popular like Americanly palatable.
Really quite delicious.
Yeah.
And then another thing called naan. I believe it was naan, which is my absolute
Non-edible.
No, none. It was so good. It was
wow.
so good. It had I'm gonna again butcher things, but is it basmati rice?
That sounds about right.
And then it has like ginger and like this butter gravy. Trust me, I'm a fat fucker. I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You throw the word gravy into something, and I'm like,
Oh,
sure,
right,
I'll have
yeah,
some more.
Right, yeah.
Please, sir, may I
Yeah,
have some more?
I like gravy.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that.
I'll eat cow shit if there's gravy on it, for God's
Okay,
sake.
that made me a little.
No.
Yeah.
No, maybe
No.
not. No.
And like I said, I just
So
I need a
good.
better ambassador to.
The naan bread is amazing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I need a
Yeah,
better
that was
ambassador
so
to
good.
Indian food because the only time I've ever gone was with a bunch of people who were vegetarians.
Right.
So they were like, we just ate sauce. Like I was like,
There was like this
there's
lentil.
no, I'm like I know they don't eat
so
beef, but
good,
like
right.
there's other animals that they enjoy, and I just like I really was not, and I don't like rice very much, so I'm like a $25 meal of rice and sauce with dip.
Right.
I was like, what?
Well, and
Is there
there's, like,
food coming?
there's,
Like,
Is this the
the
app?
And we
the
spent like all this money,
tandoori-
and I'm like, I'm starving. Like we haven't eaten anything. So
the tandoori chicken, like all that, it's still in the bone, and I'm just not a fan of that. Like the eating the.
I
the
no,
bone.
it's my thing too. I won't
Yeah.
eat. I won't pick up a non
Not
stuff.
a huge fan of that. And
Grandfather
so-
thought I was nuts.
Yeah.
Because I would not pick up the turkey leg or the chicken, whatever. I won't.
Yeah.
I just has always been my thing.
I know and that's I don't know.
There are certain things, but not. And so I was like, no. I can't remember what else I had.
Because
I
I didn't find out about that until after we went to Chicken and Waffles, where it's all on the
sure.
bone. But he ate it. But
If it's a this
it was
was the
it
stuff
was a
that,
breast. I was able to take a pork and pop off most of it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why.
This was the stuff I did not like at all. I can't pronounce it. DHOKLA.
Dokla.
Dokla, maybe. It's a snack breakfast food, it says, from that's made of fermented rice and chickpea batter, and it was awful to me. The texture. It was just with the texture, and the taste of it was so bland, and I thought, well... So then I took this yogurt stuff and threw it on there. Oh, God, then it became
You made a
kind of
gravy.
I
A
made
yogurt gravy.
I made a gravy out of it, and that was quite delicious.
Sure.
But again, that texture, not a fan. But so I'll avoid that and leave that for other people.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
That's
so
fair.
good. But I thought of Annette while I was at lunch, and I took pictures of my food. Took
We're
a picture
good.
of
As
my-
you
I'm
do,
good.
like you do.
Just no, that's the first time really I've ever done that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Got it.
but that was
Holy
for
crap.
him.
The Michigan Democratic
good.
primary is neck and neck.
Oh.
And also
Exciting
Trump won,
stuff.
which makes me.
Oh yeah,
and,
but we knew that was. We knew it was coming.
it just shouldn't have.
2 words: brokered convention.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
coming. Perkins.
absolute shit show. I worked a lot. Picked up shifts, and then yesterday I was just exhausted and slept. I woke up. I caught up on some tape
Pardon me?
shit and TV. Was all excited because I thought I had rented from Netflix a new AbFab special or an AbFab special that I had missed, and realized that they just packaged it different.
Oh,
Like
same
since
thing.
I bought it
Right.
a long time ago, they have.
But you rewatched it, didn't you?
About halfway through, I fell asleep, and because I went and I just made sure that I had it in my cupboard, and there it was of that special. But it was it was hard to accept that AbFab. It would have been like season 3-ish, maybe.
What year?
I'm not sure. 96.
Wow.
20 years old.
Wow.
And the only thing that made me laugh was there was a reference to Charlotte Rampling, this year's Oscar nominee. And Charlotte Rampling needs representation as always.
And
But
now
it's the
they're
one where she
finally-
has the dolphin, in the pool in her bedroom
I don't remember
that she
this.
was saving. And oh my God, it was still hysterical. And there's one scene where in the opening scene, Adina tells Patsy, just fun, Johnny, just fun. Because they're going, I can't remember what they were going to. And in the course of the scene, Patsy comes down the stairs with like these awful barrettes in her hair, braids in, and extensions in the back that get caught on something Adina's wearing and pulls off half the extensions. And it was just so well done because it's all done in one take. Like they're so good. There's not many edits in it. So through the course of this whole conversation with Safi and the fiance Paulo and Adina and Patsy takes her hair out of the barrettes, gets rid of the extensions, shoves them in her purse, and gets her like bun going. And it's all done while everyone's talking, and it comes out really well. She never looks in a mirror.
Wow.
She never checks it, but it's just so funny to watch her work that hair. And they're filming an AbFab.
Well, the movie's already in the can.
Yeah, the movie's done.
Yeah.
So you figure this was 20 years ago,
Right.
and Lumley was old.
Older than. Yeah, I don't know how old is it Janet?
Joanna Lumley.
Joanna Lumley.
But she was fantastic in The Wolf of Wall Street. She was one of the
Oh,
best
I forgot
parts of
she was
that
in
movie.
that.
Yeah,
I totally forgot about that.
so
I
good
didn't
in that
see
movie.
it, but I remember hearing that she was in it.
So
I'm gonna have to go rewatch.
And
that.
just if I may too,
she's the aunt in London. She's the aunt in London that helps with the moving around of funds, of hiding money.
I'm gonna have to go rewatch
Well,
it.
if
It's
you're-
available on Hulu right now.
And if you'll
go watch
recall, she's one of the original Bond girls from back in the day, wasn't she? She was in one of the in the early.
No, she's not from Bond. She's from like the Man from U.N.C.L.E. or something.
But okay, but
She had there's a spy show that she was part of, but she's not a Bond girl.
I thought she was actually in a Bond movie, one movie. Huh?
I can't check that, but
There's the,
I
yeah,
know,
I know
can,
you
I
can.
can.
Kat Carlson will have your
I'll
back for
Google
it.
it up.
Well,
Because again, I'll say it to the IMDb people: the IMDb app for mobile devices is absolute dog turds.
You don't like it?
Okay.
No, because it doesn't give you all the
It doesn't give you
information.
everything.
It's only
It's abridged, if you
Oh,
will.
it's
only,
abridged.
and it only updates like once or twice a year. It updates like a couple weeks before the Oscars, and it updates like right after the Emmys or something. Like that's all it does.
yeah, it's a shit show.
I don't know if anybody ever updates anything else. Well, maybe when people die, maybe they do, but I don't know. But it doesn't. I agree with you. Like you try to look up information, Google's a much better resource than the IMDb for certain things. For me, the biggest thing was last Saturday was the annual street fair where they block off 7th Avenue. The street fair. Well, they do call it a street fair because it's a street. It's just called 7th Avenue. They block it off from Indian School to Campbell, line it with food trucks and all of these fucking tents with all these. And I guess it was a huge turnout. And Stacy's was busy, and that was part of my whole Saturday, and it just wore me the hell out.
Did it?
It did. It's because it's all day. Because I have to be there at 8:30 to set up, and then by the time they're done, they broke down at 9:30, 10 o'clock for Stacy's stuff. So I was done. I came home. I was in bed by 11, and I was like, no.
a long
I
day.
taught, and then we went to. We were at Bunkhouse. I forgot about that. You just brought that up. Yeah, it was there.
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's
So yeah, and thank you for that.
I can see
memory
why you
that-
might have forgotten being
Yeah.
at Bunkhouse because I
What-
saw Aaron and her brother.
Yeah.
And then I'd forgotten Michael and Aaron's brother had gone to school together.
Yeah, isn't that
Totes,
something?
Totes
And
forgot that.
drum
Yeah.
corps stuff. Gina Florio came over and sat down with us at Bunkhouse, and we just laughed, talked about the show, and it was very, very funny.
She's so much fun.
She is very, very funny. Yeah.
Yeah, she's
so
good
that was
time.
quite enjoyable. I had forgotten about that.
So there's that beautiful weather in Phoenix. I'm enjoying all of this open window. It's
Super
beautiful
nice.
Yeah.
days.
They-
And I
today
know
was-
people are going crazy with the allergies, but I just love all the smells.
I've had one day where I had a little bit of a congestion. Otherwise, I've been completely fine. Michael's already into nosebleeds and shit because of
Oh,
it, and
no.
I'm not. But and then other people I'm hearing that I can tell they're having issues because they sound all stuffed up. But
Sad for them.
sad for them.
Sad for them because it
Wah,
smells so
And somehow I
good.
escaped it because usually 2 days
for
after
you.
the beautiful smell of the orange trees or whatever that
You're
is comes
dying.
out.
And the jasmine is going to
Usually
start
we're like
soon. Oh, it makes me
48
so
hours
happy.
after. I'm like, I've been sneezy, but fine. Like,
I was going to ask you. You said that you had picked up shifts at the Horse Pistol. Everybody on staff still dying, or is everybody recuperated? Because you were down for a while there. What, a week you were down?
and now we're like going through the last of the
Okay.
staff. It's
The
not,
wave is coming
It's not
down.
as bad as it was about 3 weeks ago, but there's still quite a few people.
Oh, that flu has been
Sick.
terrible. Yeah, everybody's been.
But-
I had 2 kids go down in the last 2 weeks with it.
Yeah, but it's still raging. I think we just all spread it to each other and got it over with.
Done. Yeah. Yeah. Knock
In a
on,
place
knock
where
on
we're
wood, I
all
didn't
wearing, I
pick
mean,
it
we're,
back
we're
up from
all
the
wearing
kids.
masks. I've had goggles and masks on for like 5 days most of the time. So
It's like E.T.
It just goes.
no, I
Like
mean
walking
they
in, I would
really
think.
do. I mean we
I
have
would.
different levels.
Yeah.
But when somebody is even suspected of the flu,
Mm-hmm.
we wear masks and goggles in the room.
Sure.
And then depending on what they test for, like we have gowns on too. So I mean we're fully like
Some are sequined, some are
They
ruffled.
just look fabulous.
yeah. But I mean, and it's like today was cool. I was out and about today, and
and
it was
breezy.
yeah. Like I wore my sweatshirt over here because it's been cool. So
Yeah.
it's March 8th, and the weather's been fine. So
I'm not mad.
Yeah.
Not mad at all.
No
all right,
complaints
kids,
with that.
let's see if we can get through this. We're coming back in just seconds with headlines, and then we'll do the rest of the show, and let's see if we can get through it. It's Q Talk America.
You're listening to Q Talk America.
And now, we dance.
This is the Q Talk America Radio Network.
All righty, kiddos and kiddettes, here is headlines on Tuesday, March 8th, 2016, show 252 on Q Talk America. Oh, it's death by faith.
Hillary hates the girls.
Whose crotch?
Magic and shouting.
You've been rickrolled.
We're not mad at the South Dakota governor.
Well, it looks real.
What about rubbing strangers' vaginas?
Oh, and hey, I'm making a drug deal. Can you hold, please? I'll be right back. These and more stories coming up right here on Q Talk America. Marnie, did I step on anything else?
No,
or
I think we're
we're good.
good.
All right. Well, there's that. Oh, well, starting off, this one, and I was going to save this for the bullshit segment for later, but I decided, nope, it needed to be in this because I knew that it would spar some conversation, not only in here, but also with those in the chat room from countries that are not America. A Pennsylvania mother and father who believe in faith healing were sent to jail Wednesday for causing the death of their young, sick child by refusing to take him to the doctor. It was the second of Herbert and Catherine Scheibel's children to die under their care. Quote, "You've killed 2 of your children, not God, not your church, not religious devotion. You have killed them." Philadelphia Judge Benjamin Lerner told the couple as he sentenced them to between 3.5 and 7 years behind bars. The Scheibels pled no contest to third-degree murder in their 8-month-old son Brandon's death last year from pneumonia. Now, the Scheibels lost a first child back in 2009, a 2-year-old who died from pneumonia. And if I'm not mistaken, we talked about that at the time, about that same story in here.
And I feel like we talked about the second kid being sick as well.
No, at the time,
Like munch stuff?
I don't remember that we
I don't
talked
recall that.
about
Yeah.
They
No,
were
this isn't Munchausen. This is just
It's-
killing
it's
people.
just-
back
killing
in
people? Okay.
back in 2009. They were sentenced to 10 years probation for involuntary manslaughter for that death. Part of their probation stated that they must seek medical care if another one of their children became sick. Herbert Scheibel told police last year that medicine violates their religious beliefs. Quote, "We believe in divine healing, and Jesus shed blood for our healing, and that he died on the cross to break the devil's power," he said. The couple belongs to a small Pentecostal community church. They have 7 surviving children who I'm sure are now in the protection of other family members or Jesus, anybody else who might administer some fucking medication.
Something.
I just thought that was great, but that was going to be my bullshit. But when I saw that, I'm like,
Yeah.
I just can't believe that the people are that. Oh my God, religion just drives me. It's getting worse.
You need to start watching Bill Maher. You two would have a good time.
Getting worse.
Absolutely.
It's now with you with the work that you do, because you work in social. What I don't want to say social medicine. Social work.
Yeah.
Do you run into that often, where people are wanting to refuse service, refuse medication, refuse? Do you really?
We do, and yet they don't want to refuse the services, but they want to refuse some of the things that go along with it, which to a degree, I mean, I have to be honest with you, I can understand. You know, just because I'm getting these services, there are some times that some of the things expected might be a little bit much. But I had, if it goes against cultural or religious kind of values. So
Right.
to a degree, like I said.
What is it? Jehovah's
But the
Witnesses that don't believe
Jehovah's Witness-
in blood transfusions?
Right.
Don't get me started.
Oh no, I know, I
I
understand.
know.
I think it's all just
know it.
ridiculous.
But so it's that kind of thing, because if you're receiving the services, folks with developmental disabilities that I care for, that also may have physical things that go along with it, that if they don't get medical intervention, could add to the developmental issues.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Right? And so if they refuse that, the medical intervention stuff, we know that it's going
gonna get worse.
Right.
Right.
Right. And so that's where the disagreements kind of come in. If you want these services, these are some of the things that have to be done. So it can be challenging with that.
Got it.
But we just, culturally and religious things come into a lot of the different, with the classes that I teach for people's rights, like client rights, what we can and cannot do kind of stuff. There was actually a number of people will talk to me after class about stuff, but someone was talking to me, asked the question in class about cultural, for the prohibited kind of things that we just cannot do. You're not going to lock anybody in a room. You're not going to, they're just restraints, things like this. And what if religiously or culturally there were to be something? Do you take that into consideration? Nope. Not if you're getting paid to provide a service.
Right.
Like that's the kind of the we don't just
Oh,
go, well,
Kim Davis might need to have that conversation at
I
some point.
agree,
Are you getting
right.
paid to provide a service? Shut the fuck up, provide the
Right.
service, move on.
That's exactly it.
Now,
That's exactly it.
Now, two different scenarios. You are in a family with 2 youngsters.
Yes,
And and if I'm not mistaken, the father is
from India.
International.
okay. Now, how does that play in? Is there anything that with India that just stipulates, and is there an issue with the parents with regards to the children care?
Well, he's taken them to the doctor exactly twice in 10 years, so really no.
Okay, no.
No,
but,
he's
but is
not.
He, but is he taken only because it was his day to have them,
No,
or is he opposed?
He's neither.
No.
Okay.
Neither. He's not a caregiver.
Oh, okay, got it.
Right,
He'd rather
he's-
somebody else take care of that.
Absolutely.
Okay,
That's,
all right.
that's women's work to him, and he would rather not be bothered. Unless, of course, I do
He's
it.
a
But that's
gem.
all. He's a real neat.
He's a
real
gem.
neat guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless, of course, I do it, and then they change the parenting agreement legally to state that I can't take them. But
Oh, wow.
yeah. So yeah,
The young
they're-
man in the plaid
Yeah.
shirt cannot take the
cannot
children
take
to
the children to the doctor.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah. No, it's a real nice family
Yeah, that
situation.
sucks.
But no, his nation of origin and his loose religious beliefs don't affect
Okay.
the children receiving medical care at all.
And then
And I feel like, and I could be basing this on stereotypes, but I feel like the Indian culture is very far along with modern medicine. I feel like
I was actually
a lot of doctors come from.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
Lots of
that's
doctors.
I feel like they're very on. That's a culture that's
Very
very
Western
on board.
medicine.
Well,
Yeah.
and I knew that.
Yeah.
I just figured with what I've already heard from the stories that there may
no,
have
my,
been an
my
issue
family
somewhere.
situation is not at all ideal, but that certainly doesn't.
Oh no, I didn't
doesn't
mean
play
between
into
you and the missus. I just meant him specifically. is
Oh,
where I
no,
was going
specific.
with that,
No,
yeah.
he's a douchebag.
Okay, well, there's
Yeah.
that. And you again in the restaurant. Do you run into any of this where you have to stop a service, or you're all going
No,
towards
I mean,
something?
there's the one that we've already talked about that drives me crazy. Because I'm like, then don't come to the hospital. Like there's certain things that only blood can fix.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Like that
so
engine
why
runs.
are you
That
wasting
engine
time
runs on blood.
and
So-
resources and everything else if you're not going to do
Well,
a
they're not
fucking thing
wasting
about
any
it?
resources because they won't take the resources.
But
so.
why are you even coming in there?
Right,
Wasting
waste
the
my time.
and-
Right,
That's
right.
that's. I mean, that's always my question is, don't go to the gas station if you don't want gas. Like I don't
Right, right.
I don't get what you think is going to change. But
Completely agree.
But one of the things that I've really learned is to kind of accept and respect people's like religious preferences, because it has nothing to do with me, and even if it does, it doesn't have anything to do with me once I leave the building. Like
Right.
even if you do have some religious objection to me, I'm out of here at 7. So do your worst.
Hope you live till 7:01.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I'll be.
Alive till 7:05.
Ooh,
That's
I do
our
enjoy some
motto.
cantaloupe.
But the other thing is in such horrible
Oh my God.
situations and such dark
so good.
times.
That's wonderful.
I can't have just one. Like that's like a
That's
Lay's potato
just the
chip for me.
flavor of that
No.
cantaloupe is so
Yeah.
fresh and good.
But
By all means, get a plate or.
as people are in their horrible dark times and going through a tough time, like whatever solace you need,
Right.
I am all for it. Like don't let
Right, but I think for
unless
me,
I mean except for craziness, like
Right, right.
outright craziness,
Sure.
which I can tell you stories off the air.
Right.
That goes on. But as far as like
No,
what you
believe
need or
what you
what you
need
want, or
to,
some
and-
people
yeah.
some people to handle
Hold
things
on
in this
to
way,
it.
some people handle things
Right.
in this way.
Please don't slaughter a goat in the waiting room.
There's a
but-
Hispanic panic that goes on. Right. There's the Hispanic panic. There's like, I
Hispanic
mean, there's
panic.
everybody has their own cultural things. And you just are like, what's going to get you through this with some level of sanity?
Right.
We have chaplain services. Like somebody can come in and do whatever you want to.
Of course.
And once you reach that realm of like, okay, I'm good at this part. I suck at that. So, but I can call somebody.
Right.
Sure.
We can
Right.
get the representative for that part of medicine at your bedside.
Right.
But if you think it's
I
going to be
think
like
it's when
magic
someone
and,
comes
and,
in with
and
that-
fairy dust, then you're on like, why are you
Sad
here?
face, right?
I think it's when someone comes in with the religious held beliefs that
Deeply held
interfere,
religious
deeply held, that interfere with a patient. Right, like family coming in and putting their
Luckily, the good
kind
thing
of
the good thing
things.
about that stuff is that not everybody's on board. Like in a big family,
Sure.
like even though they all swear they're up and down that they all believe that, there's always somebody that's like, okay, can I just take you aside and tell you, no.
right.
Grandma doesn't really believe that. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
she
And-
talks a good show, but yeah.
And also, I'm not going to agree. James had asked a question in the chat room. Does anyone know when all this religious fervor garbage started taking over the country? I don't know.
Ronald Reagan.
Zero AD is
Yeah.
when it all started.
I don't know, but I mean, I was going to say the 80s, like probably
Ron,
right. with the 80s.
it's been this like constant beating of the drum since Reagan came into office and gave the moral majority. I use quotation marks because they weren't moral and they certainly weren't a majority.
Right.
Since they got, and it's just been this drum beat, and then as slowly people started to like fight back against that and be like, no, can't live with that. You know, the start of political correctness before it got to the monster that it is today.
Sure.
But that's really where it started, and now it's just come up because now they realize that they can't. Because in 1980, you had permission to like run racist ads on a presidential, like the Willie, what was the Willie Horton, the Willie whatever it
don't
is,
know
the
that.
ad from '88 that they ran about Dukakis freeing the black guy from jail.
I don't know.
You know,
I'd have to
all
look.
through the
Are you
80s, there
looking
was
at-
that thing of like demonizing all these different people, and you were allowed to do it. It was just the right thing to do. All the evil Reagan shit stuff.
pointing it out.
That
Yeah,
when
right.
so then when it started to be like you can't do that anymore, the religious people were seriously like, why is it a bad thing? Like we were told by Reagan himself that we were allowed to be shitty people,
Right.
and when people started pointing out, no, you really can't do that, then they felt persecuted.
It was Willie Horton. Willie Horton, an American.
It just sounds like a
convicted felon,
donut shop, but that's Tim Horton.
Right. Who, while serving a life sentence for murder without parole, was the beneficiary of a Massachusetts weekend furlough program. He did not return from his furlough and ultimately committed assault, armed robbery, and rape. And where's the connection to Dukakis? The first person to mention the Massachusetts furlough program in the 1988 presidential campaign was Al Gore. During a debate
It was
before
before the internet, by the way.
No,
He hadn't created it yet.
no, he was very busy. Very busy.
Mentioning
in
Willie
debates.
Horton.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So here's another thing, kind of like Clinton with the Obama birther thing, that it came up in the primaries, but Bush the first ran with that shit.
Well,
but
'cause
there's
why
all
wouldn't
that. There's all that. You just pick an area where like the religious right, the moral majority, could be shitty on a topic, and they just went with
Well,
it.
Well, sure.
I
Well,
think in
and-
conjunction to what you're saying, oddly, timeline still goes with it. That is when you had the big surgence of Falwell. You had Oral Roberts. You had fucking Jim and Tammy, because they became all over every medium, television,
evangelicals
all
really-
everything,
Right.
and they ran with all that they had. Every TV signal, radio show, every late night infomercial they could get on, that just blew up. It seems like, because I don't remember ever before that. In the 70s, I don't remember hearing. Yes, there was Billy Graham. Yes, there were ministers.
There was just
and I
more
get it.
channels in there.
But
Right,
the
all that.
accessibility just exploded to them, and they had more channels. And then obviously now with the internet, it's even worse.
Well, and I think it's because, that was and I don't, it just seems pressing that was also the beginning of that whole me generation kind of thing. And so people were spouting more. And it was like people were out there just vomiting.
Well, the Wall Street, greed is good, all
greed
that
is
shit.
good, pushing all of that kind of stuff.
L.A. Law.
It was awful. Sybil, Moonlight.
The advent of Susan Day as a
right.
dramatic star.
Well, and
What'd you
Wikipedia
say,
is just really
moonlighting?
reinforcing
Yeah,
all of
moonlighting.
this, saying that in 1980, the Republican Party platform assumed a number of the Christian rights positions, including dropping support for the Equal Rights Amendment, adding support for restoration of school prayer, while the platform also opposed abortion and leaned towards restricting taxpayer funding for abortions. It became added to the Republican platform to pass a constitutional amendment protecting the life of the unborn child. So it really was like the 80s where that became part of the platform.
Ronald Reagan really is the root of
Yeah.
all evil. One of the worst humans. And we'll get to
Oh, I know
yes,
we're going to
we'll
get to
get
that.
we'll get to
Well.
the titless wonder in a minute, but
Yeah.
so our drinking phrase will be any way that you can say something horrible about Nancy Reagan for the next 2 hours.
Did you have more to that story? Or were you, could you?
I don't even know what the fuck we were
Yeah.
I
talking
forgot
about.
what we were talking
That
about.
was your story.
I feel like it was your story.
Was that still my
I
story?
think we
Still
started
yours.
with.
Oh, yeah,
we
but it's
started
about
with
the
faith
kid.
healers.
Oh, that. We haven't even
kids.
got to your first story.
not yet.
Kids.
Oh, my God.
Not yet, but that's okay.
Next caller.
Next caller.
I'll start.
Well, all right then.
And then we'll do our crossover in a minute.
Well, and they're saying that Hillary. People are saying. I mean, a person is saying that Hillary is just against women. Just doesn't like women at all.
I'm sorry I said that. I was drunk.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
She wants a woman with a slow hand.
Well. Or
And an easy
Caitlyn,
touch.
or Caitlyn Jenner does. Or Caitlyn Jenner does.
Oh, my God.
Just days after Caitlyn Jenner made
Has she been a woman long enough for us to
We
call her a
should, we
cunt?
should literally
No,
stop.
she is a cunt.
I'm going to
Yeah.
interrupt you and then let you
Yes.
continue, but I'm just going to say we
Thank
should
you,
literally.
Kanye Carlson.
We should literally just stop talking as soon as we say Caitlyn Jenner and just
Yeah.
stop.
And then
Because the
Yeah.
rest is just
She
bullshit from a stupid
Caitlyn
cunt.
Jenner is
Nope.
not a spokesperson for transgender people. She's not a good spokesperson
all.
for women.
No.
She's not even a good spokesperson for
The
Former
Olympics.
douchebag white guys. Like
For the Olympics
she's
or
not
the
a good
decathlon or
spokesperson.
Wheaties.
Former Olympians don't even
Stop
want to talk
listening.
about it.
Yeah.
All right, please continue
With all the
your
boxes
story.
she can check.
Well, yes.
She hasn't even got
She
the box
doesn't
she
have the
wants
Please
box.
yet.
don't speak for any of those people.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well played,
Thank you.
sir or ma'am.
Both.
Sir and ma'am.
Sir Ann.
Yes.
Sir and ma'am. That's
Well,
funny.
I'll continue
I'm sure
this
that's
one
gonna
and
get
then
us
we
in
can-
trouble somewhere.
And then we can quit. Just days after that cunt made favorable comments about Republican presidential candidate Ted Cruz, like supports Ted Cruz of all the fucking.
That's when you know
evil.
you are just stupid.
Because the brain is still Republican white guy.
Yeah, totally.
Did we
I don't
already
care how
forget
many
about
dresses
Ted
you put
Cruz's
on that
comments
bitch.
about public restrooms?
Yeah, about whose?
Public
Ted
restrooms.
Cruz about.
I haven't. I don't know.
Remember, we had a whole thing about his
Oh,
fight.
no, I thought you meant like in here. It's
No,
not
not
in here,
specific to
No, but
this.
Ted Cruz about the battle in
Oh,
Texas
yeah.
over public restrooms that was
Sure.
specifically about Bruce/Caitlyn, and this cunt is
I
going to
follow
endorse
Yes,
him.
yes. I would like to
Read a fucking book.
do something.
It's
Christ.
astonishing.
You got free time. Well, that show will be canceled soon.
Yeah,
I
one
thought it
could
already
hope.
had been, but
So on her show, I Am Kate, she had some unflattering
twat.
comments about Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton. Speaking with other transgender friends who were planning to attend a Democratic debate, Jenner, 66, said, "It's the last place I want to be." What's the last place they want you? So
Yeah.
fuck off.
Right.
When
We
challenged,
are in agreement.
we found some
please
common
don't-
ground.
Yes,
we
yes.
found some common ground.
Fuck. When challenged about being open to hearing both sides, Jenner responded, "I'm open," and admitted that both sides should be heard, but then made the less than favorable remarks about Clinton. We need both sides, and if we're unfortunate enough to get Hillary as our next president, we need her on our side, the reality, our side. Although she won't be. She couldn't care less about women. She cares only about herself. And
I'm rubber, you're glue.
Yeah.
What?
That's my response to Caitlyn Jenner. No.
Jenner also defended Republicans, saying they don't, quote, hate trans people, unquote, or gays, and that their focus is on the economy.
They're sure not going to hate rich trans people who were contributing to their campaign.
Right. So for the moment,
so they're
give me the money.
Seriously, twat.
Yeah.
They're focusing
with
on
the British.
tanking the economy back to where it was when
Pre the LGBT
W was in it?
Right, yeah.
Right.
Just pre that. Republicans and conservatives, she goes on to say, are not these horrible people who are trying to oppress people. All right, let's just give that
Can we?
back.
Can we change it to
Except for every law they pass or bill they pass or thing
Right.
they fight for.
They're just
That
not talking
literally
about
oppresses
trans
people.
issues.
Yeah.
For
Right,
the
right.
Republicans, it's not a big issue.
Again,
What?
see the bathroom debate. They
it's-
they passed a law about public restrooms.
It's one of the biggest debates because of the
Absolutely.
religion bullshit as well.
I got to
The
get more liquor
economy is
before
the
I start
big
picking
issue.
on
I'm gonna have
Reagan.
to. Yeah, go.
They're just worried about the $18 trillion of debt. So the Blaze had previously reported, which is where I'm getting this from, that Jenner, a lifelong Republican, said, "I like Ted Cruz." And that is who she would be supporting.
His
I
favorite
think
syndicated
he's
show was also The Munsters, so he has some sort of a
No, that's the show he was in.
no, but I mean, Ted Cruz looks
Yeah.
like Grandpa Munster
A lot.
Yeah.
I think he's very conservative, she says, and a great constitutionalist.
Great one.
And a very articulate man.
Oh.
I haven't endorsed him or anything like that because that wasn't.
'Cause that wasn't
Because
an
that was
endorsement.
right. That's what you just did, dumbass.
But I
Get
also
your dick
think
out of his mouth. Like,
he's an
settle down.
or the booger. But I also think he's an
I
evangelical
wasn't ready for
Christian
that. I'm sorry.
and probably one of the worst ones when it comes to trans issues. So she fucking admits that he's bad with trans issues and still supports him.
So you missed it. The new phrase that pays is her saying that Jenner should get Cruz's dick out of his
Guys,
Get Jenner's dick out of her what?
Little hand.
out of Cruz's mouth.
Oh,
No, I said it correctly.
Jenny, you're
Get
right.
his dick out of your mouth, for God's sake. Oh my God.
Yep.
That was not, I wasn't prepared for that. That's funny.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So just too much. That
Vulgarity came early.
I've called her a twat enough times. So they said the only way to measure Donald Trump's dick is to put a ruler in Chris Christie's mouth.
Oh, for God's
funny.
sake.
I know we're talking about that later, too.
that's funny. It's good.
I literally can't even.
We are only on the second story in the headline
I'm
segment.
a 20-something white girl on this topic. I literally can't
I know.
even.
You are Kate.
We have
Katie too.
so many,
I was like, where are you going? With
so many more
That
stories
bitch
coming.
20-something. Settle down.
Right.
Stand by. Drinking word or phrase is coming in just a few seconds. We'll be back with more headlines and
Nancy
that
Reagan's a cunt.
and much
Wasn't
more.
that
It's Q Talk America. Stay right where you is.
You've been listening to The Show on Q Talk America. This is Q Talk America.
The following broadcast contains adult humor, language, and topics, along with partial nudity. Actual knowledge is used sparingly. This show is a result of a lost bet and a bad game of rock, paper, scissors. It's The Show with Clayton McKee. And now, a man with a face for radio, Clayton McKee.
Oh, Hokey Smokes Bullwinkle. Hi, everybody. Welcome. It is, what is this? The show? This is number 2. Hour 2. That's where I was trying to figure out. We're hour 2
Dose.
is where we are.
Hey, Harrison.
I had a song. Anywho, we are about to go into our drinking word. I have to find something. I have to figure something out. Where's my thingy? Always looking for my thingy.
And it's first, yeah.
Actually, we're going to play the thingy. And the thingy's going to be without the video this week because it's not technically technical, but we're going to say it is. It's all right. Here's our drinking disclaimer, and it goes like this.
And now, a drink-along. We dare you to stay awake during this royalty-free music and to play a drinking game with us. If you are currently or soon to be driving a car, you cannot play. If you are presently the primary caregiver for children and or the elderly, you may desperately want to play, but no. If you are listening from a rehab facility, you are disqualified because you already hit bottom. And that means you already won this game at least once. If playing this game is in any way illegal for you, put the bottle down and make better life choices. There is no good in your goodbye, and there is no lifeguard on duty, so you will be swimming at your own risk. Tell your lawyer to take the fucking day off. You can't sue us. We warned you. Good luck.
Yeah, and it's fine. I'm fine with waffling. We're just gonna go with let me tell you a story.
Oh, a story.
In the early '90s, I was getting I was getting my hairs done by someone who it turns out is now a local drag celebrity, an older member of the community who does drag now, but he used to be. I unfortunately don't know what his drag name is, but Robert Verdugo.
Masquerade.
Yeah. Oh, I did not know that at all.
That is. I like Robert's. Robert's a good time. He's fun.
He's a lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
He actually went to Vegas with me once and met my mom.
Oh,
he was on the parade of people that made it to Vegas to meet Ruthie.
Robert is a good time.
He's a lot of fun. So he's cutting my hair one day. We're in the mirror and we're chit-chatting. And all of a sudden, the Nancy Reagan came on. And like, no prelude whatsoever. He just says to me, "Skinny bitch, titless wonder." I mean, that's
Very nice.
In a Chanel suit.
we actually no, we wouldn't even give her that praise.
No.
Foreign designers. But she just one of the worst humans of the last century. Like just a pure and total cunt, and just the story that always gets me. Just when I think I might have some sympathy for her, she is the purest example of "Until It Happens to You," the Lady Gaga song. Because she was anti everything until it became something that happened to her. She was one of the biggest opposers of stem cell research until Ronald Reagan was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And then all of a sudden, you couldn't harvest a fetus fast enough for that cunt. Like, she was just
Stop making Clayton spit.
Well, I didn't know. I got through it.
Oh, boy.
And she, not only was, and they like to pretend they weren't friends, they weren't that close of friends with Rock Hudson. But Rock Hudson was at the White House in 84, 85 for a state dinner.
8 months before he died, wasn't he?
Like a few days, I thought.
No. It was a while before he died.
Hi, Nero.
He was at a state dinner, and he was looking skinny. And Nancy asked him what was wrong, and I can't remember if he said it was the flu that he got. We're filming somewhere exotic or something. Okay. But she was very concerned about him. But she pretends like they weren't that close.
Okay.
When clearly they were.
Sure.
And he sent a letter. He flew to Paris to get treatment for AIDS.
9 weeks before he died. Nancy Reagan turned down Rock Hudson's plea for help.
But the state dinner that she pretends never happened was quite a while before. Like,
that's the picture I'm talking about.
State dinner?
That was days before.
That was 9 weeks.
9 weeks.
Oh,
no, he didn't look that. No,
he did not look.
He did not. No. That is not what he looked like when he died.
Yeah, super gone.
Keep talking.
Yeah. So, anyways, he flew to France to get treatment towards the end of his life. Was so sick in the hospital, collapsed at the Ritz, was taken to a local hospital, was not admitted to the hospital where the doctor he needed was. They were desperate to get him transferred. They sent a telegram to Nancy Reagan. It didn't go directly to her. It went to someone else. And she decided with her press secretary, whoever it was at the time, and the story is actually on Erin's page, because I was trying to just stay away from calling that woman just a miserable cunt on Facebook, because I really didn't feel like dealing with it. They decided, no, that was best left for the embassies. No, bitch, you got friends. Like, you got in bed with everybody else when they needed you and supported every other stupid fucking cause.
Well, that and Hollywood. She comes from Hollywood, for Christ's sake. She made 11 movies.
If they call her old Hollywood one more time on the TV, I swear to God, I'm going to throw my TV through a wall.
I've never heard
She was in 7 shitty movies, possibly 9 shitty fucking movies.
I didn't say she
shitty
was
movies.
great. I'm
no,
just saying,
but they're calling her old Hollywood. Like she's like Betty Davis and Joan Crawford.
Oh, I hadn't heard
They
that. I
just
just
say
said
she
that-
could suck the chrome off a bumper.
No, I hadn't heard him put her in that praise. I had just heard that say that she was an actress in Hollywood.
Yeah.
She met Ronnie on one of the lots.
No, she met him because she was accidentally named as in the Trumbo age of the Hollywood the Un-American Committee. There was another Nancy Davis who was was somehow on that list, and it transferred to her name because back then there wasn't SAG cards that you couldn't have the same name. They didn't make you put an initial in there, like you had to be Nancy A. Davis or whatever she was.
Ann B. Davis.
Like Vanessa B. Williams and
Right.
Vanessa L. Williams. There's 2 Vanessa Williams. So there wasn't that thing. So someone suggested she go to Ronald Reagan because he was the president of the Screen Actors Guild and fucking everything up from that angle because the Screen Actors Guild wouldn't help the people being investigated. So she went to him for help on how to separate their 2 names and get her name cleared. And they met and fell in love while he was married to Jane Wyman. So
Right.
here's him in bed with the religious right. Well, he's just Newt Gingrich the first.
All right, I've got your timeline.
Okay.
Steak dinner, May 1984.
Right.
Diagnosis, June 1984. Weeks later, Telegram, July 1985.
Right. Because it's
a
about
year later.
about a year later.
Okay.
Because the People magazine is right after. The People magazine is like late 85. The cover of People magazine where it says Rock Hudson diagnosed with AIDS and dying in Paris. Because he was dead by 86. So,
Oh, yeah.
Nancy fucking Titless Wonder Reagan, in her memoirs later, says she doesn't remember the incident. She didn't think it was right. That she didn't want to show favoritism. She showed favoritism to every fucking person.
How would you not show favoritism to a human who's dying? Like,
Right.
that's-
It was just,
So I'm still waiting for you to drill this down. What's the drinking word or phrase?
anything you can say nasty about her, I'll accept. Red menace, titless wonder, skinny bitch, heartless cunt.
I'm going to go with fuck that cunt.
I like it. I accept all of my. I'm fully prepared to leave here trashed because I have read.
Just for those watching, I want to make sure that they realize the drinking word or phrase this
Very
week.
nice.
I have held my tongue on almost everybody's Facebook page because I just did not want to get into it. But if and the most insulting thing was to call her old Hollywood. No, list her movie. I mean, she eventually moved into TV, God bless her, like many people did. So I think up until 1962, she was doing like Playhouse movies and stuff like that. Like all of them did.
I know, did she move to TV?
Yeah, she did.
I mean, his TV was Bedtime for Bonzo, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, and she did like American Playhouse and Summer Playhouse and Playhouse 55 and GE Playhouse. Everyone did. That wasn't a step down. Everyone did it.
It was a new medium.
Yeah, and there was lots of work, and they were doing live theater on TV.
Right.
She just was shitty in all of them.
Got it. Okay, so
And even if she weren't,
so again,
No, she
fair.
is legitimately shitty.
So
she was
again-
not missed by the motion
yes,
picture
I
industry.
mean, she is the Just Say No
right.
for Just Say No to Drugs.
And at the start of the drug wars, and a lot of people made mistakes. The Just Say No, and I didn't even prepare an entertainment section because I hate this cunt so much.
Very good.
The Just Say No thing, it sounds like an okay idea, but then all the TV shows in the late 80s and like the worst was that stupid fucking 90210 bullshit
sure.
show. Jenny's got a drinking problem. Jenny doesn't have a fucking
no.
drinking problem.
The
Jenny hit a rum
worst-
and coke. Shut the fuck up and leave her be. Because now
worst
kids are
and
drinking
best-
cough syrup. They're taking their parents' medication. Give her a joint and a rum and coke and sit down and shut the fuck up about it.
I'm sorry, no, the worst and best was Saved by the Bell.
Oh.
Caffeine pills.
caffeine.
Jesse Spano.
No dose.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
And I
I'm
just
so
can't hide it.
scared.
I'm so scared. I'm completely
Hopped
with
up on
Aaron.
caffeine
I'm
pills.
completely with Aaron on this. That Ronald Reagan's nickname for her was Mommy, and that's fucking just creepy.
I feel like when you
But I'm
bring it to
totally
Saved
with
by
you.
the Bell and all this, I just feel like I want to chime in with just I was almost home, Mrs. Garrett. I was almost home.
Now that was a respectable
Right,
episode,
but
that shit with
with
no
your
dose
good-
pills.
Yeah.
Because now you're making people feel
Caffeine
guilty
pills.
for taking some caffeine pills. How the fuck else were you going to write a term paper in the 80s? It's the last minute. You got to stay up.
And you're throwing all the truck drivers under the bus right there. How do you think any freight
How do you
gets
think she ended
anywhere?
up in Showgirls?
It was
Go,
Good
girl.
casting is how she ended up.
Yeah.
with
Yes.
and I
Settle down.
absolutely understood. I understood the idea behind it, but that whole thing of like getting people to like demonize pot.
Well,
But then they were. I mean, when I didn't find out till the '90s that people were chugging Robitussin to get a high, and I'm like, why would you do that? And they're like, well, because we couldn't get alcohol. I'm like, oh my God, if my mom found out that we were chugging Robitussin, she would have hit us with the bottle of liquor and been like, what the
Open
fuck
this!
is
drink
wrong
some
with
fucking
you?
gin, dummy.
Have
That's
some
right.
bourbon. What's
Now,
wrong with
Robitussin
you?
is
Yeah.
expensive, first of all.
Have a 7 and 7.
Valid
like,
point.
Super
You can buy
expensive.
well vodka a lot cheaper than
Yeah.
Robitussin.
Unless you're a derelict like me and was shoplifting it, that shit is expensive.
Oh, that's a whole other story we have to
I
get
do.
later.
It's just one of those little fucking things that drove me crazy. And the heart was probably in the right spot, just not in her body. But it was probably that
Just
tipless
say
wonder.
no. Good campaign. Everyone goes to jail for possessing any amount of drugs. Bad campaign. Like
And
that's where the two come together.
And then just to do a little fair and balanced, the Clinton thing about the
Good
3
job, Megan
strikes
Kelly.
you're out, and the whole like that whole police thing in the '90s that seemed like a good idea till you realize that like 3 misdemeanors got you a lifetime in prison.
Not so
like
good.
right. The idea at the beginning seemed really good, but then it was the follow through that was like, wow, we
Then
fucked that up.
super, yeah.
So again, for those of you playing along with us at home, the drinking word this week is anything nasty about Nancy Reagan.
And I've seriously been holding it in because
I'm gonna stick
people
with
at
fuck
work
that
are like,
cunt.
"Oh, she was so lovely and she loved him."
Was
Cover your
not.
ears. Well, anyways,
Yeah.
she loved it hard.
Okay, so Ryer, your story's up, and I would encourage
The
you to
best
do
part
it
about
now.
his letter about autism was not autism. The best part about his letter about Alzheimer's was that he wrote it 10 years before. They just found the letter. That was my favorite joke of the mid to late 90s. What did he write that letter? Google that.
10 years
Which-
ago.
When he wrote the letter came out about
Announcing
Ronald
that he
Reagan,
had Alzheimer's.
and every late night comedian told the same joke, and I had to applaud all of them for doing it. Sad part is he wrote that letter 10 years ago.
Well,
While he was still in office.
there's apparently a steamy new sex trend,
Oh.
and it sees women
Is it a titless
paying
wonder?
for strangers
I just want to drink.
to rub their vaginas. And we don't call that prostitution, apparently. It's now called,
Search and seizure?
A really good massage.
maybe,
Oh.
maybe.
Batteries not included.
Wednesday night.
Mahatma Gandhi.
I think they call it meditation now. As an unusual new trend has seen
Yes, sir.
increasing numbers of women paying a stranger to touch their private parts. In the hope of improving their sex lives and achieving better climaxes, females are
Well, a
turning
hand
to
job will do both of those.
orgasmic meditation. The practice involves group masturbation classes, which promise, quote, larger state of consciousness, improving intimacy in relationships, and generally increasing your orgasm skills.
Just rub
unquote.
one off. What are you going
A
for
typical
here?
orgasmic meditation session involves a woman undressing from the waist down while a practitioner strokes her clitoris for 15 minutes. Before setting about the
Give or
woman's...
take.
Before setting about the woman's genitals, the tutor will describe them in great detail, noting the color, texture,
No.
and shape.
Nope.
No.
Lost me.
There's
No.
nothing about that. Like I would get no. The group stroking is known as a quote nest.
The group stroking.
Orgasmic
circle
meditation.
jerk.
It's a daisy chain going on over here, but somebody's talking about what it looks like.
group
Don't describe the
stroking.
daisy to me.
Don't-
Just do it.
Right, don't look at it, just do it.
For 50 cents, you can ride the pony in front of Kmart.
Apparently, yeah. Yep, but
They're all beautiful and none
And
of
the
them are
closer
pretty.
you get to that saddle hander, the better time you're having.
yeah, but that saddle ain't a group now, is it?
But it also
Orgasm-
doesn't describe your daisy.
It's a good point. It's a good point. Orgasmic meditation has been growing in popularity since it was founded
Getting off is growing in
in
popularity.
2001.
A show
Space
of hands.
Odyssey.
I call
Can we have a
bullshit.
show of
I
hands,
just need to
please?
see all your hands. Yeah.
There are more than
Not it.
10,000 practitioners and 2,000 already in the United
I'm a
Kingdom
licensed
alone.
masturbator.
I'm
First
sure
question.
Yeah.
they're filling out those sign-up sheets like a son of a bitch.
First question: how much does such said service cost?
Because
you'd
you'd like
have
to take out a loan right now.
No, because I'm looking for a third job.
Oh,
A hand
how
job.
are your, how are your,
I can
Well,
do that.
no,
how are your descriptions?
$15 an
skills?
hour.
Little man
I
in the
can do
boat.
that.
Little man in the
reverse,
boat.
no, reverse that. You're looking to make money.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
I didn't know what
I don't
side.
wanna pay for
Wait,
it.
what side of the fence you want to be on? You want to
right,
be
right.
getting the money.
I would like to go to school to become a
I think
practitioner.
what Kat's telling her is
Go to school.
she's found the daisy, she's worked the daisy, now she'd like to make some cash.
I feel inherently skilled in this particular field. No.
I'm not even going to need to see your resume. I'm just going to
and
believe
you know,
you.
quite frankly,
I'll
apparently,
give you some numbers. They don't have very nice things to say about me personally.
no,
That's not what we're looking
all
for.
think
those
I'm an asshole,
descriptions
but
are different. Yeah.
Cat gets 2 thumbs up.
Oh,
one in each hand, one
Yeah.
in each hand.
well played.
I hated her, but I got off.
She was an asshole, but the sex was all right.
Yeah.
Allow me. It's
See, mine goes the other way. He was really funny, except in bed.
it's $208
Tomato, tomato.
and 64 cents.
$208.64.
Well, sure.
In which state? Wait. I go to adjust for
No.
cost of living.
208 because
But
it's
what state?
147 British pounds.
Oh,
So it's
this is a British
$208
thing.
Got
and
it.
64 cents.
A
Oh,
few
this
pounds
is the
British
thing that-
sterling will do nicely. Thank you.
Thank you. So it has been growing. The sessions attract
feels like a lot
couples
of money still.
from their 20s to their 80s. Orgasmic Meditation was founded by Nicole Somebody and her San Francisco-based organization called One Taste.
Oh!
That was 14
That's
ways.
all it took.
Wait, exactly.
Just one
It's one thing to
taste.
wear the glove and
Right,
lube
it's
it up.
one
It's
thing.
another thing to take the taste.
However,
I have questions.
it rose to prominence when she appeared on a popular TED Talk. I'm going to have to find that.
Oh my God, what is
gosh.
her name?
Like Ted
Her
Cruz?
name is
No.
Nicole. No, the TED Talks.
It's the
that they
web
have,
series
like,
TED Talks.
I love
Her
Nicole.
name is Nicole, Nicole,
Uh-huh.
and last name is, it looks like Daedon, Daedone. However, it rose to prominence because of this TED Talk. She said the female orgasm is vital for every single woman on the planet.
That's true straight. It's the year. It's the day of the lady. What's it called?
It has
International
been
Lady.
viewed. It has been viewed over 1
lost my belt.
million.
It's the day of the pancake lady. Make sure she gets off.
Well, and you know,
Legit.
she's leading to things like moms masturbating during childbirth, apparently taking away from any kind of medication.
Needing an epidural?
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
You're trying to relax it so you can
But
shoot the kid out.
I do want to see someone try.
Well,
Not see.
we can go ahead and.
No. I regret my words almost immediately.
I just heard that.
I'd rather watch the titless wonder get it up the butt.
Or it's 20,864 shillings in Kenya.
I mean, if you want, we can, you know.
Oh my
That's
God.
a Daisy.
Tasteful.
It is tasteful.
Amina's signing up for it, she says.
Bam, I found the YouTube video.
Shut up. Oh, the TED
Well,
Talk?
for the TED Talk,
All right,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
We'll have to watch that later.
We're going to add
Needless
that
to
to
say.
my...
Oh my God. I'm
my
exhausted from that
list.
story.
I'm
Oh.
telling you, yes, absolutely. It's the masturbating during birth, a pleasurable birth.
Yeah. Now, here in the
Fuck
day of the
that again,
pancake
I
lady,
say.
I just want to
Titless
say,
wonder, yes.
yeah, the titless wonder. I just really hope that women can just make their peace with masturbation and do it without a group and a reason and
Right?
$68 or $208.64.
It's called a nest, Al. God.
Oh.
Do you listen?
Because I'm pretty sure that men just masturbate all the time, anytime.
All the
Think it-
time.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe, yeah.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
yeah,
All the time.
Could be. a true
I've seen
statement.
no evidence to the contrary.
You don't need a nest for that. Is that what you're saying? No.
Just a soft towel. Or a scratchy towel. Or a towel. Or no towel.
Or doesn't matter really.
Or just to be
A
awake.
stiff breeze or a light
Or a
breeze.
Wednesday,
Or no breeze at
or a
all.
Sunday, or a.
Because you know it was like day 4 on Castaway that Tom Hanks' character like spanked one off. It was like, all right, cute monkey.
Oh, Wilson.
Get it done, kids.
The volleyball's got a pretty mouth.
Wilson. You shut up,
Wilson.
mouth.
That's what there's a lot going on. Like, when are you going to get an alone time to rub one off there?
I'm telling you.
Oh, the little man in the canoe's probably close to your head with all that, like,
There's a lot happening.
Explosion going on down there.
Yeah, and I'm with me. Who's thinking of masturbating when they get that fucking thing out of me? Is
Yeah.
and that's that's just me guessing. I don't know.
I say,
Please,
having had no children.
no, but I
got
can't
nothing.
fathom. I've seen it on TV.
This is the first I've ever heard someone mention masturbating during the experience.
Yes.
I've heard of sex as a way
as
to
well.
induce labor.
But they say it's the
No.
orgasm that
That
does
it?
it.
No.
Well,
I can
no,
see
and
that.
the sperm too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the sperm is part of it.
That was the body into convulsions. You did this to me.
It
And then
releases
you're shooting us.
something that makes the uterus contract.
Yeah.
Like
That makes sense.
some bullshit.
Yeah, some sort of chemical science.
Red Menace, I want to drink.
Clayton McKee beat that.
I guarantee you, I'm not. However, we're going to stay in the same general area.
Oh, the daisy.
Masturbating.
Oh,
No.
Or vagina.
I'm not sure.
For the second time in
What's
4
happening?
years, residents of a Maine town will vote on whether or not to change the name of a street called Katie's Crotch Road.
That's awful. I don't want to live there.
No one seems
I
to.
want to live there.
And just for point of reference, here's the street sign. No one seems to know where the name came from, but it cost the town of Ebden
It
hundreds of.
seems pretty obvious it's Katie's crotch. I mean,
I'm going to assume
Change the spelling.
it's not
and that's where
possessive.
Kelly wants to live.
It's a fact that it cost the town of Ebden, Maine, hundreds of dollars each year to replace signs, presumably stolen by people who find the oddly vulgar-sounding moniker funny. The Kennebec Journal and Morning Sentinel does report this. You put it up in a week's time, it's down again. Charles Taylor of the town's Board of Selectmen told the paper, "You would think every dorm room in the state of Maine should have one of these signs by now." In 2012, residents voted not to change the name to simply Katie Road.
Or Crotch Road.
Whichever.
Crotch Road would still get stolen a lot.
Saturday,
Yeah.
they'll be voting on whether to name it Katie Road, and they're going to change the name to Katie, Cadie. Many Emden residents should take
That's
cue
good.
from
That
them
matters.
from a city called fucking Austria, where officials reportedly had signs bearing the town's name welded to steel posts and their bases buried in concrete. Another town who had a problem, Shitterton, England, had their very own creative solution to sign theft, engraving the hamlet's name in a huge rock that weighs more than a metric ton.
Shitterton's full.
Shitter's full.
Shitter's full.
And to these multitudes of sign thieves, really? Sure, Katie's Crotch Road is funny when you see it in the street, but is it really so hilarious hanging totally out of context on the wall in your dorm?
Yes.
Okay, maybe. But don't just ruin it for everybody else, the story says. Katie's
think-
Crotch.
I think that adds to the. Who doesn't think through that? Who doesn't think through at any? It doesn't matter.
I would love to know the
when.
origin of that name.
Yeah. So would they, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Someone
Where
somewhere
is Katie's Crotch Road located?
In
Maine.
Okay.
Yep.
The city, hang on, the city name is Ebda, hang on. Embden. Emden, Maine. Actually, I'm sure if you just Google Katie's Crotch Road,
Yeah.
you'll be fine.
I mean, there might be a couple
Do
of
not just Google Katie's
yeah,
Crotch.
There's
Totally
going to be some
different.
upsetting
No.
pictures.
Well, no, I was
Maybe not to you.
I was curious about the different, because a lot of words have different meanings that aren't used anymore. Like the
Leave
word
it to her to
crotch,
think through
perhaps.
this.
I know.
Well,
right.
because
mean,
I've had nothing to do
So,
with it.
so
well,
a crotch
that's-
might mean a crotch. Like,
Yeah.
like
For
a home is
example-
not a house. A house is not a home.
In billiards, crotch is an area 4.5 inches square at each corner of a billiard table. That's the crotch.
I'm gonna,
It's also a
I'm gonna let that
situation
go.
in which both balls to be struck by the cue ball are within this area.
Keep going.
It's also the area of a tree at which the main branch joins the trunk. It's
you
also
mean
a
like
crotch.
in a V?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like a human.
Like
crotch.
They're all
crotch.
crotch-like,
They're
but
all
one had
crotch-like.
2 balls. That's the clear winner.
No.
Oi.
They're about to be struck.
Oi.
So I feel like Katie's crotch could have meant something else at some point.
Well, and even if it did, clearly
Clearly,
it's very similar.
It's time to change it now.
Yeah, it's clearly very similar.
Ryer, take it.
All right. So, and on a good note, South Dakota Governor
Further South Dakota.
Dennis Dugard, who we're not really a fan of.
We don't like him?
We're typically not a fan.
Why don't we
of.
like him?
Which
Well-
which Duggar?
It's Dugard.
Oh, yeah.
What
different.
what has he done for me lately?
He hasn't done anything for anyone typically, except for
Lately.
now he has lately because he vetoed an anti-trans bathroom bill, which
Hooray!
was a really big deal.
Oh,
We love
so,
him
hey,
now.
Caitlin.
Really big
Caitlin Cunty likes him. No, I'm sorry. We're going with the British with her twat.
Oh.
That's right. The British twat. South Dakota governor
Twatland
defies
has a nice-
legislature and vetoes anti-trans bathroom bill. And it is a big deal because it was concerning school districts, things like this. And he said it didn't have anything pressing.
No,
there was no pressing issue
for the
with it.
twats.
Now, what was
South
the
Dakota-
bill?
Education is he a Republican or a Democrat?
My everything that I had read and saw, they don't have it in here, but that he's a Republican was my understanding.
I just want to make
Also,
sure that
what
he's
was
a-
the bill proposing?
South Dakota Governor Dennis Dugard vetoed a controversial bill that sought to ban transgender students from using restrooms and single-sex facilities that correspond with gender identity.
Okay.
The South Dakota Senate passed the bill on February 16th, and it was passed then by the House of Representatives. It defined, quote, biological sex narrowly, according to critics, and it would have made it impossible for any transgender person to ever use the facilities that they feel safest and most comfortable in. House Bill 10, it's
Blah, blah, blah.
1008, does not address any pressing issue concerning the school districts of South Dakota. As policymakers in South Dakota, we often recite that the best government is the government closest to the people. Local school districts can and have made necessary restroom and locker room accommodations that serve the best interests of all students, regardless of biological sex and gender identity. He said that the bill, if made into law, would openly invite federal litigation. And so there were some not super valid reasons, like we don't want to bring that in, but I'm just glad that it was, that he shot it down. Although there have been promises by an outside entity to provide legal defense
So this
to
is
the
a
school
good story.
district. It is a good story.
Oh,
Yeah.
then
By
I
getting
take back
rid
my
of it.
twat reference.
I know, that's why I was confused a little bit. Yeah, because it's not necessarily for all the right reasons.
Yeah.
That
I don't
that
care
it was
how you
shut
get
down,
here.
but it was
Right, yeah.
exactly.
Get here if you can.
Get here if you can.
Lolita.
Lambda Legal had warned that the U.S. Department of Justice had made clear that prohibiting transgender students from using the facilities that corresponded with their gender identity could result in loss of federal school funding. Lambda said that Governor Dugard did the right thing. He did not allow hate and fear-mongering to dictate state policy. Instead, he chose to act reasonably and with compassion and demonstrated that equality is a South Dakota value, which doesn't really a lot of times go hand in hand. The House bill would have served, it's DAUGAARD.
Thank you.
They would have served no other purpose than to target transgender young people and worsen the isolation and harassment that many of them have already experienced. So,
Good on him.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I thought that was a good story to see that even, again, if it's not for all the, you know, when we put on a check mark that he's like, no, because it's just hate that
Right.
that it was, they didn't want to lose the funding and whatnot, but that's okay.
But also, in case you were wondering, allowing transgender individuals to use the bathroom that best represents the gender that they identify with does not invite predators. It does not endanger people.
Right.
It lets people pee where they feel comfortable peeing.
Exactly.
Settle
Exactly.
down.
And just close the fucking door.
Oh.
Well, and that's something I've never
I just shit my
understood.
pants.
Yeah.
It's so convenient.
So convenient.
Well, but that is the thing that I've never understood. I mean, especially for
Nobody does.
So if it's a men's room and a woman were to go in there, how many guys typically are like, no,
Well, I can tell you how many men's rooms I've been in.
right? No, but on the
No,
other
legitimately.
hand, when you go, nobody cares.
No,
Actually, you've probably
usually-
been in more than we care to know
Right.
because people would throw a
about
fit if you were standing in the women's line.
No, well, they
The
do throw a fit
governor
when
of
I'm standing in the
Arizona
women's room.
is Doug Ducey. Doug Ducey.
No, more
I mean,
often than not, I end up in the men's room just to chase a child or two, or
Sure.
you know, whatever. And
Like you do.
No, most recently we were at the Renaissance Festival, and you know the lines are long, and the boys are with me and Sharon and Sharon's mom, and I mean there were guys of her family, her dad and her brother were there, but they were
Sure.
far and away. You know, and our oldest is 10, so it's typically like, okay, take your little brother, whatever,
Right.
and I lurk weirdly outside the door.
Sure.
But no, they had disappeared for longer than I thought was okay, and I walked my happy ass into the men's room,
Good.
and I said, "What are you doing? Wash your hands. We're leaving." And
Right.
nobody says boo to me. Like
Right,
nobody
right.
ever says boo to me. In fact, I get less hassle in the men's room than in the line
In the
for
There,
way,
women.
so-
yeah, from
that-
what you've said.
Because those
yeah.
women are bitchy
Yeah.
and they will eye me down.
Right,
But
well, the men
again,
are
what-
afraid of you
Clearly,
Right.
because you just walk in and hold your own.
right? Because
I'm not-
I'm
Right.
fuck
No,
are you
I'm
gonna
not
do
saying
to
you
me?
walk in
Yeah.
like a bull dyke. I'm just saying you walk in and you just I'm here for
I'm
a
here for
reason.
this,
And
yes.
boom. Yeah.
Right, and what are you going to say to me? Nothing.
Right. No.
Yep. Well, and it doesn't make any sense in a women's room why anyone would be upset, as far as I'm concerned. If you have some creeper standing there lurking,
Right.
totally different. But otherwise, you're sitting there literally
They get very upset. It happens to me all
behind
the
a
time.
closed door.
Right.
But I mean, there's behind a closed door. There are very few women's rooms that you're
Yeah.
going to go to where they're just open.
I've asked many an old lady if she wants me to prove it.
And I like
I just
that.
do like I've gotten to
awesome.
the end of my patience, and people will ask me. They'll be like, "Oh my god, am I in the men's room?" I'm like, "No."
Do they want to
you're
pay you
fine."
137 pounds or whatever the fuck it is?
Look at that. In
No,
Finland, Nero says very different with the bathroom issue. If a man walks into the women's toilet and has a good explanation, woman just shrugs, moves on. I love
See,
that.
and that's how
Gotta
it should be.
pee!
It should be.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
Line's
I'm going
too
to the
long. My
loo.
kid's in
What the
here.
fuck?
The fuck is your?
And
Phone
I
door's
was-
broken. Like, who cares?
Exactly.
That's a bad example. It was a pride event, but I had to go looking for a friend who went missing in the bathroom and was in the wrong sex and breaking through lines. I'm like, not here to pee, ladies. Just looking for somebody who I think is in trouble. And they were all like,
Go.
look
Go.
around.
Yeah.
Right.
And everybody was like, no, the stall's been moving. There's no stall that's been blocked for too long or that we're all suspicious
Right.
of. And I was like,
She's
all right.
not passed out in the stall.
good to know.
You bet.
Good to know.
Nobody's
Yeah.
feet are the wrong way.
Yep.
Oh, ho, ho, ho.
But if we start
No,
like,
meaning she was throwing up.
Oh.
Nobody was in the vomit position. Everybody was in
Oh,
the
gotcha.
appropriate, squatting.
seated.
Got it. I see. I see.
Brave
Feet
seated,
feet forward,
realistic
as it were,
squatting
right.
stance.
Gotcha. So,
Brave lady with some serious Sandy wipes.
got it. Ryan, are you done?
I'm done.
Got it. Well, moving along here. Get
I
your,
really took that story the wrong way.
Get
just
your-
shitting all over
I know.
I
her.
need you to
Like,
get your scanning app ready on your phone, please. Officials in North Carolina are warning drivers, and I feel like we've talked about this story before. North Carolina officials are warning drivers to be on the lookout for fake parking tickets with a QR code that open up to a YouTube video of Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You
Shut
Up when
up.
it's scanned.
That's awesome.
Asheville, North Carolina's parking services posted alerts to their website and Facebook page on Friday after at least 2 bogus tickets had popped up on cars. Quote, it's kind of surprising to go to a link for a YouTube video, and then when I went, it was featuring some rock star that I didn't know. Parking services manager Harry Brown told local station WLOS. We interrupt this news story so that Kat Carlson can scan said parking ticket,
I'm so excited.
scan the QR
Here,
code.
just stall a little bit because I had to reinstall it.
Sorry. So let's
moments away.
let's
We're moments
see
away.
what happens here.
Breaking news.
And my phone is dying.
Breaking
shitty,
news.
shitty. All right.
Oh, plug it in. Plug it in.
I know. I'm gonna
Plug it in, plug it in. Oh, it's dying. How is it dying like that? That fast?
3%. You know what? Here's the problem with my
It doesn't
phone.
It
skim with
goes
your
real
scanner
fast,
and things
yeah.
go fast when they go.
Well, and my phone, once it gets to about 11%,
Yep.
goes from 11% to 0%, like
Okay.
that fast.
Right. So
Just for the listeners, Nancy Reagan is a bitch. Okay.
there it is. Oh,
Hey!
hey!
Tinless Wonder.
Dead.
Okay,
Still
here
dead.
I am. I'm
Wait,
scanning.
wait.
Oh, Owen.
Scanning.
Still dead.
Does it scan? Mine. It did on my phone.
Here we go.
Trying to scan.
Crickets.
Nancy Reagan's a
Hang on, let
twat.
me
It's
clean my
it's
lens.
scanned on.
I do.
No, don't be
I
drunk.
do have
Keep
to
going.
say because the titless wonder thing started long before the breast cancer thing. In case
Yes.
anyone thought they were
Right, right,
related,
right.
we were calling her a titless wonder long before,
Long before.
nature intervened.
Sure.
That's weird that it won't scan on your phone.
It's trying.
Not with this guy. No. Hang on. I'm going to try a different
Stand
scanner.
by. I do have 2 different scanners on my phone, and it does only work with one of them.
Yeah, I'm going to try a different
The
one.
one that I have called Scan
Well,
Life.
and while she's doing that, I'm just going to let you all know about Donald Trump
Oh.
to make America great again with a combination of magic and shouting.
Yes.
Republican frontrunner Donald Trump has finally made a solid, if bizarre, policy announcement by revealing that he intends to make America great using both magic and shouting. After his triumphs on last Super Tuesday, he greeted supporters with a cheery "Hey, shitheads!" and got straight down to business. You know what? The faggy Latino liberal asswipe press, some of which I probably own, are always saying, "Hey, Don, you keep saying you're going to make America great. How are you going to do that?" Well, I'll tell you. Shouting. There was wild applause as he continued.
It's got to be onion. This has to be onion.
I'm going to shout so loudly that ISIS will run back to their caves. That those career politicians who've made a career out of taking your dollars will have to get themselves a damn job. And that those women will get back in the kitchen where they belong.
Ooh.
She got it?
If it won't work with you, let Al scan. Well, he probably doesn't have a scanner on his phone. A barcode scanner.
What's the app called?
Scan Life is the one that will scan it and open up your...
Okay. Pray continue, milady.
Pray continue. At which point, when the women getting back into the kitchen where they belong comment was made, a combination of laughter and applause, of course, filled the room. And magic. At this, there was a smattering of applause and some bemused looks.
I do love a smattering.
A smattering, yeah.
Smatterings are good.
America has some of the greatest wizards in the world, and we're going to use their powerful magic to make America
That's
the
not true. The
greatest
greatest
country
wizards are in England.
of the goddamn planet. A confused silence descended on the hall as supporters tried to work out if he was joking or not. I personally know a guy who made the Statue of Liberty disappear. So if he can do that, he can magic up a load of low-pay jobs for everyone.
That sounds dirty.
A steady stream of supporters began to drift toward the exits. And I met that Harry Potter kid when he started in Home Alone 2, so he's going to help me build a huge magic wall to keep everybody out. At this point, only die-hard Trump supporters remained, many with their head in their hands, unable to bring themselves to look at the stage. USA, USA, chanted Mr. Trump as his advisors filed onto the stage to lead him away. Is that a true story? Or not?
I'm sure it's not. Okay. You
don't know.
I've tried.
You don't-
Wait,
you
we're
don't
gonna,
know.
hey, we're gonna go. Bingo. Scan it. What you got? YouTube takes you to YouTube.
It sure does.
It takes you to this video on YouTube.
Parking ticket got rickrolled.
Well done.
So continuing with our story. Disguised as a hyperlink, the 80s single has unexpectedly popped up in a number of places, including ISIS hashtags, compliments of hacktivists, and the group Anonymous, and the White House's Twitter account. The prank is referred to as Rickrolling. So if you've been Rickrolled, you scan something that takes you to Rick Astley. Astley himself even surprised Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade viewers with a live performance of the song back in 2008. Not everyone seems to find it entertaining, however.
I would try.
One person visiting Asheville from Atlanta told WLOS the tickling joke was, quote, atrocious. He says, we got past the 80s, I thought. That's pretty bad. It's a waste of time. It's funny, dickhead. Sorry. Now, Brown pointed out that the tickets look real, and I will show you they do look real. Here is what the tickets look like. Side by side, the one on the left is a legitimate parking ticket. No QR code. But the one on the right, the one on the right shows you the QR code, and also the amounts of the tickets are not correct based on what real parking tickets are. So that's what it is. But it does take you to that lovely video that we had from the 80s, the Rick Astley.
I like his voice. And plus, I really like this song.
I do.
How can you not?
Actually, I like the whole. I bought the whole album.
No personal shame involved. He had what was the other song from this album that I really enjoyed? Tell me what I liked. What I liked. Get a follow up.
I have to look up the list of songs. I've got it on cassette. I don't have it on CD.
Love the cassette.
And I may have had a cassingle. I'm not sure.
Oh, I hated cassettes. No,
You probably enjoyed
we've discussed
Together
that
Forever.
We've discussed that ad
I don't need
nauseum.
your
The
shit.
other song you liked was Together Forever.
Together forever and ever.
And didn't he have a song called Cry?
Cry for Help.
Yeah.
Cry for help. Oh,
Hold Me in Your Arms.
I don't know that. I mean, if I heard those, maybe, but
Whenever You Need Somebody.
it takes a strong man.
By the way, I will remember.
Those are the four I have. Never Gonna Give You Up, Together Forever, The Lovers Leap Mix.
By the way,
It would take a strong man, which is, I think that's my favorite of the three. And then Cry for Help was from the second album.
I will remember from here on out that anytime I'm going to stage something wherein somebody needs to scan it, I will make sure that they have the appropriate app on their phone.
I installed and tried 3 apps.
And for
while I
some
was
reason,
doing
your
that,
phone
not
won't
a
scan
damn
it, but the
thing.
iPhone scans it immediately, which is
My
I don't
phone
know
is
what-
an asshole. I need a.
Oh,
I need an S7.
oh, it was fantastic when you got it.
It's nearly Pride, and
So it's
it must
time.
be. It must be time. Yeah.
Are you going to go the way of the eye?
No.
No.
I feel like.
You were going to.
And,
I'm checking. No.
Yes, I'm surprised they don't play it at the gay skate night. But Amina, they were.
Yes, he's still alive, Joe.
PWL, Stock Aikman Waterman were the producers,
Oh,
and they did everything from Dead or Alive to Bananarama to Kylie Minogue's first couple albums to Rick S. All the songs sound the same. So all you have to do is buy into one song. If you liked You Spin Me Right Round, Baby, Right Round, same people.
Yeah.
Same song.
Same songwriters,
Same
same
song.
producers. The videos are pretty similar.
I used to call it the Dead or Alive effect. Like there was a Dead or Alive sound, and then I realized that 70 other people had the sound.
because it was stock Waterman.
Right. I
Yeah.
didn't realize that at the time. When I was that young, I didn't pay attention to who was producing it. I just liked it. I'm like, oh, I like this too. I like this too. I'm like, oh.
Wow, that's
Now
like
I'm older. I realize what happened.
Sure.
Should we play my favorite game real quick? I'll give you a second to cue it up. Oh, I'll just write it down.
Right,
for you.
or can you
I'll
text it to me?
Oh, I guess I can text it to you.
Write it down.
I think I put
Would
those
you like a
glasses
piece
on
here?
again.
Here's a piece of real
Let's
paper.
do it on here.
Write it on this. Marnie Ryer, take it away.
I just did.
No, do another one.
Yeah. Oh, all right.
She stole that one out of your hands.
Yeah, I was just using
Well,
that
no,
one
you
'cause
read
I
that.
figured-
I mean, I have another story I could go to, but I mean, if you
Yeah.
you want to go to that,
You can do it. Yes,
Sure.
please. Go ahead.
I'm gonna keep.
Because I have one right here if you want. But
Well, I got to queue up a couple things. Here we go. All right, we're good. We're good. Well, we've all done do-it-yourself projects, haven't we?
Oh, sure.
We've all done
Fixed a
them.
lawnmower. this
Effective
week.
masturbation.
You fixed a lot.
twat tapping,
That
they call
would-
it.
Sure.
That's the name of the show.
Self
Twat
Self-twat
tapping.
tapping.
Oh, write that down on that
Twat.
sheet. Twat.
I'm just gonna go with
Self twat tapping.
twat.
Oh,
No, there's no reason for self.
no, I know. I
It's
agree.
assumed.
Yeah.
It's implied.
I-
The
It's
self is
implied.
implied. Twat.
So there
tapping.
are
Twat tapping.
some.
I'll be drinking to that.
There are some DIY projects that you should really never attempt or to make yourself. License plates are one of the things that fall in this category.
Yeah. Oh, I saw this one.
A woman who shall
So funny.
for now and forever be known as Amanda Schweikert, who is pictured here in this lovely arrest photograph.
She looks nice.
She's
and
a
topless.
She's a New York woman who got a little too confident in her crafting skills. Now she currently faces felony charges after she was caught allegedly driving with a homemade cardboard license plate.
Not a girl.
Erie County Police pulled over 28-year-old Amanda Schweikert on Wednesday morning after they noticed that.
She's like a Noxzema commercial.
Yeah, after they noticed that what looked like a preschooler's art project
But it was just twat tapping.
on the back of her vehicle, where her New York State license plate
Tuesday
should
morning,
be.
what
Now,
else is she gonna do?
I'm going to show you. This is what, and Al will be completely familiar with this.
Yeah.
This is a sample of a New York State license plate. That is what a plate would normally look
The
like.
Empire State.
Right.
Yes.
That's right.
And again,
Very, very majestic.
this is just for illustration purposes. ABC 2345 is not a legitimate plate number.
Is that the current plate?
Could be. Now,
No, it couldn't be
Now, what
because
we're gonna-
there isn't a tag up in there.
Now, what we're going to show you is this is the license plate on the car. It's very good. It's very crafty.
Oh.
Same. I don't see any difference.
Same. Exactly.
Almost.
God, I thought that was
Almost.
hysterical.
Same.
Yeah.
Super similar, if nothing else.
yeah.
Super good.
Super
Now, needless to say,
similar.
cardboard and magic markers will never be enough to make a convincing license plate, no matter how crafty you are. However,
I was fooled.
might we suggest that a little glitter to make it shimmery like a real
Or
plate?
knowing what the state of New York's outline looks like. I feel like that would be the easy part to
Well, no,
replicate.
wait a minute. No, wait. So,
But she's bad with numbers.
Here's there's
Yeah.
the
No,
little
see, I feel good about
in
it.
the
Same.
center. There's the little.
I see no doubt.
There's a. Oh, look at they've got Manhattan all right there. They got it.
That's
Now,
Long Island. But I like your optimism.
Whatever. I've been there once. I didn't really care.
The Long Island, that's Long Island.
But now
It's
look at
long.
this.
Yeah, the Long Island? The Long Island.
But look at this. Boom. It's
Same
there.
thing.
Exactly.
Same.
the same.
It's just a little more erect in this one.
I think that
Well, because it's later Tuesday morning. No,
Yeah.
happened. Further South Dakota.
What else are you going to do?
It
Well,
is.
I think it's about
It's
the colors.
further south
actually.
Vermont.
Now,
Yeah.
what I would
Right.
like to know, though,
Yeah.
because oftentimes, and it's happened in this state a million times, people will put a piece of cardboard in their back window. It says plate stolen and give their legitimate license plate number until they get another one. What I want to know is,
What kind of roads are you driving on? I've never seen that.
South
you don't,
Phoenix.
you don't drive enough. In this city,
I will keep driving until I see
oh my
plates
God,
stolen.
I am not kidding
Please
you.
refer to card
You've
on
seen
that.
it. You know what I'm talking
I've
about.
totally seen it.
Literally, they put a piece
Have you
of
seen this?
I've actually had
I've
it
not
happen.
seen that. I've seen like
All right,
when you're
2
waiting.
out of 4. You've only given 2 out of 4.
in the back window of a car. If the
I've seen
plate
when
is
you're
gone,
waiting for your plate, as far as like
no,
I
no,
just
no,
bought
no,
a car.
no. This is plate. It literally, it's plate
Wow,
stolen,
I've
and
not
and they've written the actual license plate number. What I don't know is
I
this?
feel like that's not legal or legit, but they do it.
But at least it's a real number. I don't know that this plate that we're showing you right now on the screen, if that is
I'm gonna vote no.
legitimately her number, or if that's why she got busted because it's a fake number.
It says "fuck you guys" 3925. No, it's not real.
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't going.
I'm
with
gonna go
that.
with twat tapping.
And this Noxzema model is the one who did it for us. So.
All right, now Harrison,
Now, what happened to
you've
her
seen
shirt?
every horrifying thing that can happen to a car. Have you ever seen the story he's talking about?
Also, I agree with Harrison. It does look like a martini, except it looks like it's tipping over, which makes me
Is an American tragedy.
Well,
tragedy.
what?
It is. It's like, oh,
What's the martini? Oh,
The
the
other
state.
one.
No. The not
This one.
there it is.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see it. I
yeah.
can see the martini
it
tipping.
looks like it's falling over, and that's not okay.
God.
Nailed it. Yep.
All right.
Yeah, that's
Saw it on
just tragic.
Pinterest. Hashtag.
I saw that picture today. And you know the thing that really irritated the shit out of me? Can you imagine there's such a thing like that in the world?
What?
Is for the centennial of the Statue of Liberty, the plates, the New York State plates went to a red, white, and blue. And thank God I no longer live there. Thank God I moved immediately upon this the presentation of this license plate. But it had the Statue of Liberty as red. And I'm like, the Statue of
fucker's
Liberty is green.
Hasn't been red since
Like a
3
red
days
Statue
after
of
it got
Liberty,
here.
I don't get what you're going for here. And I get, like, it took me a long time to realize they were going for a red, white, and blue plate. So
Okay.
it's a white plate with blue letters and a red Statue of Liberty. Then pick something else. Jesus Christ, that
Come
drove
on.
me nuts.
There you go.
Yes.
Sure,
Oh,
sure.
That-
hang on a minute. Hang on a minute.
That made me fucking nuts. I would walk up to
hang
cars
on.
and shout at them.
Wait. I didn't know this was going to come up, but I am excited right now.
My goodness.
Well,
I'm
Because I used to call it the menstruating.
Talking about this
Statue of
one?
Liberty.
This plate?
Yes.
Ass man. Yes. With the menstruating Statue of Liberty.
Listen, it happens.
That's
It's natural.
Yeah.
It's not dirty.
And I get it. You know, she started off copper. She rusted. Copper rusts to
Patina.
green.
She
Patina.
oxidized. She didn't
Yep.
rust. She
Patina.
oxidized.
Well, she oxidized. She didn't patina. Patina's yellowing.
Or a yellow and blue. Wait, green.
Still not red.
And
No, it's not
orange,
red.
like nobody knows.
You used a lot of words and none of them meant red.
That's funny.
Whoa. Colorado. Whatever.
Listen, Chanel number 5, Titless Wonder.
Dennis, what? No, ding it.
The old twat tapper, you.
Again, it was Tuesday
Leave it
morning.
Oh
alone.
no!
Yeah,
And for
yeah.
Harrison, the implication was just like she lives somewhere where she drives all the time, and she's always parking, and like there's always some weird traffic thing going on because she lives in California. That one wasn't about her driving.
That's very funny.
That was the
she
first
says,
story ever. That was
Well,
Ryer.
that's funny. Well, this I want to go back to a gentleman that just makes me laugh, and it's a very it's not even an article. It's a real attention seeker.
It's a pamphlet.
Do you remember when
No,
I
I
did
miss
the
pamphlets.
James Veach, the gentleman who responds to the spam emails?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah, my
yes,
friend,
yes,
So
yes,
this
yes.
is just a very short one, but it had me laughing out loud. So it's an email that he received from Juan Carlos to James Veach.
This was the woman. This is the guy who responded to the sex worker.
Right,
That
right.
He wanted. Right. He wanted a
And they go back
relationship.
and
Right.
forth.
She's a twat tapper.
She's a top tapper to you.
Christ Lord.
She had a dog, and we're worried about the dog now lost in the city. The
And
cat or
she's like,
whatever. it was.
what cat?
Yeah.
And he's like,
Masturbatory practitioner.
I like
That's
the
what I was
twat
gonna say, I'm
tapper.
gonna
An
say.
MP. She's an MP.
Right, right.
Because you know, 2 drinks into Kathy Lee and Hody, you're going to call it a twat tapper.
oh, totally, yep. As well it should be.
Hour 6 of the
so-
Today Show continues.
John Oliver. They mean fucking.
They mean fucking things that just mean fucking. And now
And
this.
half of those were Kathleen and Hody.
They really were.
If you're not watching John Oliver, fix your life.
Please
Yeah.
do.
'Cause he
Seriously, like on the YouTube.
very
He is
good.
getting it done.
He's my weekly reminder for why people should vote too. Like
Oh,
he just has a
yes.
thing that I just keep posting.
Yep. So Juan Carlos decided to send this spam email to James Veach. It says, "Greetings." Oh, I'm sorry. It says, "Greetings." It has a question mark, which just makes me laugh. Firstly, I must apologize for barge into your mailbox. I seek a decision maker to grab 50% of 128 million. Yours free? Have I got your attention?
Sign
all
me
in
up.
all in capital letters.
You realize I already want to date this guy.
yeah.
Right.
My question
you have
to
everyone's
you,
rapt attention.
my question to you is, do you want to be a millionaire?
No.
All you need to do is assist me on what is required. You get $64 million. Have I got your attention? I require UN undertaking
This sounds like crime.
that you will
footage.
not run away with the money, driven by greed. Call it winnings or compensation is your choice. Have I got your attention?
Again.
This transaction,
Benghazi! I feel like you have Tourette's and I need to...
this transaction is a deal which you
It is a deal.
do no allowed to tell anybody. However, provide your personal information. So James Veach responds to Juan Carlos. Sorry, can you repeat that? I wasn't paying attention.
I like him.
At which point it says underneath, in just 4 hours, Juan Carlos and James exchanged 9 emails. The next day, Juan just gives up.
Are we all friends with James Veach? Because I think we need to find him.
We should
That's
find him. That
very
is funny.
Correct spelling of James Veach, please.
Veitch.
Is there an actual email
God,
address?
it's so funny.
Does it show the email address?
It does. No, it does not.
But
It
I
just
feel
says
like we
two.
found him somewhere.
Oh, I
Did
don't
we
recall
find him
that.
somewhere on Facebook, or he was? Aren't you friends with him on Facebook?
No, that was the fat bike rider.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Oh, yeah, that was Fat Guy
Oh,
Across
we need
America.
a fat bike rider update.
I will message him.
First
I will
of all,
message him this
it
week,
is
and I will
the
get
man
him for next
attempting
week.
to
Did you
lose
say an
weight
outbreak?
while-
We need an outbreak?
I don't know. I'm drinking so much of the Titless Wonder. I'm already a little buzzed. Might have had a glass of wine before I came over.
Well played.
Shocking.
Oh.
It was actually. I never
Glass?
So,
at home. That's what makes it shocking. Was I drank at home?
Oh, I see.
so James Veach is an author, and his book is called .con.
That's aren't we?
that's what we had
I
looked
think
up.
we found him before.
Oh, then he's not going to be hard to find. Not
certainly
going to be.
We're going to look again.
That's why he gets so much attention
That's
because
fun.
he gets
That
fucked
is
with so much.
Funny. God, that's
That
so
is funny
Or
stuff.
he fucketh with others.
Fucketh.
Fucketh with others. I appreciate that.
Donde este, Rubio?
Red fucking menace.
Como está? That was said earlier on MSNBC because
And wasn't that cunt friends with Halston too?
All I can say
course
is
she
that
was.
is James Veach. He's cute.
Oh, daddy.
What? You got a daddy out of that? I haven't seen the picture.
Oh.
Well, literally a daddy because
Turn
he's
farther.
holding the kid.
Oh, he's all right.
But
I'm gonna feel
Cute.
free to quote Christine McVie
He
on this
also-
one.
You gonna tap that?
Oh,
He looks
daddy!
like,
I'm gonna tap my own twat over that one.
I honestly do not know if that's
It's a
the same James Veach.
DIY project I'd like to tell you about later.
Oh.
But he is in the United Kingdom, and that's where.
Well,
This James
in
Veach.
our final headline story, and I'll let you know before I read the story, I did listen to the 911 call, hoping that it was going to be worthwhile, and it just wasn't enough to make a segment. But police in Cleveland say a man called 911 because he felt that he was in danger.
You in danger, girl.
You in danger, girl.
Then he asked the dispatcher to hold on while he made a drug deal.
I applaud his life choices.
There you
Police
have it.
Lieutenant Thomas Stacho said Tuesday that Alejandro Melendez was arrested after the call was charged with possession of cocaine. Police say Melendez called 911 late Saturday and reported that 2 men with guns were watching him. Police records showed that he hung up, so the dispatcher called him back. Melendez answered and asked the dispatcher to hold on, but the dispatcher could still hear what was going on. A voice can be heard on the recording of the call saying, quote, "What do you need? You need a 10-pack? You need a 10-pack? Is that what you need? All right. Well, police say that a 10-pack is code for a bundle of heroin."
I feel I've learned something here today.
The police dispatcher called police, who found Melendez at the location that he gave, and had the dispatcher call his cell phone again. And when he answered it, they found the cocaine in his trousers.
His correct address.
There was no immediate indication Tuesday if Melendez, who was 20 years old, had an attorney to speak for him, but is, however, still in incarceration.
Dumb,
That's
dumb,
fantastic.
Oh
and
my
dumb.
God. I thought that was
Fantastic.
one of the best things because I'm like, that's just funny shit,
That is
stupid
very
stuff.
good.
But again, I listened to the 911 call and it wasn't as funny as I had hoped it would be because I thought we could have done a crime scene footage, but it wasn't there.
I like that it's not the reading it, like the dialogue's not funny, but the story's fantastic.
The story's good, yeah. Yeah, it is funny when you hear him because the dispatcher's like, he is selling drugs. He is selling drugs right now. You need a 10-pack? You need a 10-pack? We'll get you a 10-pack. All right, we're coming back right after this. It's Al Perkins with a wine-induced, titless wonder version of entertainment.
Yay!
Stay with us. We got 1 hour to go. You can get through it. Really, really, you can. Honest. You can. Really.
We promise.
You've been listening to The Show on Q Talk America. This is Q Talk America.
The following broadcast contains adult humor, language, and topics, along with partial nudity. Actual knowledge is used sparingly. This show is a result of a lost bet and a bad game of rock, paper, scissors. It's The Show with Clayton McKee. And now, a man with a face for radio, Clayton McKee.
Hi again, everybody. Welcome. It's 9 o'clock straight up, according to the old atomic clock on the wall. This is Clayton McKee in Studio C, alongside Kat Carlson, Marnie Ryer, and Al Perkins, rounding out our show as we do each and every week. Thank you for being with us. Oh my gosh. We're getting ready for the excitement is coming towards us. It is about to be the entertainment segment starring Al Perkins.
That's me. What? Entertainment! On a little small screen. We're going to talk about a new show called The Real O'Reillys, which has a little talented star in it. We're going to search for this thing on my phone that tells you what I'm talking about. We have a death den.
Really just
we have a little update on the Reagan children, who I kind of like. Updates on 2 TV shows. And then I'm hopefully going to segue into Cat segment with Supreme Court shit.
Very nice. Very nice. I had that too. So yeah, we can.
I think that's how we'll transition.
That'll be very nice.
A little show premiered last Wednesday. I think it's on tonight. And once again, I forgot to tape it. So we'll be watching on demand on ABC. They did the premiere between the middle and the Modern Family, and it's called The Real O'Neills.
I haven't heard of this.
Cute show, kind of funny. Martha Plimpton, George Plimpton's daughter.
I was going to say, is that
still
George's
getting
daughter?
it done? Mm-hmm. She's the
from
mom.
the Goonies and
from the Goonies and
Got it.
what's the movie with River Phoenix? Running on Empty that I love her so much.
And was with River Phoenix, I believe, for a while. Before
a hot minute, the hour. And she was very funny on Raising Hope.
Raising Hope, right? Mm-hmm.
So now she's on the show. It was clever. It was funny. But the little girl from The New Normal, that really super talented child that was so good on The New Normal, and I thought, wow, I really hope she gets another job after
Little
this.
Edie.
When she did that phenomenal imitation of Little Edie on The New Normal, and she nailed it.
Yeah.
She's the middle daughter, or she's the daughter on this show.
Realize that. Okay.
And that's what made me look into it. Cause I'm like, who is that girl? And I just looked to see who she was, and it's just charming. I guess they're playing it with Fresh Off the Boat or whatever's on Tuesdays. I don't tape anything on Tuesdays from ABC, but it was a nice fit into that families of all kinds of styles and dramas and I can't forget what movie they spoofed, but the Goldbergs last week did Dirty Dancing. Okay. The best musical about an abortion that's ever been made.
Waiting for that.
And
it's my absolute favorite.
The Titless Wonder hated it.
Oh yeah.
Fuck her.
Just say no to abortion movies about a musical. But I have to tell you that all of my hopes and dreams came true because I stayed up. I worked Wednesday night. I got home Thursday morning, and I'm like, I just want all of my dreams to come true about just how god-awful but undeniably delightful Dirty Dancing is. And I wanted the Goldbergs to just totter that line between just a trashy movie about an abortion and the sex appeal of Patrick Swayze and how you're like, yeah, I'd get knocked up with him and scrape the baby out later. You know what I mean? Just in the worst possible taste. And it was hysterical that she's just in tapping the twat land, the mom, and then she loves it that the daughter is so turned on by Patrick Swayze too, and they're sitting there seriously doing the nest of group masturbation, and the daughter wants to have a Dirty Dancing thing at school, and the mom starts out fighting with her until she finds out that they're going to start dry humping each other, and then she's against it. And the whole time, all the dialogue about it and the fact that the the Barry, the crazy older brother, is into Footloose. So he wants it to be a Footloose party. The daughter wants it to be a Dirty Dancing party. And then the fact
And the two can never meet.
The fact that at the end it was about the father and mother finally dancing together. They had never danced together in their whole time together. And the little video at the end of the episode, because there's always a real video from Adam Goldberg's real life,
right,
which just ties it all in and makes you like kind of weepy. Is his mom and dad the only time they ever danced together? He has the video, and it's to "I've had the time of my life," and you're just like, shut the fuck up.
Of course it is.
But so the real O'Neills was charming, but the selling point last week, as it always is the real Goldbergs. The Goldbergs. That show is so goddamn funny.
You enjoy that. I have not.
Both of them,
yet.
incidentally,
Yeah.
available on Hulu if you're a cord cutter.
Okay.
Available on Hulu.
And just do it, because especially if you know the 80s at all, just to watch them get the 80s exactly. Like, they know what's goofy and they know what's good, and they just blend them beautifully. But it always ends in a real video from the 80s, from his... Because the kid was obsessed with cameras that created the show.
Okay.
So he has everything
all
on
of this
film. And you
home
never
video
know
stuff.
what it's going to be. Like, is it going to be one of his brothers? Because they made one of his brothers a girl for the TV show, because he really has two older brothers. So you just don't know how they're going to tie in. What's the last video going to be? And as soon as you find out, it's just too much to take.
That's amazing.
I like it.
But it's always good. And the fact that, like, and sometimes they'll do a whole episode where they just do a shot for shot remake of a movie. Like, they've done Ferris Bueller's Day Off. They've done oh Christ, what was the first
which
one?
in June is going to be 30 years, by the way.
Yes, because it was just Pretty in Pink was 30 years.
Right.
This last month was Pretty in Pink's 30th anniversary.
Isn't that
which was a funny thing to read. Entertainment Weekly took it on, and everybody tries to be nice to Molly Ringwald now, but that kind of killed Molly Ringwald's career because she hated the ending. She wanted to go with the cute guy. She didn't think she'd be with Ducky. And so the movie Some Kind of Wonderful is just John Hughes making
up for it
the same movie again. It's the exact same story, but the girl ends up with the right guy in the end of Some Kind of Wonderful.
Sure. Of which I own both. I love those movies.
Yeah. Well, Some Kind of Wonderful is a tap in the twat
You look
lesbian
good in my
fantasy.
future.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Oh,
You
my
are
God.
not lying
What's her
about that.
name from
Mary Stewart
Masterson? Oh God.
Not
That just
I
sounds
would
like masturbation.
She is the Oh, are you not from? She's from Fried
Do you
Green
know who that
Tomatoes.
is?
Like,
Oh,
yeah.
my
every
God,
movie she's in becomes a
yes.
lesbian porn
God.
movie. Like,
Yeah.
you just can't help
It's
it.
because they killed
her
Ruth.
in
like, you
Fried
just
Green
can't- you
Tomatoes.
just- right.
Her and Ruth. Oh, that whole thing.
No.
Cried like a
Oh,
little
yeah.
bitch. But yeah, Idja Threadgood. She sure was a beach hammer. That Idja Threadgood.
You're just an old beach armor.
God, I loved her in that.
Let me see. Okay, so we'll talk about that at the end. So You, Me, and the Apocalypse is still going on. It's not as funny as it started.
It's cute, though.
But it's really cute and it's really clever. Mm-hmm. And I'm enjoying that Jenna Fisher, is that her name?
Yes, I love Jenna
is getting
Fisher.
so much
From
to
The
do, and
Office.
she's so good from The
From The
Office.
Office.
Yeah.
And I love that Megan Mullally just has this whole separate,
whole other
really well-developed character.
Yeah.
I've never enjoyed Rob Lowe this much, ever.
Really?
And
That's what you had
everything
said,
he's
yeah.
been in, I've
Erin
never
thinks
liked
it's
him as
brilliant
much.
too. Yeah, she loves it too.
It's lost how the first two episodes were just really funny.
Way
And
out
this-
there, yeah. I just picked it up and started watching it this week, so I'm like 4 episodes. I don't know.
Yeah, okay, so
my
the
Hulu account will tell me. Hang on.
The first two episodes are funnier than the rest of them. They're not. They don't stay
Does it
that
kind of
funny.
fall off?
Just
Yeah.
like this show.
Well,
The
you
first
know,
two episodes were
that's a true
great,
story.
and then ever since then,
It's
But-
kind of like
but it keeps
smoking.
up the
People
clever-
pick it up
yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, I got this high."
Okay,
and
I'm
then
in the
they
middle
keep
of
going.
episode 3, so
Your
I
first
haven't
crack hit
started
was
the
great.
tank yet.
But it stays. The quality stays good, and all of it stays good. The acting stays good. It's just that it's not as laugh out loud funny
The
anymore.
funny just kind of falls. Well,
But because the one character that brought all the humor was the British guy's best friend that goes on
I
the
love
road
that,
trip
the
with
car
them.
surfing guy.
The car surfing,
Yeah,
yes,
I
he's
fucking love
just
him.
fucking funny. Whatever, and at one point they fake their way into an insane asylum.
Yes.
And so the friend has to pretend to be a patient while the other one pretends to be the new orderly, and so they have to give him his crazy meds up his butt. So when he comes out of the coma, he's
That
like,
must be the
whatever the bucket list is. This is the opposite, and I don't want to be on it.
That has to be the episode titled "Right in the Nuts."
Right?
Oh,
Oh, wow.
I'm not sure, but it's just so good. If you're watching OJ, American Crime Story, is that what we're calling it?
Yeah, that is
So we're
the
calling
American
it-
Crime Story.
American
That's the
Crime
one.
Story. Just as good, but did we talk about this last week? The fact that FX can now say motherfucker.
no, we did not talk about
Okay,
that.
so 2 weeks ago,
That's great because Archer's new season's coming up, and they'll be able to say more. Yay!
I don't know how they're getting away with it. I honestly don't
You're
know how they're
absolutely
getting
right,
away with
because I
it.
think that when I was listening, that I thought it was like on a different channel. I just
Yeah, because
kind
the
of
the last second of the episode where Marcia Clark looks at the newspaper in the morning in her backyard and she's like, motherfucker. And I'm like, what
What
channel
just
am I
happened?
watching?
Right,
Like,
right.
because there's you can say fuck and still get a PG-13. I think you can say fuck 3 times. But cocksucker or motherfucker is an automatic R rating.
Sure.
So we're like above and beyond what TV should be showing. And I thought, okay, it's a one-time thing. It was the last second of the episode. Maybe they're going to get away with it for like artistic license. But they put the F-bomb in the next week, like
Here's why:
hard. Why?
the FCC only regulates broadcast networks. Go away, ad. According to Entertainment Weekly, the only thing keeping basic cable channels PG-13 is a desire to keep viewers, placate advertisers, and stay on brand.
But the OJ show, what's it called? American Crime
Crime
Story,
Story.
is seriously the highest rated thing on FX in its history. Like FX still
Apparently,
there's
FX
that.
is not the first ones to do it. Comedy Central has been known to air motherfuckers.
Comedy
But
Central,
Comedy
sure.
Central does their late night, like
But it's all the same spectrum. It's all cable television.
okay.
So
And I knew that
it's
Comedy Central-
FX
something
and
about
the
FX
and
that
the O
doesn't seem like
Network
it, yeah.
and the formerly Learning Channel and all of those.
Learnin'.
All the Learnin' apostrophe no G. According to what this small
And that makes
unvetted
sense that it's
article says.
advertiser driven. But you know
Right.
how the Comedy Central, like you'll watch something at Comedy Central when it's really on at 11 o'clock and then you'll see the 3 a.m. rebroadcast and all of a sudden they're like, wow, they didn't bleep that. They
Yeah.
do it with
Stand-up
Tosh
specials.
O.
Oh, sure.
And the roast is the one that they really do it on. Sometimes, like the Goldbergs wouldn't be as funny. Like if Beverly said thanks fucking giving every
Right.
year, but it's thanks beep, giving, like, and all the venom she puts into the word fuck when she says it.
Right.
And with this week, it was dirty fucking dancing, Murray.
Yeah, but apparently to answer that question,
if
the
she just said
FCC
it, right,
only
it
regulates the broadcast
So
networks.
that's
going
good
to be
to
the
know.
ones that you can get, again, for cord cutters, the ones that you buy the antenna for
Mm-hmm.
and can get allegedly for free. That's your ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox.
Why don't we have Phoenix behind Cat?
Because there's no chroma key this week. It's one of the technological disadvantages this week.
Oh, twat waffle.
We're still at 0.
That's not it, but that's not a technical. It's just a fact.
Okay.
We can still drink.
I just
Amina
actually,
wants
I
us to
hadn't-
drink, so I'm going to say titless
Okay.
Wonder
No,
Woman.
we're having an issue right now. Camera 1 is freezing
Yeah.
occasionally on us.
Oh, okay.
We have
Oh,
no
it's
chroma
even
key.
doing it on there.
Yeah, it's
Got it.
got problems.
No, but you know what? Cox Cable sucks this week.
But this
There's
is
a
not.
lot of
But it has
less
nothing to do with Cox. It has
Oh,
to do
okay.
with those cameras are crap.
In an unrelated topic.
Unrelated topic.
Cox Cable sucks.
Yeah.
House of Cards is back on. I have not had the appropriate time or amount of coffee in my home to
Okay.
sit down to that, but I've
watch.
heard good things. Wait, there was one more thing. Oh, we have 2 things to discuss.
Two things.
2 things.
Oh, we have a Death Den thing first.
Oh, would you? Do we
Come-
have? Do we?
Countless
Do,
Wonder?
really? Do we really have
I
one?
mean, Titless,
Yes, we really do. Pat
'Cause she was-
Conroy. Pat Conroy,
fair.
beloved author, Southern craziness. Death Den!
I don't think I've ever been here for an actual death den.
We haven't
No,
really
we
done
haven't.
one.
I
Maybe
don't-
not.
Goodness,
The
what
right
kind
on
of
wipe
ice
off
the
board
board?
is
The
tucked away.
whiteboard's just gone.
It's in. It died.
Oh, okay.
No, it's in there.
But I have to say,
We
what
should
a-
have put that on the list.
an author that I really, really enjoyed, and he had at least 2 of his movies, possibly more, but I don't have my iPad to check the facts. Pat Conroy, who wrote The Great Santini, that was also called The Ace, in their attempts to get someone to watch it, or B, to get someone to nominate it for an Oscars, which they both did. If you've not seen it, it's Robert De Niro, Michael McKean, I think, Michael.
What am I looking up?
No, yeah, Michael Keaton. Michael
Michael
Keaton.
Keaton,
The
right.
Great Santini or
Yeah.
The Ace. It went by both names. And it's where I first fell in love with Gwyneth Paltrow's mother, Blythe Danner.
Oh, Blythe Danner is wonderful.
As
Yeah,
the
I like
wife,
her.
and what just a fantastic movie about a child of the military in the South.
Robert Duvall, Michael O'Keefe, Blythe
Michael
Danner,
Michael O'Keefe. Okay.
Julianne Haddock, Stan Shaw.
It's a great movie that it's how we've always talked about that cable channel in LA and how it started to, before screeners. There was, I think it was Channel 1 in LA, where they would show movies to get Oscar voters to see something that maybe they weren't going to see in the theater or had closed.
Okay.
And HBO was part of the push to get people to watch it, so they changed it to the Ace and showed it on HBO. So it went back and forth, but great movie. And then his other...
I feel like I remember the Ace Net. Was there like an Ace Network? I feel like there was...
that I don't know.
But for some reason, I feel like there was one at one point. Anyway, go ahead.
The other book that was made into a movie was The Prince of Tides, neither about princes nor tides.
Discuss.
But I have to say, the movie is fantastic. But if you get a chance, it's one of the best books I've ever read, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful book. A little like ode to the South, growing up. Maybe not in happy times, bad things happen.
Let me know when you're at a pause moment or when you're done with whatever you're saying.
Well, the scenery that was in The Prince of Tides that Streisand kind of put in there was just amazing.
Yeah, and
amazing. So if the book
filmed
is
in
any
Savannah, I think. Oh, yeah, and very evocative. It's a beautiful.
Right. If there's any kind of picture that you can get from what.
One of my favorite adaptations of a novel that I've ever read. It was just so well done. The way she just brought that to life, and it just beautiful. But so sadly, he died. He's dead.
Still dead.
He had a couple other books, but those are the two that were the most famous.
Finger on the Pulse.
But he died this week.
Finger on the pulse.
So there's your pause. What was that? What you want to say?
Oh, I had to share this with you. This some breaking entertainment news.
Breaking.
Well, it's not really breaking news. It's breaking entertainment. news.
Oh, CNN breaking.
Still news.
No, not quite that very dramatic.
Okay,
God,
okay.
People are getting very excited about things.
Well, you built it up.
But it's
We love breaking
but
news.
it's lesbian entertainment news. So I thought maybe we
what
might
happened
have
to Jodie
some.
Yeah, what
Foster
happened at the
now?
cash?
Mary Stewart.
What happened at the
Just now at the cash.
Wow.
A quarter tip just made it across the table.
27 cents.
Just
Thank you
don't
very
mention
much.
my name in there. They'll spit in your drink. They will.
No, in breaking news, breaking entertainment news. Okay, load the picture.
I meant that with love. I would have said that with the.
No,
you know, in
if I
general.
had still worked there and
There
left
we
it?
go.
Totally.
Jillian Michaels, who was one of the trainers from
Yes.
Biggest
Who
Loser,
claimed not
The
to be
Biggest
a
Loser,
lesbian
yeah.
and has the biggest nipples.
She's the
in
biggest
that.
mo I've
Yeah.
ever met.
officially just got engaged to that other girl, apparently. So,
There you have it.
To this person.
so whoever that is, they're officially
have it.
engaged.
That's some informative
Claims-
breaking
I
news.
it just came.
Claimed not
it
to
just
be gay
popped up in
forever
my.
until today when she suddenly is engaged
Just
to a
popped
female.
up in my phone. I don't know why.
Now, who is the
Her
chick
nipple
on the
That's
right?
popped
Heidi
up in that
Rose.
picture,
lesbian?
that's for sure.
Lesbian 2
Lesbian-
is in the black dress.
Her name is Heidi Rhodes.
Oh,
But who's
Where
the
is
lesbian on the right?
Jillian Michaels, who's one of the
Biggest Loser.
trainers from the Biggest Loser
Oh,
TV
And
series.
what I mean by that is the TV
Okay.
and
series.
also on infomercials late at night, schlepping some device
Yeah.
that she got Nordic
Where
track something.
she can like be in all kinds of.
but it must have been
countries.
cold
It's
where
kind
she
of like
was,
this.
or that's just a very poorly fitted dress. I'm not sure which one.
Well,
Yeah, are there
yeah,
darts?
that could be the darts, but
I don't know.
They're definitely in the right place.
Oh, I think I've seen her before.
Doesn't matter. This
so
isn't about you.
I think she'd scare the piss out of you if you saw her in a dark alley.
Again, I used to watch American Idol, and I watch Project Fucking Runway,
Heidi-
and that's it for my reality TV.
Heidi Rhodes.
Which sounds like
the
a
one on
drag
the left.
name.
Yeah.
really does.
I'll put it back.
Here's what we know about her. She's from Pennsylvania.
Black dress
God
girl.
bless
Here
her.
we go.
She's a stump jumper.
Yep. Formerly a music manager.
Oh.
Based on her Twitter account.
Okay.
Anyone?
A yoga instructor.
Oh, so she's good positioning.
Has a son.
Oh. This is
Loves-
like your story.
Loves to cook.
It's again, your story.
Oh, they're sitting in front of a PETA sign. Ugh.
She just likes to cook animals.
Loves television.
She loves to cook vegetables.
Broccoli. I chop up broccoli.
That's all we
broccoli.
know. That's all we know. And apparently she likes women yelling at her
Oh.
repeatedly because
Yeah.
she's engaged to Jillian Michaels. Have you
Got
ever?
it.
She's a lot.
All I know is there was a big old fat girl that used to host.
Is she a great big fat person?
No, there was
I love when everything comes back to
Silence
Silence
of
of
the
the
Lambs.
Lambs.
With me, everything
So
is
good.
just Silence of the Lambs running
So
in my head.
It's
good.
lotion in the.
So there was a lovely, very talented woman who worked at the Duplex
Full figured.
in New York, and she would host the show. And I went back a couple of the open mic nights, and then the suddenly Sondheim
And
upstairs.
then they banned him from coming back.
No, they did
After
not.
open mic night.
So I had never heard of this weight loss show, but then I went back, and this woman's talking to me, and I'm like, okay, I don't know you, and she's talking, and Matt's like, it's her. She's
You know her.
She's just lost a lot of
She's
weight.
half,
I'm like,
half the
right?
woman she
We're
was.
talking like a quarter of the woman she
Yeah.
used to
Oh.
be. Like, and I was like, oh. And I guess she does other things with it now. Like, she's not just trapped in the duplex in some gay hell, but she's also going around because some season she was like number 2 or 3 on whatever the I Used to Be a Fat Person show is called.
Yeah.
But she was some big deal. So that's the only reason I know
So
that
she
show.
had tits, now she's
Well,
titless.
she,
Well, and-
she
and
was a big deal. Now
similar-
she's a smaller
similarly,
deal.
the
No,
only
but she
reason-
still goes around and does stuff with it.
Big deal, smaller deal.
Oh, gotcha.
Play on words.
Similarly, the only reason that I know anything about The Biggest Loser is I have I think we have a mutual. We've all known
do,
her, yeah?
yep, we know
Yeah,
her.
the mutual, like, long time ago acquaintance who was on the show.
And one.
And who is
And
that?
one.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Who's that?
Yeah.
Allie Vincent.
Yeah, why not?
Allie
Allie
Vincent.
Vincent.
That's right, Allie Vincent.
One time cocktail waitress at the Cash and Country. Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
so she was poor.
Yeah, she was once upon a time she was poor and fat.
She may be again. I'm not sure exactly what the
So I
writers
was
in her
short
contract.
and fat.
Thank
So
you.
now-
I like the reference to Overboard. I was short
Tell me
and
something
fat.
about myself that's not horrible. All right, so
Do you know anything about this happened, Leonard?
What?
nope, I got nothing.
Stripping, schlepping, sweps.
Nero had asked if there was anything, if we had talked last week about Hap and Leonard, and so I'm just looking it up, and I've never heard of it.
Yeah, I don't know what that's
Um,
about. So the
got
two
nothing.
things we're going to talk about
I'll
first.
look it up.
Two things.
First is the Titless Wonder.
All right.
Obama is not going to the Titless Wonder's funeral because he's going to, and I thought it was going to be something legit, but he's going to the South by Southwest Festival, which is pretty much just a pot smoking event.
Pot
with, like,
smoking
Oh my God,
happiness.
that's fantastic.
And isn't it close to where the funeral's going to be?
But
No,
is
it's in
Michelle
Texas.
going? Michelle's going.
Michelle's going.
Oh.
As a first lady representative?
Oh,
Right.
okay.
Sure.
As one first lady.
Oh, I'm
to
sure they're
another.
all going to scream about how disrespectful this is.
Oh no, it already started.
Oh, did
and
it?
So, and I said, well, like, and they said it about Scalia. Oh,
you.
and those are the two of the best books you'll ever read. I've read them. I've read the first one about 3 times, the second one about 5 times.
IMDb has an update, just so you know.
Yeah,
on
they're
the App
they're
Store.
ready. They're
On
ready.
the App Store.
I deleted the app a long time ago.
Oh, fuck turd.
Oh no, because it's awful.
I just
Yeah,
want
the
to. I'm
Red
trying to
Dragon
help
is
you.
very
Oh, I know.
good.
No.
I'm only trying to help you.
I probably have it on here, but I
Culture
hate
Club
it.
song. Anyway, continue on.
So, South by Southwest.
Yes.
Google it if you don't know what South by Southwest.
It's a big music festival.
It's not Coachella, but
and
it's
some movies too, right? Don't they do something with movies as well, or is it all music?
No, I think you might be right.
that camera's driving me crazy.
I don't go places.
I
So,
don't go places.
is it wrong to miss? Kind of, at best, it's a techie festival. Like at its the most you could say is he's encouraging like new technology.
No, I think that part's great.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, is this worth not going to a former first lady's funeral?
Yeah.
Would you go to Nancy Reagan's funeral?
I'm not the president.
I'm just asking.
No.
Okay, then it doesn't matter. He's just a person.
But that's what I'm saying. But
He's
do
like
they,
us.
Do they not have a point? Now, Scalia's family did not want him there. They didn't want this. They didn't want the Secret Service there. They didn't want it to turn into that. And when he showed up because he and I looked this up. It's called lying in state or lie in state. Like how to make that past tense is kind of tricky because you lied in state. You didn't lay in state. Isn't that weird? But anyways,
So you lied in state?
yeah, something you actually.
That almost sounds like something you actually would be convicted for
Right,
on the
yeah.
Supreme Court.
So as he lied in state,
Okay.
the family did not acknowledge the Obamas. Like they sent one child of the 9 and the
The
wife.
past tense is actually lay in state.
Oh, is it lay in
Yeah,
state?
It's lay in state.
While
lay
he lay in state. Okay, got it. All right.
Um,
So one child what?
thank you.
Fingers of fire.
Ooh, good for
No,
you.
I mean that took a long time to
Yeah.
type that out today. I was conjugating that verb a million different ways. So, as he lay in state, and the Obamas came to the casket to pay their respects, 8 of the children and the wife slunk off into the distance. Like they did not acknowledge
Because they didn't want to be.
So people were saying that the Obamas were so disrespectful for not going to the funeral, but at the same time, the family was disrespectful in not like accepting their
condolences.
condolences. So I was saying, like, does Nancy Reagan's family want
Well, we
the
know
president
we know
there?
Ron Jr. doesn't give a shit.
Atheist, and then I found out that Maureen Reagan.
That sounds right.
I don't think it's Patty, but I think Maureen Reagan's like a big old liberal fucking Democrat.
Yeah, but and that's the one who's not Nancy's.
That's
Is that
Jane.
right?
It would be Jane Wyman's
Jane
daughter.
Right, Patty is Nancy's. Patty
Right.
and Ron Jr. are Nancy's,
'Cause
and
they
then
look just
Maureen
like
and Michael are Jane Wyman.
Jane Wyman.
Right.
Who's not a cunt, by the way. She was a lovely woman.
Mm-hmm. Still dead.
Had the good sense to get away from that fucker.
Couldn't keep a man apparently though.
Looks like there's going to be plenty of
who
people
said
there.
Ronnie was a
Oh,
man?
I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of people there.
Hillary's going. Michelle
Oh, there would
Obama's
be a
going.
shitload of people there, I'm sure.
But is Bill Clinton going?
W and Laura are going. It doesn't look like
Well,
Bill's
W
going.
and Laura have to go because
They're
HW was
Republicans.
the vice. No, but HW
Yeah,
was the
HW
vice president.
Got it.
They were rivals that became
HW
close.
in a place to be able to go?
I don't know, but he
Physically?
right. But I think Barbara will probably.
I'm sure
go.
Barbara will.
Rosalind Carter is supposed to
Oh,
go.
wow.
That makes sense to me.
but not Ginny.
Yeah, because again, first
Yeah.
lady. It's a first lady
Yeah.
thing.
So that's why I said, is it?
LBJ's
he's
daughters
building
are
houses
going.
and doing quality workmanship.
Trisha Nixon.
Oh Jesus. Okay.
Well, Pat's
Sure,
dead.
sure.
So
Well, of course you got.
going in.
and think of that.
And that's about it.
Trisha
Are they gonna
Nixon-
let Hinckley out for this one?
Now Trisha Nixon married David Eisenhower, I think, if that's the right Nixon daughter. Could you imagine being those kids? Like both your
She's
grandparents.
Trisha Nixon Cox now, so I don't know.
Well, she married a cop.
Oh, because one of the Nixon daughters married Eisenhower's
Can we call her about
daughter.
our cable?
Son.
Just a question.
Isn't that crazy?
Not a
That
bad
is crazy.
question.
But, I mean, proximity.
So everybody's kind of sending first lady. So I guess Obama not going. But I just think, like, is it douchey to not go?
I don't think so.
Because and then I found pictures of something got signed that Nancy showed up for. So Obama does know her and has escorted her to various things. So they are familiar.
I don't think that the first ladies. I think it's important that
Right.
That important. I don't know. I don't know. Important.
I
but
think that's good.
it
First
makes
ladies.
sense.
That's the
Yeah.
So it seems like
Sure.
everybody's sending like an
Right.
emissary or an
Right.
ambassador for
Well,
the
because
family,
Send
like
the
a
girls.
spokesperson.
Like it's a lot of women. It's a lot
It's all
of send the
girl
girls,
power.
right.
Yeah, keep the sausages at bay.
It was incidentally it was Julie Nixon who married the Eisenhower.
Okay.
Julie.
But it wouldn't. It doesn't make sense. Everybody else has to drop something unless it were still that. I don't even think. Maybe if Reagan was still alive, he wouldn't know people. Stop it. Stop
Hey,
it.
it's true,
Stop
it's
it.
true,
Stop
it's
it.
true.
That was Marnie Ryer at 9:27 in the PM.
But again, you're right because then you
Mountain Standard Time.
you rally the former president's
Right.
club
Absolutely.
around Reagan. It
Yep.
becomes about that.
I could
around
see
Ronald
that,
if he
but-
was still alive, but he's dead.
It's still dead.
Yeah.
And I don't think that it's showing any kind of disrespect
No.
by any means. To
Go
not
to
be there.
South by Southwest, like music and arts.
Go
and,
to
and film.
Coachella.
And it's a film and
Who cares?
music.
And he's giving some kind of a tech address, is what I
Oh,
read.
good.
All right, so we're all kind of out like.
Go talk to the people. She's still dead.
Right. She's not going to
Nancy
know.
doesn't care if he's there or
No.
not.
No.
And just generally unpleasant. And then to segue into the attempt, there was the Supreme Court has now, we're in this 4-4 situation in the Texas abortion laws, and that shit's gonna come down, and there's a chance that they could lose, and it's almost gonna become like appoint somebody because you're gonna send things down.
Right, and it's going to become an interesting consequence of not having anyone appointed because then you're going to be in this whole tie situation. And if I understand right, in an absolute tie,
It goes to the
The
lower
lower
whatever
court
the last
decision.
decision
Right,
was
right.
stands, right?
But it only applies to the state or the district that the ruling came from.
Sure, because there would be
Oh.
no precedent to be
Because there's
set.
no precedent for the nation. So, yes, one of the Nixon daughters did marry one of the Eisenhower daughters. So that's
Julie.
so that's not really
There's
a
a
what
delay.
if
We'll
it
get
actually
there.
happened.
Julie Nixon Eisenhower is now her name.
So, in this thing with the Supreme Court ruling, because it fell back, or no, they actually ruled.
No, they actually ruled. On Monday, the Supreme Court summarily reversed an Alabama Supreme Court decision that had refused to recognize a same-sex parent adoption from another state. Blah, 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 legalese. So what... essentially what happened was
What happened?
What happened
What
was
happened?
the lesbians were together in Alabama, went to Georgia to adopt a child, came back to Alabama, then split up, and then
Fought for custody.
Right. And so the Supreme Court's decision is based on, and I don't see it, it's based on whatever that statute is that says that Georgia has to honor the legal contracts of Florida has to honor, so when
Yeah.
you're married in Georgia, you're married in Texas, you're
Right.
married in everywhere else. And so that's where that came from, but that is going to set a precedent with, we've got absolutely gay marriage is a thing. We're over that. That's totally done. But there are still all of these laws out there in the world that exclude same-sex couples from adopting and
Job discrimination.
right, job
and
discrimination, housing, all of these
Right,
laws.
right.
So this is a really good thing. And I'm trying to find what the vote was, and I don't see it because I absolutely had this too. But fantastic news is what it is.
It's one of those things, like, it's a sad story of a couple that got together, got the kids involved, divorced, had this custody battle, but it's a really good thing because the Georgia, where they went, and if gay marriage hadn't been decided last year, this would have finished the deal because the marriage contract that was made in New York, you couldn't be married, pick up a job in Georgia where marriage wasn't legal and be considered unmarried. This would have been the further cementing of gay marriage. This would have been the death knell. If it hadn't been solved the other way, this is the law that would have solved it because your contract is binding in one state, it's binding in every state. Or the laws that are passed. Like you can't say that, no, we don't believe in that law. Nope, that's the Supreme Court of Georgia. They've said this law is valid. So this was a big deal, but it was really, really tricky wording. It was kind of like a proposition that you're not sure who to vote for. When the ruling came down, I had to rewatch it like 3 times.
And it was unanimous, and the opinion was unsigned. So they're not saying who wrote the opinion.
Right.
And it was a unanimous vote. The court said that the Constitution provides that the full faith and credit shall be given in each state to the public acts, records, and judicial proceedings of every other state.
Yeah. Like this was an 8 to
Right.
zip.
So if you
Wow.
change your name in Tennessee, your name can still be legally changed in
In
Utah.
every-
Like
Wow.
that's
If you're legal
that's
to
what
drive
that-
in one state, you can drive in every state.
Regina Banana Hammock is gonna hold up.
Well, Mr. Cheeseburger, we learned from last week.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
So unanimous
fuck?
and unsigned.
The
And the,
fuck?
and the
The
part
fuck?
of this, I
Yeah.
knew there was something weird in here. The part of this that I found interesting was the unsigned opinion. Like they didn't.
That
Because
means
usually somebody
that
writes
means one of the strict constitutionalists, like Alito, wrote the opinion, just holding his nose about the fact that it was
That
a
it was
gay
about
adoption
gays.
case,
Oh.
but knew that they had no precedent to stand on. And the unsigned thing was what made it so weird. The 8-0 unsigned, and when it came down like last Wednesday or Thursday, I can't remember which day.
It was recent.
Yeah, it was
Oh.
recent. But when it came down, like, even the guy reporting the story, you could hear in his voice, he was like, I don't know how to, like, do I smile through this? Do I
Like,
cry
am I
through
happy
this?
about
Like,
it?
I don't know what to do. And so I got no clues from the anchors either. I'm like, what does that mean? I think it was Wednesday after Super Tuesday, and they just snuck it in as this story, but no one was there to cover it.
No, it just kind of snuck out there, and then the news picked it up. I got it off of CNN, and they picked it up, but it just kind of snuck out there, and all of a sudden, whoop! Oh, here it is. We're validating gay adoption cases. We're validating gay child custody cases. Like that's where this precedent is going.
Meanwhile, eroding everything this country was ever built on at the
Right.
same time.
So
Right.
that's
I'm
where I
I'm
get
totally being
confused.
Christians are
sarcastic.
being persecuted
If you-
left
if you're
and
not
right.
realizing
Hobby
I'm being
Lobby is
sarcastic.
just beside
Yeah,
themselves.
Hobby Lobby doesn't know what to
Hobby
do.
Lobby, right.
But the
They
important
don't
thing
know.
is
Macrame.
that if you change with your jobs from a state where everything is secure, your custody of your children, your ability to make decisions about your children in another state
Will now
follow you.
Just like if you buy a puppy. I mean, for
Right.
Christ's sakes, you buy a puppy in Arizona and you move to New Mexico, it's still your puppy.
Yep.
You can
Yes.
still make decisions about the health care of your puppy.
Yes.
I'm just trying to drill it down.
Absolutely.
I'm just trying to make it simple.
Making it
If you
little
buy
bit
a
different.
car in Philadelphia and you drive it to Utah,
Sure.
still your car.
But
Still
you
your
just
car.
have to worry about who brought this to the Supreme Court and thought, winning this will be a good thing.
Some fucktard and
No, but you really have to think
Texas.
about contracts that don't, like, if they had struck down contracts, like, in the interstate relationship, like, what kind of havoc fucking
And the lawyers are like, damn
developing nation, I'm trying to, like,
Yeah.
make that politically
No,
correct.
it's that, and this is a really good segue.
No
it's that
third
what
world
kind of
countries
precedent is
here.
this setting, and what kind of Pandora's
learning
box
an
are we
ant.
opening?
Right.
We-
Just to piss off two lesbians.
Just like, we'll go ahead to
not
another
just two.
developing story, the Apple FBI
Yeah.
continuing story, which has now I know we talked about last week that the San Bernardino case is not the only time that the government has asked Apple to
Right.
open a phone.
Right.
Right.
Okay,
This is just the big, I think
Right,
the biggest
that's the
case.
big news one, but there are 20
Right.
some other cases where the government has asked, and Apple is staunchly saying, absolutely not, we're not going to do it. Okay, and with good reason. With good reason.
Totally,
Like
yeah.
once they open your iPhones, then they're opening your email,
Every
then they're
single
opening your
thing,
bank account,
right.
then
Sure.
then they're opening
No
your house.
reason because
right.
and they have they don't need justification
right.
because they have access.
Because they're
It's just
using
that.
an ancient statute from 1770,
Right.
God only knows what, the All
Right,
Writs
right,
Act,
right.
to try and get into it. They're not using any kind of subpoenas. They're not using any kind of legal anything.
Right.
They're really just saying, hey, we're the FBI and we'd like you to do this, and we think that you should do it because you're an American.
Right.
I have two
All right.
technical things about this
Please,
story,
yes.
but continue on. Go ahead with what you're doing, and I'll follow up with you.
Okay. Well, I was just gonna carry on with another side of this story, in that a federal judge in Brooklyn this Monday denied a Department of Justice request for a court order that would force Apple to bypass the security passcode on an iPhone of a criminal defendant in a drug case in New York.
Okay.
Okay. In a ruling expected to influence the outcome of Apple's fight with the U.S. government over San Bernardino's killer, the San Bernardino killer, Judge James Ornstein ruled government lawyers failed to establish that the federal All Writs Act the government is relying on to seek the order applies in the case. He says the question is not whether the government should be able to force Apple to help it unlock a specific device. It is instead whether the All Writs Act resolves the issue and many others like it to come. So we've got, starting at the very beginning of this, that is going to go to the Supreme Court. Like, you can only see this going to the Supreme Court. One federal judge in New York says, you know what? No. Government, you
no.
don't. Yeah. Knock, knock. Who's there? No. You don't have the authority. This act, the All Writs Act, which I haven't bothered to go and read just yet, does not cover this case. It does not give you the rights to that.
Sure.
So, developing story, developing news, like it's important.
I just
and
think
pay
you open
attention
that
to
one
it.
door. It's
It's Pandora's box.
box.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Open my iPhone, then
It's
open
a
my
fucking
email,
clown
then,
car.
Right.
then open my
Yep.
wallet, then
Yep.
absolutely.
Yep.
Obviously, the world I work in, and by all means, anybody in the chat room, feel free to chime in. I'm not saying this is gospel, but this is what I'm told. Somebody who's very close to me in the techie world has said that, and if you don't realize this, in your iPhone there is a hard drive, just like in your computer. There is
Yeah.
a hard drive that runs all the time.
Yeah. Solid state.
What his suggestion is that they disassemble the phone and they make an exact copy, if not multiple copies, of said hard drive.
Sure. Image the drive.
Image the drive multiple times. Take it, try to break in, do whatever you've got to do. And then once they figure it out, then they come back to the original phone, they've got it. So Apple doesn't necessarily have to break into the phone. They have ways of copying the drive and figuring out. But one of the things is that as I understand it, I'm not that techie with regards to this, but I'm told that the iPhone has been created so that it will only take input from that surface. You can't hook up that drive to another computer or whatever and do input. It won't take that input. You can simply mirror image it, and you have to put it into another iPhone and use a screen to try to get in and so forth. But that would leave the original hard drive intact. Like, it might lock you out of replicates 1 through 1,000,000, but it won't lock you out of the original. So it won't dissolve, it won't destroy it, it won't erase it. You can do it on multiple copies of it, but the original, once you figure out what the secret soup is,
Right.
or the secret sauce, going back to your sauce,
Secrets in the sauce.
Secrets in the sauce.
then you can go back to the original. Now, if that is not the way that it really works, I don't know, but that's what I was told. That he's like, you can make a copy of the hard drive. You can replicate it, try it all you want, do what you want to do to it, leave the original intact, come back later when you figure out what it is, and you're in.
Well,
Because I've heard that
things.
the only thing that they need before your two things is that they can't open the 4-digit passcode, which makes me really confident about my 4-digit
No,
passcode.
which now has gone to 6 with an update. If you have a passcode and you take it away and you put it back, it's now a 6-digit. It's no longer 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they've upped it.
don't know.
Because I just reset mine the other day, and I'm like, oh, fuck. And I have to have 2 digits. Because I'd been set on my 4 digits forever, and then something caused me to have to make me think that I need to re-up my security. And then I put it back.
Well, that would be this story.
Was it this story?
It was not this story, but...
Well, 2 things. Number 1, I think your friend should probably call the FBI and tell them that.
Oh, I don't think it's going to matter to them. But I agree with what you're saying.
Well, no, because their ultimate goal, allegedly, is to get into this phone. So if they can do it without making Apple do it, all the
Well,
better.
there was a YouTube video about how to get into the phone, and oddly...
I feel like that's bullshit. Did you try it?
I tried it, and the funny thing is, because I think the version they're using is an older version,
maybe.
and if you've updated your phone, it doesn't have that option to do the messaging or whatever they
Right.
were going to do.
Yeah,
Because
I saw the thing.
I completely tried. Actually, that is what made me put a security code on it.
Oh, that's funny.
Because I didn't have one. I'm like, well, I have to put a code on
put a code,
to
right.
try the video, and I totally did it. I absolutely did that, and it doesn't. I can't because you can't get past that step anymore.
I feel like it's not going to work because I feel like the FBI would have at least done a basic Google search before, dragging Apple Corporation to court.
Apparently, Joe is agreeing with me in the chat room that I'm correct in what I'm saying.
Well, thing number 2 is that it's my understanding that the more times you try and fail to get into the iPhone, it's going to just erase entirely and be gone forever.
Right, it will. That's why you make a
Right.
copy of the drive, and then you
and
can
then
erase
put
the
it back in.
You erase the drives down the line, but you don't erase the original.
I see.
Oh, and Nero says.
so then you
Nero
do like
says she
the-
has an iris scanner on.
Oh,
her
I don't
phone.
have that on my
That's
phone.
crazy.
That's exciting.
That is.
I want one of those.
It's like in all those movies, and then they cut out your eye.
Yeah.
And they're
that
like,
leads to no good.
yes, watch your eyes.
I'd just
Nero.
cut off my
Watch
Then
your
there's like the
eyes.
Just don't make it the twat tapper.
They always rip the whole thing
And
out,
Maggie
optic nerve
Thatcher.
and all, too, though. That optic nerve must be a lot.
Apparently, yeah.
And then the other thing that I understand from kind of like loosely following this story is that Apple says that they would have to like completely rewrite their encryption in their software because there is no back way in right now. And that's the thing that they're really resisting the most is creating that
Yes,
back door.
I've heard that over the backdoor thing has been
Yeah.
over and over, and not just in my life, but in Apple.
Those peg pants, taper leg. I'm sorry,
Tapered.
And that-
Zippers in the back.
Because anybody that's ever had a rat problem knows that if you leave a crack open, like
Yeah.
something else
Again.
is going to get in, right?
We just go back to.
But I do have to admit that's
Just run another.
if that's Apple's story, they're hitting it like a Republican talking point. Like they
Right,
just
over
keep
and
saying
over and
like
over again.
we did not design this way. We will not put it in because it changes the
Well,
operation.
who's the head Apple guy? Isn't that Cook?
Yeah,
Tim
Tim Cook.
Right, he's the one that's saying.
Tim, I'm good.
exactly
However,
that.
now I agree that they have all of their proprietary.
He doesn't go by his full name anymore.
Not anymore.
They have all the proprietary software they created. I get that. Now that doesn't say, and I'm sure there are all over the fucking world. There are people that are sitting in little rooms all alone, have never had a date, and never went to their prom, who are sitting there
I don't
trying
think
to.
those
Some of them
two
may
things-
be our listeners.
Yeah.
They might be
I
twat
don't- By
tappers.
the way, I also don't.
And if
think
they're
that
working
that's a
on
big
making the
deal.
back door into their phone,
Yeah.
they will be very wealthy people
Sure.
because they can sell on the black market. And I'm sure that is being worked on somewhere, somehow.
They also may have had a date.
Yes,
and may
that's-
have gone to their prom.
That's always been a big thing.
I'm just talking about me. I can't design it.
Yeah.
I didn't go to my
I
prom.
thought this was more personal.
And
but,
that's-
Yeah.
and
This
that's
time it's
always-
personal.
That seems awfully
And the-
specific.
I can
Zumba.
guarantee there are
The squirrels
people
are
out
in the
there.
attic.
There are people out there working
It's very
on
loud.
this and more and more. When the iPhone first came out, it was the biggest thing in the world to be able to jailbreak your phone. So that
Oh,
it
I do
wasn't-
remember that.
So that it wasn't tied to your network carrier, so that you
Right.
could take your AT&T phone
Oh,
over
yeah.
to T-Mobile. Like
Right.
jailbreaking your phone was a big thing.
But then only certain apps wouldn't work. Certain
we have
things
to
wouldn't.
give,
Right.
we have to give Aaron credit for calling the iris scan an eye lock.
Yeah. It's good.
I'm going to give him the win for this week.
Very
on that
good.
one.
Very good, Aaron.
Very nice.
We all ring our cleaned up, polished bells
I
for
like
you.
it.
So anyway,
Very nice. By the
Thank you
way.
very
be
much.
afraid, be very afraid. Hope that this goes the right direction. Because if it
hopefully.
doesn't, we're all in a lot more trouble than...
one of the, and I know everybody thinks I just clung to my Wilma Flintstone longer, but there was There was no fucking way I was gonna have a big fancy phone and be on AT&T goddamn wireless.
Yeah.
I would rather be on the Nancy Reagan's twat line
Well, and that-
than ever deal with
Wanna drink
AT&T
on that?
I'm not sure if
wireless.
that's I don't know.
That
what
was the
is, but,
shittiest
you know,
cell phone
yeah.
service available.
I have AT&T and I have wonderful service.
And that's regional.
but maybe that's
different.
20 years
Right,
later.
Yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely,
right.
It's
Yeah.
different now.
That's a lot of times that's regional because when we first moved here, it's been 13 years now. When we first moved here, we came from AT&T land. Like AT&T was the network to have. It was the best coverage. It was everything. And then we moved here. It's more Verizon land here. So it's very.
And New
it's
York
very,
is Verizon land too, because every time I'm in New York, you just watch the AT&T people crying in their coffee and not able to
Right.
get service while I'm texting on a subway.
Yeah, and it's I don't understand it 100%. It's all about like who put up the infrastructure and
Yeah.
who's got the towers and who's buying the service time. That's very, very complicated. But that's all regional. Like AT&T's great
I
some
think that's
places.
progressing every single day. Like everybody
Every
and
day.
their brother is putting up another.
Well, I
out
remember
here.
the AT&T stores had that map up in like 2004, 2005 of like, here's all the places we'll be in 5 years. I'm like, well, I got a phone right now. When you going to be in North Phoenix?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that was bullshit.
Yeah, and those maps are getting more and more.
And that
and
was
more
honestly
saturated
one of
they
the
are.
big
time.
factors. Until Verizon was allowed in on the iPhone thing, I'm me and Wilma are
Yeah.
going to be just fine. Because I'm getting service while people with iPhones are like,
Right.
Although that iPhone craze did get me out of a really horrible contract with a BlackBerry Storm one time because I was banging it on the counter and telling them I was going to walk across the street to AT&T and they were like, okay, what do you want? What do you want?
A BlackBerry
They
store.
store.
I had a
I
BlackBerry.
don't know what it
Of
is,
course
but
I
it
did.
sounds exciting.
It was- But
that's not as
Did
fun-
it vibrate?
Well, it was the horrible
it-
touchscreen BlackBerry that eventually just died on me, and they were like, "Oh, we can't do anything." So I'm banging the fucking thing on the counter, like seriously losing my
This
mind.
lesbian's losing her mind. I got a 417 at the
Listen.
front counter.
I got lesbian off,
Seriously,
and not in the twat tapper
If
way.
Twat
if my
tapper.
phone, my laptop, or my flannel shirts go out, I lose my shit.
What used to kill me is watching somebody back in the day, and
Well, I know your boundaries now.
they were
I don't know.
called the sidekick, and they'd whip out that phone and
Oh my God, I
flip
love
it
the
around and
fucking
had the
Sidekick.
screen that flipped up, and they would do it sideways. It had the keyboard hidden, but they would flip it, and the screen would flip up to
T-Mobile
the
had the
side.
Sidekick. I had
It literally
an
was
LG
like this. They'd
version of it.
flip up an entire screen. Don't you remember that?
Yep.
Cracked me up to watch people
I
use that
loved that.
motherfucker.
I
and it was
never-
this thing.
I was the fastest fucking typer on that thing. I
I
didn't have a
honestly
Sidekick, but I
never
had a
paid
similar
that much
one.
attention to people's phones.
I'm going to find a picture of it. You keep
Mine
talking.
slid. Mine didn't flip. Mine slid.
Oh, there was a slider, but I'm talking about the one that flipped, that rotated.
Slider sounds vague.
All right.
Maybe I can find a video. That'd be exciting.
Wouldn't that be something?
Oh, God. Continue on.
Well, here's something fun. Did you know that Yoda is running for president?
No.
Running for president.
Don't
I
do
did not know.
Don't do it.
No, I was
No.
trying. I couldn't think fast enough.
Yeah.
That's normal.
Oh, there it is.
So
I
is
don't wanna
Darth
talk about
Vader, Anakin Skywalker separately, of course, Kylo Ren, and Bye Felicia.
Bye, Felicia.
No. If we're lucky, maybe Jesus Christ
For
and the
President Ren,
Antichrist
you do it?
will face off. Katniss Everdeen could save us all. Tyrion Lannister could get us all out of our budget crunch. Or Abraham Lincoln could make a comeback that we're waiting for.
Oh, if only he could sit
Hell
upright in
yeah,
a casket.
Right?
That's right.
Well, he's turning over, rolling over in it. That's for sure.
Turns out, if you're looking for a good time, go take a look at the Federal Election Commission website and see who has filed statements of candidacy.
Candidacy?
I know I said it right.
You did.
It
Candidacy.
didn't sound right.
That's right.
What I miss?
Because it turns out, and I think we touched on this a little bit last
Candida.
week,
This one.
1,661 people have filed with the FEC, the Federal Election Commission, declaring their candidacy for presidency.
Oh.
The most fun on the list have been compiled here.
Sure.
You're welcome. They include,
You're welcome.
Thank you ahead of time.
They include, but are not limited to, the Antichrist.
Oh.
So, but Cruz is already on there.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So,
Lil Based God.
Tammy Faye's dead.
Elsa
Never.
is Bay.
oh,
Osama bin Lifton.
okay.
He's very in shape now.
He
Yes,
is.
apparently.
He's pumped up.
Underage candidate. Eric Cartman. Buddy the Cat. Seymour Cats. Foot Cheese. Frosted
Yeah,
Chicken.
kitty,
Jesus Christ.
Jeez.
That's my chunk taking that.
America Cookies. Lagoon the Dolphin Costello. Excuse me.
The dolphin.
Nostalgic Critic. Captain
Flappy.
Crunch.
Frappy, the dolphin.
Southern Dad, Cam Sir Daddy, Disco Daddy, Jeffrey Dahmer.
Now, Disco Daddy, I might vote for.
You're gonna vote for Disco Daddy?
Disco Daddy could
Disco
be.
Daddy for president.
He might be from 70, and he might have been to Studio 54.
Katniss
Hi,
Everdeen,
Dale.
Bye Felicia, Yoda for Prez,
Dale Spice.
Kermit Frog,
Dale
Pepe
Spice.
Le Frog,
Hey, Dale.
God for president. So it turns out,
Kermit the Frog
and this
here.
list is just long. Like I'm still scrolling.
They see it.
But it turns out, just about anybody can file their candidacy for president.
Sure.
I thought about it, but I just
Did
said no.
you?
But now, okay.
Under what name?
So
My name.
now
All
Dale from New York
I
City,
wanna be
we've heard
Ma-
from you before, but
President McKee.
No, you know Dale.
McCheese.
I don't know who Chip is.
Is that Dale
That's
Speece?
Uncle Chip.
Your Uncle Chip?
No.
Okay.
you're
Oh, I
right.
don't know if that's. I call him Uncle Chip. Dale is Uncle Chip, but I don't think that's.
Dale from New York City, you call him Uncle Chip?
I do.
Dale,
call him
I don't know
Uncle
who
Chip.
Dale's dating now, but Dale used to date an adorable young man. When it was at your mother's birthday party, I never could figure out how to stalk that one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So Chip is
Yeah.
Amina as a synonym. So did you hear all the stuff about Bloomberg calling off his
Yes.
I did.
run
Yeah.
and the money it would take for all these people? They can get on certain states, but they can't get on all
Absolutely.
50 states. And how much money and signatures it takes to get on the ballot?
Like $7.
No.
I'm kidding.
Like,
No. You,
Oh,
can,
yeah.
you can file with the FEC.
What's it cost? Like $150?
That does cost what it takes to get on each state's ballot. Stand by.
Oh, it's going to be ridiculous.
so it
for
was a
each
big
state.
thing. So, but he did his polling, and according to his press secretary, because he's a billionaire and had the money to spend.
Sure.
That he was going to get in as a third party candidate and announce sometime this month. Because in his mind, it would have been Trump, Sanders, and him.
Sure.
And that he would win, that in the Electoral College, with those two running,
Between Trump and
with all
Sanders.
the people that Trump has turned off, and Sanders and the fear of like the democratic socialism, that Bloomberg, with his name recognition and like where he could fall as a mostly Republican that supports a lot of democratic ideals, that he could win the Electoral College. But when it became what looks like it's going to be a Trump-Clinton thing, that him as the third, that no one of the three of them could have gotten to the 270, so it would have went to the Congress to decide,
And right.
and they would have picked
Obviously,
Trump.
they would have picked Trump.
Pick
right.
Trump.
Sure.
I don't know. If you get a chance, read about it.
Yeah.
They released a lot of data, but if you read about the polling that they've done, and they figure just by money alone spent and the time that they spent under the cloak of darkness, because no one really knew they were doing. I mean, there was
Sure.
rumors.
Because you have to explore first before you can even announce.
But
You
they
have to
went
see if
all
it's
50
feasible.
states. Like they did a Nate. What's that Nate guy's name? Nate
Silverman.
Silverman.
Right.
They did the Nate Silverman and found out like what the Electoral College looks like now, and like it was scary shit that they were reporting, and just how well a third party candidate. So if Trump goes to third party, he'll siphon off mostly Republican, but a lot of Democratic
Yeah.
voters as well. But he'll siphon off. But the way that they figured the siphoning would go, like if you're still the right third party candidate against Sanders and Trump, like you could do really well.
Awesome.
And especially since it looks like, I mean, it's too close to call in Michigan still, but with just really crazy.
Yeah.
So
That's a lot. Yeah, I ran
a lot.
across
The fact that anyone's still fucking voting for him is
and
killing
I may
me
have to
But
save
I mean,
it for later.
take a look, because they released almost all the data now, the Bloomberg people.
Mm-hmm.
So they have accurate polling from all 50 states, because they figured out the
Okay.
entire electoral map because of how you get to 270. They needed to find out, like, where does Alaska fall?
Okay.
Because it came down to twos and threes of, you know what I mean, those states that seem inconsequential.
Right.
But when it comes down to getting to 270 and somebody got to 268, it was a big deal. So they had to do the polling in every single state, and it's fascinating.
Huh. I'll have to look. Is he familiar too?
Yeah, because it looks like you have to
I can't find a picture
to
from when
jump
he
in as an
lived here.
independent candidate. You know, without the primary structure that the Republicans and the Democrats have, you almost have to get petitioned and balloted in all 50 states like all at once.
Yeah, all at once.
You have to,
and
you have to, and you have to do what he's been doing. He's just bailing out of it. You have to do what he's been doing, which is send all that, like all your minions out and do your polling and start to get your signatures.
And you need like 200,000 signatures, but because depending on if it's a Democrat or Republican, and they're both bad. There's no one good in this situation. Who controls the election board in your state?
Right.
They'll throw out so many. So even though it says you only need 200,000, you need more like 700,000 to make up for all that they're going to throw out and claim are invalid signatures. It really is a and I hope one of the people that did it with him will write the book like into the glimpse of how locked we are in the system. And like,
all right. This article that I found from NBCnews.com is from 2007, and it's talking about, who's it talking about? I think it's just it's talking about Michael Bloomberg in 2007. Bottom line, what's it going to cost to run for president? How much would it cost to get on the ballot in all 50 states? And according to this, a candidate would need a total of 700,000 signatures nationwide. And it could be done for less than $2.5 million.
But you'd almost have to be self-funded because you don't know who your backers are. So, and the other thing about like, especially with how badly Rubio has done. Unless he won, Idaho just
really
closed.
Really badly. He didn't.
I don't know.
Hang on, let me go back to see it.
I don't know.
I haven't
who won
seen
Idaho.
that come across my phone yet.
Or maybe Idaho closes in 5 minutes. I'm not sure which. But you figure, in a year of like huge political stories, like they just don't seem to
Why
stop.
do they not have Idaho on here?
What do you?
Remember earlier? Sorry. Side note.
No, go.
Remember before the show, I told you that 20 dogs were rescued from a house fire that a kid had set. Remember I told you that? Okay,
yeah.
So the update is 30 dogs, a chinchilla, and a lizard have been rescued from a valley house fire. I just think it's funny that there's a chinchilla and a lizard.
Well, once you got 30 dogs.
30 dogs. There may have been a
Yeah,
hoarding issue going on there.
Idaho is
little bit.
reporting 41% in. They haven't called anything yet, but right now they're showing Cruz in the lead at 41% of the vote.
Oh, wow. So, with all this
Rubio
talk
in third with 18%.
Exactly. So with all this talk about Citizens United and getting money out of politics, not only did Mittens, as we're talking about in the chat room,
Mittens.
not only did Mittens not win with Acker Sheldon
I never thought I'd
in
be
Las
so excited
Vegas.
to see Mittens in my life.
Right.
When he came on
But
TV.
not only did what's his butts all that money in Las Vegas, and then all of Karl Rove's PAC money, didn't win the Senate in 2012, didn't win the presidential election, but now $100 million spent on Bush the Third. Jeb! I almost forgot his name. Who can't
Nancy
even make
Reagan's still a
$100
cunt.
million doesn't even get you to Super Tuesday, but now all that money from the super PACs all went to Rubio, and Rubio's not even
No, he's failing.
he's not even in the horse race.
He's won, I think, 2 states.
Yeah, he won Puerto Rico and
something like
Minnesota
that.
so far. They're
And
saying,
Puerto Rico's not a state, for those of you paying attention.
and they
Yes,
can't-
but they count.
but they don't get to vote in the, and one of their big bitches is that they don't get are not part of the electoral college. They get primaries, but they're not part of the electoral
doesn't
college.
matter.
Right. He won Minnesota.
Yes, it does. Because they're fighting
Right.
for
Electoral
statehood.
Yeah.
So they get to vote a primary, but they don't count. They don't have electoral college votes, which is we don't vote for our presidents directly. We vote for the
So
electoral college.
if Puerto Rico
Puerto
becomes a
Rico.
state,
And they need it
We're gonna
because
have to- we will have another
they're
studio.
they're hundreds of millions of dollars in debt. Puerto Rico's like
Live from Puerto Rico.
we need to make them a state and save them because
Oh,
they're
we should. I
They're,
agree.
They're like a third world
I
country.
agree. We should save them.
But it really is.
One 18-year-old
As
at a
you're
time.
getting more interested in politics, like all of these things that are happening are so huge, but they're so big that we need like hindsight almost to find out like what does Scalia dying in this year like mean. And as we come up with the abortion rates, like there are so many things going down this year. And while Citizens United has not been overturned, it's failing at every single election. The only reason the Republicans won in 2014 was because of low voter turnout from Democrats. Like, but if $100 million can't get you to Super Tuesday, there's something truly like not right going on. It's crazy to think about.
There's something terrifying going on, is what it is. And I've seen all the memes that say, and we'll end the attempt and all this stuff. So when we get tired of it, we'll just bail out of it. All the memes that say that Trump isn't the problem, he's the symptom. I think are 100% correct.
Oh, 100%.
100%.
Oh, 100.
You've been doing thinly veiled racist
Dick jokes. It's dick jokes at this point.
Yeah, right. And now we're down to just measuring penises.
Right.
That's when I checked out. Like I no longer participate when we're talking about the grossest human's dick.
Right.
And calling him Little Marcos and all that stuff. It's so gross. And Puerto Rico is a territory. It's not a colony. We don't colony. Oh, there we go. Harrison already answered it.
Yeah, we were colonies. We don't colonize.
We're not an empire.
You're welcome.
We're not colonial because we it's kind of a wordplay thing because we don't want to be imperialists. We don't want to be.
Right. I mean, we want to be, but we don't want to sound like it.
We don't want to sound like it.
Right.
Yeah. Just don't want to do it.
But yeah, I'm not even sure where to leave off on that. Dick jokes.
Because it's sunk
jokes.
so low, but since Willie Horton that we've already talked about, with all these thinly veiled, all the racist, homophobic, anti-woman things that they've been like pleading with, and you have all these people that are like, we keep voting Republican, but like we haven't banned gay people, we haven't given black people their own nation. Like, what are we doing wrong? Like, who do we have to vote for? And then you go to these Trump rallies where he's telling them to punch people in the face, start violence, ship them off the island. Mexicans are rapists. Like everything that they're like that, and we've been talking about that because they were told in 1980 by Ronald Reagan, you can be a racist homophobe. It's the what's the shining light on the hill? What the city on the hill? What was
Beacon? The lighthouse, the beacon.
No, but what's Reagan's famous thing about the city on the hill?
I don't.
Stand by.
The 1,000
City
points
upon a hill.
No, that's Bush. That's
Bush's 1,000 points of light, but Reagan's big thing was it's morning in America, and then his other thing is the shining beacon of light or whatever. But all that was like
we talked about that, and I have nothing right now.
It's all about racism.
America's a shining city upon a hill.
Shining city upon a hill.
Oh.
So you got all these white people that are like, wait, we're waiting for our moment. Like we keep voting for you, and women still have rights. They can still have abortions. Like, what the fuck are we doing
black
wrong?
people everywhere. Like,
yeah,
what
exactly.
Are we doing?
So, and it's finally the manifestation of like people want to say it out loud, like stop thinly veiling it, and they call it political correctness because they can't figure out
they don't like it.
Why they can't say faggot, why they can't say the N-word. Like, why can we still not do this stuff? Like, why is there still a black comedian hosting the Oscars? Why are we being lectured on racism? Like,
hint, because it's not okay.
Right, but they've been told for 30 years that like
that stick with us, it's gonna be okay.
It's got those little.
Okay, the hands thing is kind of funny.
It is funny. But and I've been saying that for a long time, and that's the Karl Rove thing.
Yep.
The Karl Rove appeal is like Karl Rove told us to
Bubbles.
vote and we could hate gay people.
Clayton, remember.
When did it start losing? Oh yeah. Did you go for the bubbles?
Kristen Wiig needs to be
Not
Donald
okay.
Trump.
Not okay.
Hysterical.
But that Karl Rove thing is the nail in the coffin because Karl Rove guaranteed Republicans if they put gay marriage on the ballot, Republicans would win. And then Republicans lost Minnesota. They lost Maryland. Every state that gay marriage was on, and they started winning. And the white people were like, wait a fucking minute. Karl Rove promised us.
Right.
Well,
when all these people die, it'll be fantastic.
We're gonna tie it back.
Well, no, because they're
Karl
raising the
Rove.
lady in Texas, that bullshit lady in Texas, who's now in charge of education in Texas. She is now.
fuck
Who
yeah.
believes the Flintstones is a documentary?
Yeah.
No, it's worse. Obama's a gay male whore. Bush was a faggot. Like,
It's
I mean,
real
you
bad.
should. Everybody's gay.
Everybody?
Everybody.
Oh, I'm in the wrong state.
You're watching
All
all
you
the
have
wrong
to
shows.
do-
You've got to start watching John Oliver.
I'm gonna bring it
Just
back.
start
to
watching In and Out. Is everybody gay?
Gay, yeah.
It's fuck
Yes,
Barbara
they are.
Streisand.
No, we're gonna
Streisand.
bring this back to my weekly rant on how it all starts locally.
Yes.
Okay, it's not just everywhere else. It's not just Texas. It's not just Idaho. It's not just all these other places. The Phoenix City Council this week voted to reinstate prayer at the beginning of every meeting.
I saw that.
I saw
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
No, I
Big
posted it
deal.
on the Facebook, but for the
deal.
listeners that
Yes.
aren't on the Facebook, it's like
Yes.
this is a problem. This is
Yeah.
a big deal.
Yep.
Okay, it was typically started and some groups would come in and they would say some words and it was all fine and hunky dory and very kumbaya until the Satanic Church wanted to come and do the blessing at the beginning of the meeting. And so they're like, well, no, we're just going to take it away. We're gonna do a moment of silence.
Sure.
Okay? And so now they've come back and they voted it back in with a restriction that makes it almost exclusively Christian in saying that the blessing is to be read or said or whatever by a fire or police chaplain. So now it's going to be non-denominational perhaps, but almost exclusively Christian. Now this is local politics. Now our Phoenix City Council, I don't vote for them, I live in Scottsdale, but the Phoenix City Council, half of them were elected last year. 3 of them, 3 out of 4, ran unopposed. Republicans that ran unopposed. Your local politics right here in Phoenix and probably wherever you live too are so ignored and so autopiloted and so all about who you know and what your name is, and as long as you sound white enough, please, 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 everyone, look into something local. I don't care if it's your school board, your city council, your state representatives, your state legislature, your dog catcher, whoever it is, get more involved locally because these politics will trickle up as well. Okay? If we start getting involved at a city level, at a state level, that's going to trickle upward.
Sure.
Okay?
Agreed.
I work with this total
Work it out. Work
bag.
it out.
I know.
Thank
I'm
you.
just
Thank you. That was really good. Thank you.
Use your words.
douchebag,
Appreciate
cunt,
it, yeah.
twat, waffle.
Yeah.
And a couple of years ago, she's having this whole long talk with me about how her mom said she can't vote for Obama because it's going to affect her child's education. I'm like, oh my God, you stupid cunt.
No, Diane Douglas is affecting your child's education.
Is a local fucking thing. Obama's effect on your child's education is zero.
That's right.
Please Google John Oliver special districts right now.
Yeah.
Possibly less.
Did you see that?
Yep.
Possibly less.
Yeah.
Like there's and I'm just like, don't even talk about politics. If you're going to say that your kid's history book is somehow affected by Obama in this fucking state where like the stupidest people in the world are, so where was that story in The Lady in Texas if it wasn't on, John Oliver?
It wasn't on John Oliver because he had the horrible racist.
Bruner,
No.
you're talking about Bruner?
The one in Texas.
The crazy bitch, yeah.
Well, it might have been last week instead of this week.
That was just 2 days ago. It was with that and
But I
Morrow.
want to say we've talked about her before. The one in Texas?
We have.
Yeah.
Oh, no, this was the first I've heard of her.
No. She's the one that, are you talking about the one that's Mary Lou Bruner?
Yeah.
She says Obama has a soft spot for homosexuals because of the years he spent as a male prostitute in his 20s. That is how he paid for his drugs. He has admitted he was addicted to drugs.
It was John Oliver.
And he is sympathetic with homosexuals. But he hasn't come out of the closet about his own homosexual, bisexual background. He hasn't quite evolved that much. Since he supports gay marriage,
Since she doesn't believe in evolution.
His background as a homosexual, bisexual. He isn't against everything else Christian. He is against everything else Christians stand for. He might as well be for infidelity.
Yeah.
This is Crazy Bitch, October 26, 2015.
As it turns out,
you got to read what she. But you have to read what she
board.
has to say about. She says the same things about Bush.
Yes,
the first
yes.
Bush, the first. It's just what.
Yeah,
the
she has
fuck?
bizarre things to say. If people you
She's
know
crazy.
are using their children as a reason to vote for or not vote for a presidential candidate, please remind them that their school district and their school board meetings are open to the public. They can attend. They can have a voice. They can ask questions. They can become part of the board. They can be part of committees. They can be part of all
They
of
would
those
never
things.
do that.
Well,
I do it all the time.
But no. But someone who's so willing to just blame
To vote Trump because
someone
he's-
in
right.
the clouds because of their child's education is certainly not involved on the local
But
level.
I implore you to even just shout into the wind because, you know what I mean? If we change one person's mind, if we change 3 people's minds, seriously, like something has to happen. And it doesn't happen if we all just sit quietly and do nothing either.
Oh, right.
Like,
Right.
please
I don't-
remind the people around you that they can and should and have to be involved.
Sure.
They don't have to agree with your politics. They don't have to agree with anything about you.
I'm even involved to the point of I'm in my neighborhood's
Are you?
association.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 Good.
The only reason for that speed hump that's in front of my house is on that side of my yard because they wanted to put it on that side. I'm like,
Did you go to the meeting?
Oh yeah.
Good.
And I voted. I'm like, I want it there because before the light rail, I have no speed humps between me and Central.
Right.
So if it was on this side,
played.
I could exit.
And if you're the only
Still
person that
do,
showed up to
right.
vote, then 1-0
There it is.
democratic
But
process.
I can still exit my neighborhood to Central as long as I'm going south
Yeah.
with no speed humps slowing me down.
Look at that.
Sure.
But
Well
it's
done.
little stupid things like that that people don't realize you can make a difference. What day is our trash going to be picked up? You can vote on that. You can figure. You can be part of that.
show up to city council.
What about
you can show up to
And you can't blame
district.
Obama for it
No,
later.
no. But
Right.
like the street light that's in the alley behind my house, that was I chose that.
Yeah.
Again, nobody else showed up. We're gonna put street lights in the alleys to light up for safety. Where do you want it? My fucking backyard.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's exactly
Let's see
why.
who else showed up. Me. I'm my backyard.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
I live in a spotlight. The rest of you fuckers are in the dark.
And now, and people call me, and this doesn't exactly equate to that, but I know there are a lot of people who make fun of me about this, but I have the app on my phone. I ride my bike everywhere, like Al does. Every goddamn street light that I see out, I report it. Why? Because we pay taxes for that light to be on. And if it's not on, we're getting screwed out of something. Plus, it's a safety.
Sure.
Yeah.
When I ride down a street, I don't want it to be all fucking dark. I want it with the light to be on. So I have an app that tells me that I have a phone number I can call. I have all those things. If people it doesn't just get fixed magically.
Right.
Somebody has to notice the street
hopefully-
lights out, the stop lights out, whatever.
Yep.
My hope is that is what we convey to people through our little tiny meetings here every Tuesday. Is to like act and vote locally. Like I
You
know
have to.
presidential elections are sexy. I
Super
honest,
fun.
I get it.
They're
There's
great on
so
TV.
much other shit
Really
that
not
The
a
happens.
dick
lot
jokes are
sexy
getting
going
really
on right
good.
now.
That only
The
happens.
jokes are getting really
I have
good.
a really,
We've taken
really
all the
small, and they
sexiness out
smell
of
like heaven.
presidential election out of
You should
elections.
see the size of my.
But with the way that the left falls off in off years, just tells you that they love the shiny stuff. But Republicans are smart enough; like they're not smart enough to win presidential elections
Oh,
very
God, no,
often.
but
but they are plenty smart enough.
They're crazy
to
enough
show
to
up
show
at
up
all
in
the
the
other
off years,
shit
yeah.
and the
true.
redistricting stuff that you have to wait
Yeah.
for the Supreme Court to fix.
Just like what Kat's talking about exactly with Diane Douglas. Mm-hmm. I mean, you just put an R behind someone's name.
And a knife through her throat.
Every day I think more
Stake
and more
through her
about it.
heart,
No,
let's
every
not
day
take
I
any
think
risks.
more and more about it. I'm like, who do I got to know? What can
Who
I
do
get
you know?
elected
Right.
to?
Right.
Because why not?
Right.
Why not?
Because the
I have
fact that
I have as much
truly,
qualification
the
as she
fact
does.
that she has, oh God, you're exactly right.
I have as
Probably more.
probably more because
Yes.
I read.
And there is that, and the fact that
lost art.
this crazy bitch that you guys had brought up and that I read that thing from this Brunner, Mary Lou Brunner. This isn't about her politics, like reading that. Those are just some Facebook posts.
Oh, yeah.
So this isn't about people that she's endorsed. She basically, this is the other scary fucking thing. But she worked for 36 years in East Texas schools as a teacher.
Atta girl.
That's not frightening. Counselor and educational diagnostician.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
I bet Carlton's
And-
mother knows her.
Probably.
maybe.
Probably. And stands by all of her posts, but deletes
Yeah.
the ones that she comes to learn are inaccurate. And also, she says publicly apologize. I'm not ashamed
Texas.
of anything I've said.
Carlton's mother's in charge of IT of all of the state of
Yes.
Texas.
Oh, well, I didn't know it was all of Texas.
Yeah.
For those of you that have seen Harold and Maude, well, not the entire
Dire
Southwest.
state.
But it really is just kind of crazy because she doesn't really apologize.
Really,
And
Harold, a
she doesn't-
sunflower.
A falsetto child.
So, and the fact that people are taking someone like her.
Local politics
And
just takes all the joy
local.
out of the show because it's just a
God.
fucking
It's
shit
just
show.
so
But it
hard.
is, yeah.
It's about a quarter after 2. We got to move on. But before we move on, I want to go back to
Let's.
something very important.
Very.
Very important. We talked about it maybe half an hour ago. I've forgotten.
Go.
There's 2 things.
Two things.
Number 1, is this the phone you had? The slide up screen on
I
the
didn't have a
sidekick.
T-Mobile. I had an LG.
Oh.
But I understand where
And
you're
then
going.
this is the one that had the screen that flipped around.
Sexy
No.
fucker.
That flipped around and
Fucking
went up.
loved that thing.
Did not know.
I will tell you
I
at the
just had the
time, if
flip
you
phone.
carried that phone, I thought you were a douche, and I just walked away.
I'm not gonna.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'm not gonna. I'm not. Okay, I'm gonna give you that. Just because.
Points for that.
All right, we got a few minutes left in the show. We're gonna go to this segment, and I hope we can figure it out. It goes something like this.
And now, Thoughtful Vulgarity, where we in the studio try to make ourselves slightly less shallow. Which is not hard to do. We will ask one question of the panel while fucked up drunk. because you know at home how well it goes when important questions come up several hours after alcohol has been served. Politics, religion, why not? What could possibly go wrong? Who could you offend? Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck. So as we're like looking back, and I keep saying it, like I think the things that are like dominoing right now, like are so huge that we just need, like, we're gonna need history to decide, like. And I'll give you an example. Like,
We're embarrassing ourselves.
7 years ago, Obama was elected president, and everything. Oh, it's the end of racism. Then you find out, no, just going to make it way
It's gonna make it way
But
worse.
you need
Now it just gave everybody permission to be racist about the president.
But you need history to tell you, like, what does this say about us? So what now do you want to say about, like, what do you want to go on record? Even it could be wrong. Like, you could find a year from now, like, woo, that was fucking wrong.
Yeah.
But like,
That'll
what
probably
about this amazing year of like money's not working and Supreme Court justices dying and like the Senate not doing a fucking thing but passing abortion laws? Like, what is it that you want to like clamp down as like, this is the thing that 2 years from now is going to be like, that really was huge?
Not Donald's dick.
No.
No. No,
That'd
not
be
his
huge.
hands
I didn't ask
or
what
his
was
penis.
huge.
Oh, not the huge thing about that.
Locally, nationally, like, what is it? What's the thing that you think is just going to be like, that's a game changer, and will stay that way?
The fact that there will still be, whether Donald Trump goes anywhere or not, but there will still be, no matter what, people that supported Donald Trump in this world. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's a good one. Yeah, I get what you
It
mean.
doesn't matter what
already-
happens.
and I've
That
already
they've
thought-
been exposed. They've been
Right,
exposed.
right.
But I've already thought of what you're saying. You remember years ago, there were the bumper stickers that you still occasionally see them on the back of cars. Don't blame me. I voted for Romney.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
I voted for whoever.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's the don't blame me. I voted for somebody else. So we're gonna see those. Don't blame me. I voted for Trump. It's gonna come out. Even because when Hillary takes over the world
You're
and does
right.
all the shit, that's what we're gonna see. And I've already thought
You're right.
those are gonna come out, and we're gonna be living with those same fucktards who, like you said, are exposed. They're already out there. You're racist. You racist, bigoted, uneducated,
Piece of
poorly
shit.
educated.
We
which
love
is
the poorly
Poorly
educated.
educated.
We love
I
the
know all
poorly
the good
educated.
words.
That is insane.
I know the best words.
But you're right; they're all out there. But what I'm hoping, with regards to what you're saying, is even though they're exposed and they're out there, I'm hoping that those will be the people who just kind of realize that they just need to kind of slink away and never mention that
Yeah, but
again.
I think that's the shame, is that those are the exact people that wouldn't. I think that's the exact
Right.
shame, because
And if you watch Bill Maher
does that
from
make
this
sense?
last week,
I wish the same thing, but
Yeah.
I don't think that.
if
that'll happen.
you watch Bill Maher from this week, one of the panelists gives them an identity, like
trumpeters.
No, but it's like white identifying, but it's not white identifying, but it's in that line of like, you're just crazy racist. And as Chris Rock told us last week, like, racist anymore doesn't mean I'm burning a cross on your lawn. You're in this lane of like, well, we're just gonna use a white person for this, you know, or that movie that was Aloha or whatever it was just out this year, where they made that lovely actress from
Emma Stone
play Asian, and you're like, well, that
maybe not.
that doesn't go the right way.
Right.
It's not, you know what I mean? Like
I want them to cast Margaret Cho as just a very, very, very just Caucasian in anything, and just have like a mimic kind of, you know.
have her play Eleanor Roosevelt.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Right.
There it
Something
is.
to that effect.
AP says Cruz wins Idaho. Did we say that?
No, we
No,
didn't. No,
we
we've
did
been
not.
waiting.
I just got that. AP
But
says.
that I think
was in
that
the
would be the thing in 2 minutes, 2 years. But as far as looking back, that the people that are supporting the hate and the bigotry and
beating people up
beating people up and feeling like there is someone standing in front of them that's saying it's okay.
Karl Rove, the new
It's
Karl
okay.
Rove.
The new Karl Rove. Absolutely.
Kat Carlson, I feel like you had a little
Please.
epiphany.
Well, I don't know. I read a lot of things.
Nothing better than reading.
I know.
No.
There's really just not.
Yeah.
I don't know about what I think will be looked back upon as like a turning point, but what I hope. I think I'm pretty like securely Team Hillary. However, there is a like super romantic liberal that lives inside me that hopes 2 years from now we look back and say Bernie fucking Sanders led the revolution, got people up off their couch, got them involved, and made a fucking difference. Like there's that liberal romantic inside of me.
But
that
always voted wrong on guns.
That well, whatever.
You can't,
you can't have everything.
We talk a lot about guns.
We do talk a lot about guns,
more
but you
than
can't
Wall
have,
Street. So
you can't have everything. But you know the.
But I want somebody that voted
Right.
a little better on guns.
Well, sure.
I just can't let that slide anymore.
I understand.
That he votes wrong on guns, and all of us as liberals talk a lot about guns. So if you're gonna vote for the guy that never votes with us on guns, then you got to give up the gun argument.
Yeah.
Because
That's fair.
Then that's off the
interesting.
table.
I agree.
That's interesting.
I agree.
That's fair.
But
yeah.
as far as like
keeping it to the left, different countries.
No, just look at there are 11 people on the audio only feed right now. 11 people.
Thank you for
on this.
listening,
Thank you.
Thank you so
listeners.
much.
And
Thank you
13
so much
people in
for
the chat
listening.
room. Maybe
it's not
some
me.
of the same.
Yeah.
That's not you. Okay.
And again,
you
like I
guys
said,
so
I'm
much.
pretty securely Team Hillary, but God, I wish Bernie was leading an actual revolution, an actual uprising
Right.
of people who believe in helping other people, in making things right, in making things fair.
Did you hear about the lawsuit that his group filed? I believe they filed it today. I didn't. I never thought about this, but it makes sense. You have to be 18 and older to vote in a primary. I get
Yeah,
it. But,
this
but
was
the
weird.
lawsuit about that they want the 17-year-olds who
Sure.
will be of age
To vote in the
when
primary.
in November, they want them to be able to vote in the primary.
Then you got to be 18. You got to be 18 to vote.
Let me make a quick point
I
about
agree,
a
Amina.
primary.
I'm not defending it. I'm
No,
just
no.
bringing up a point.
Yeah.
Primaries are not a right. Voting in a primary is not a right. The reason that you vote in a primary is because you're a member of a party. Every party, whatever party it is, be it the Democrats, the
you've gotta
Republicans,
be
the
an
Green
age to
Party,
be
And
in
the
a
they
party.
Libertarian-
change the
Libertarian,
rules every
they-
fucking 5 minutes.
And they are allowed to make the rules to choose their candidate however they wish. Once we get to an actual ballot, an actual election in November, then everyone has rights. But as far as primaries go, you don't actually have rights. So for all the people, especially in Arizona, I've posted this 100 times. If you're bitching about the fact that you can't vote in blah, blah, blah primary because of the way that you're registered to vote,
Right.
it's because you're not a member of that party, so you don't
Sure.
get a say in selecting that party's
right.
candidate.
Right.
Being independent is
Okay.
cool, but guess what? When it comes to primaries, you
Right.
don't get a choice
Right.
because
Right.
you chose that. And I say that about Bernie too.
Yeah.
If he was really a Democrat and wanted to be a Democrat, then he should
He'd have
have
been one long ago.
and he
wouldn't
should have
been
just
in-
registered as a Democrat in the Senate for the Senate. He
Senate.
should have switched to the Democrat because coattails are important.
Absolutely.
To the winner go the spoils. To the victor go the spoils is the old expression.
Yeah.
The spoils of war is what you get. It's actually a good thing. It sounds negative, but the spoils of war are what comes with victory.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, but go ahead. I'll do yours, and then because that's mine. So
Okay.
No, well, the only thing I would say, and going along with all this, I just keep thinking it's just so frustrating that people cannot and will not accept fact with things. Again, I keep spinning this back to the religion that it infuriates me that everybody wants to run everything based on religion, and that is not what this country was founded on at all. That
But we're looking for historic perspective. So is that what you think a couple years from now we're going to look back and be like, okay, that was the
right?
crazy
No,
shit.
and I think so because right now, with all of the rhetoric that Trump has stirred up, and all these people with the bigotry, and it's all about Jesus, and it's all about this, and it's all about that. You can build your house of cards on whatever fictitious lies you want to build on.
Season 4
I'm
on Netflix right
And
now.
then I'm hoping that later on they're going to be like, we maybe shouldn't have said that. Maybe that was wrong. I don't think it ever. I don't think it'll happen because people are so naive and they're not self-confident enough to realize that you can live a full life and be fine, and you don't have to believe in something that you can't touch, you can't hold, you can't feel. Just can't you have faith in somebody else or something in yourself? You don't have to believe a book that's been translated 37 times.
Yeah.
And nobody can really prove it. I'm not saying there wasn't an ark. I'm not saying there wasn't somebody who believed in something that was crucified for it, because we're crucifying people right and left right now, albeit in a social media arena.
Less nails, more words.
There's no lions attacking people, and there's not a cross that we're nailing people to.
Where's
But
the pity?
but there's still the same things going on. We're crucifying people right and left because of what they believe. We are part of it. But it's like, when are you just going to put your head out of your ass and realize
And
that
I
you
think
can't believe in stuff that's not real? Can you prove that he that he rose out of fucking behind a rock, and all of a sudden it's Easter and all this bullshit? Fuck no.
See, and I'm willing to compromise. I don't care what you believe in. Just
Right.
don't get any on me.
No, I agree. But that's what
my
they're
thing is-
doing.
but I think, like, historically, what we're going to find out is as these people keep, like, limiting other religions, that they're going to realize, like, to further your point, they're going to realize, oh shit, I just shit on my own. Like, while, like, this thing about the fire chaplain and the police chaplain, all of a sudden, the police and the fire chaplain don't have any rules about who they can hire, and they're going to all of a
Right,
sudden.
yeah.
What if they're
We can
Muslim? And what if they're
What if
I
a
mean, just-
what if a
what
Muslim
they-
fire chief becomes
Also, what if
hope,
whether
yeah.
it be agnostic or they're what it doesn't
Or me.
matter. Right. No, but I mean it doesn't.
low
that's
bar? I don't think they're gonna hire me,
Oh,
but I'm
no.
saying
No.
To be the fire department chaplain.
I just
feel
like red. I just like
no.
red trucks and sirens.
Hi, Greg in Grand Rapids.
So does Ronan. He's 8.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, you realize historically, like, God, did we fuck that up?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think the people that voted for
Reagan's
Reagan at the
right.
time, that let the Christian guy Carter go, were like, fuck.
And now look at
one
Carter.
was for show, and one is still doing good Christian
But
acts.
I think that that's the difficult part because again, when it comes to religion or spirituality or a belief in something, I know that I perhaps stand differently than the other three of you. I don't want to speak for anyone. You two
Yeah.
have made it very clear. You've made it clear,
But-
kind
but-
of ish. But the
Yeah.
whole thing is that doesn't have a goddamn thing to do. Interesting. With who I'm voting for.
Right,
Like,
oh,
I'm not going to walk in and be like, well, Bernie's a Jew. And, over here, while Hillary is talking about her faith a lot, I better go with Hillary. I don't fucking care.
No, but-
because it's about that. But when Cruz is up there pontificating about shit, it does bother me.
No, it bothers me too. Like all the
Yeah.
people that are following Trump that think that the only reason that you can have, like, there are still people out there that think that the only reason that you could ever have
Right,
sex in
Greg,
your
we're
life is
good.
because you have to procreate.
yeah,
Yes.
no.
Through a sheet.
Right. Well, there's all that too. But like all those crazy people who think that
No fornication without procreation.
you believe in this book and you just don't believe in human nature and
damn
people
waste.
and
That's
and
just
like
it.
Al
That's
says,
just it.
I go back to these people who think that the Flintstones is a documentary, that the dinosaur era and humans and evolution, none of that ever.
Right.
It's not right. It doesn't work that way.
And that's
Drives
where
me crazy.
That's where I draw the line. I'm okay with whatever you want to believe till you start denying science, and
Right.
then you're doing two things at the same time.
You cannot deny fact.
Then we're gonna have a problem. Or
Yeah,
when you start
I agree.
when you start denying women's rights, then we're gonna have a problem.
And we go back to the first story in headlines tonight. These fucking people who think that you can deny medicine and the
Right.
kid's going to be fine because
Right.
God's going to save you. No, he's
Right.
not.
Right.
Yeah.
We've evolved this far so that you can get an inoculation or an antibiotic, or you can go to Al and see him in the restaurant and he'll get this fixed.
Sure.
You cannot leave this on the line. You can. And these people just
I
believe
won't get it fixed, but I'll
and
follow
believe
some doctor's orders.
Absolutely.
you might know how to
But
get in
you
touch with
know
somebody.
right. You know how to put the order into the kitchen.
You know, Sammy Davis Jr. isn't going to come on and soft shoe this into a Jewish song and fix the kid.
Right.
It's
But
not gonna happen.
but I think that
though it
that's,
would be entertaining.
That's the difficult thing for me to understand with any kind of religion in politics, and we've talked about all that before. But to look at it now and say, well, we have a gentleman running who is Jewish, and that's now wait a minute, because he's not going to speak for the Christians. But are the Christians speaking for the Jewish
No.
folks?
No.
And are the Christians speaking for the... So what
But because they
does
want to
it-
win Florida, they've all learned the phrase Christian Judeo.
Exactly. But it's that kind of stuff. I mean, you have so many
Which-
different religions
Now that you're into
and
politics,
spiritual.
just watch Florida. Watch
Oh, I'm waiting.
retirees and young people, Christians and Jews.
Burt Reynolds lives there. I'm going to watch all of it. It's very busy.
But really, 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 really.
And I agree
Florida
with you, Greg.
is
I would
is
say the
mix
exact same
of
for me.
everything.
Yeah, Greg is I'm going to say a new listener. I've not seen you, Greg. Is that true? Am I wrong?
Greg, I want to
I don't-
say
he's
he's
not
been
on my
there
list.
before.
Because unless I've not been in here,
Welcome.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yes.
He's not on my list.
welcome, Greg. Thanks
Welcome,
for joining
Greg.
in. And,
Drop
and
us an
you're
email. Go to
exactly-
our Facebook page and find us, Greg, and send us a message. Let us know who you are, what you believe in, how
Or if you don't
identify.
believe in Facebook, MISSEYAL@AOL.com.
Or info at qtalkamerica.com.
Yeah, because
Either way.
I agree completely. That's how I feel. Well, I can believe in what I want. You cannot believe in what you want,
Just
But
don't
none
get
of
any
us
on me.
need to.
Yeah.
Don't get
Right,
it
don't
on me.
inflict
Like
it on me.
Kat said.
Right. Not in my backyard.
Yeah.
Don't
do what
put
you
your
want.
don't put your
So
shit.
my answer to this question
Oh, I'm
is
sorry.
Oh, I thought you already
historically,
had. Sorry.
2 years from now, I think we are watching the end of the Republican Party.
Sure.
Oh, that'd be nice.
From your lips to
I
God's
think we're
ears.
about to start. I
But
think
we're not going to bring God into it, though.
I think we are about to be a three-party system, and
That
I think
would
it's
be
going to change.
amazing. That's going to
Welcome,
be
Greg.
wonderful
Top to
for this
bottom.
country.
I hate to cut Al short. We have to do it.
That
We're
was
in
it.
the last
I
30
apologize.
seconds.
I thought you
Everybody,
were
thank you for in the chat room. Thank you for being here. It's so much fun to have all of you here
Yes.
every single week. I can't name all of you, but I'm here with Kat Carlson, Monty Ryer, Al Perkins. I'm Clayton McKee. As we wrap up tonight's show, let's leave you with this parting thought. We will see you next Tuesday!
Thanks so much, guys.